What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description.
11BR. Chapter 372. I know what is going on with Shanshu Chakra.
After hearing these words, Shanshun Qingye said with anxious expression. I said the same thing, don't sell it, say it quickly. At this moment, I can't wait to know what Shanshu Chakra is all about, but not only him, but also Shikamaru and others. Hear the words. There is no nonsense, just say it directly. If I didn't guess wrong, this spell scroll may contain a kind of spell. And the so-called Shanshu Chakra is undoubtedly the energy required to perform Shanshu, which is like chakra, when we want to perform ninjutsu. Shanshu scroll. Shanshu, Asma murmured, feeling that what the former said did make sense. But this is just the latter's guess, no one knows the truth at this moment, the most powerful brain Kamaru asked. Same predecessor, your inference just now should be related to what you remembered earlier. Good. He nodded in the same way, and then said, I have overheard the conversation between 4 generations of Hokage and Master Jiraiya, and what they discussed was Shanshu. Advertisement. As soon as this remark came out, the audience was stunned. It was exactly the same as one of the guards of 4 generations of Naruto, and it was not impossible to be heard by him by accident. After all, this is not an unspeakable secret, it's just that what everyone didn't expect was that someone in their Kinoa hidden village would have such an unheard of Shanshu. Moreover, there is more than one, but now there is one more. Hearing the same words, others may not be able to sort out their ideas in the first time, but Shikamaru, the most powerful brain, immediately connected everything together. I see. After Shikamaru muttered to himself, he immediately said to everyone. According to the same predecessor, 4 generations of Hokage and Master Jiraiya may both have practiced Shanshu. And 4 generations of Hokage has passed away for many years, so now there will be Shanshu. In Konoha, it is estimated that only Jiraiya will be the same. As far as I know, Shiyu has studied with Master Jiraiya for a while, and he can be regarded as the latter's apprentice. Hearing Shikamaru's words, Ino immediately took the words. Shikamaru, you mean that Shiyu's Shanshu was learned from Jiraiya-sama? It shouldn't be wrong, Shikamaru affirmed. If this is the case, will this Shanshu scroll be made by Jiraiya Lord? Yamashiro Aoba wrote. It's possible. Asma expressed her opinion, believing that this is the most reasonable explanation. Advertisement. Not only did he think so, but everyone present felt so. Among Konoha today, Jiraiya is undoubtedly recognized as the strongest. Originally, the Konoha executives wanted to recommend him to be Naruto. Yes, but he was rejected by him. Therefore, Tsunade will be the second best thing. And Tsunade is also one of the former 3 ninjas, and has the identity of the granddaughter of the first generation of Naruto, plus he is willing to come back to assist Tsunade again. There are 3 points. She is naturally able to sit firmly in the position of Naruto. But whoever made this spell scroll, they must thank Shiyu. If it weren't for Shiyu, Asma wouldn't be standing here at this moment. For this, Shiyu and others are ready to go back and thank Shiyu. However, they still need to make a choice right now. At this point, Shikamaru asked, Teacher Asma and seniors. The target to be arrested has gone, we are now continuing to hunt down the fly segment. And, corner. All, let's go back to Konoha for a long-term discussion, chapter 373. Should we continue to hunt down the undead duo, or go back to Konoha for a long-term plan? Hearing Shikamaru's words, Asma pondered for a moment and said, Now that I am fine, the mission naturally needs to continue. Through this battle, we have roughly figured out the ability of one of them, and the ability of the other is still unclear, but as long as it's not like the former. The invincible curse art shouldn't be a big problem. The art of curse, at this moment, Ino and others who came to support all looked startled. Obviously, they are very curious about this. Seeing this, Asma also simply used the flying ability. I roughly said it to everyone. After listening, Shanshun Qingye and others' faces were full of surprise. They never thought that there really was an immortal body in this world. Immortal. Although it surprised them, they seemed to have used some kind of secret technique. Caused by. But what shocked them the most was not this, but the death division by blood, this unpredictable skill. It is so hard to guard against, and if you don't pay attention, you will die. At this moment, everyone finally understood why an elite like Asma, Shangren, would hurt this appearance in a short time. You must know that after receiving Shenyue Izumo's request for help, they rushed to this place immediately. It took less than half an hour before and after, however, in such a short period of time, a being as strong as Asma was on the verge of death. Originally they thought it was a fly segment advertisement. And, corner. Both, it's so strong, I didn't expect the other party to master such a weird spell. At this moment, their fear of Shao is also deeper. After a shock, Shanshun Aoba asked Asma, since this is the case, what do you plan to do next? Although I don't know why they left before, there is obviously something urgent to deal with. Otherwise, I won't leave without warning, and now that they have already redeemed the bounty, they will probably not be returning to this place anymore. It's not that easy to find them now. Hearing Asma's words, she scratched and couldn't help asking. Teacher Asma. Just that's it. Didn't the guy with the sickle say that he will come back? Then we are here to wait for him. By the way, you can also lie in wait for them to snare. That guy is used to being arrogant and domineering, and may act like this, but his companion will not let him be so self-willed. Shikamaru interrupted. Shikamaru is right. Asuma agreed with Shikamaru's opinion, and then said, that guy is more calm than holding a sickle. He definitely couldn't let himself jump into the trap.
Teacher Asuma, what shall we do now? When Ino's voice fell, Kamaru was the first to speak before Asuma could answer.
Advertisement, wait. When this word came out, Ino was very puzzled. What are you waiting for? Now only we know about the abilities of the two of them, but the other teams don't know it. Once they run into it, they will definitely suffer. Although the Shikamaru dialect did not directly name the names, everyone understood what the former so-called suffering refers to. The death of the company is based on blood. This technique is too abnormal. The first time you fight, it is very difficult to prevent. But if you are waiting for you after knowing the secret of this technique, it is estimated that death is not far away. Shikamaru paused and continued. So we have to wait here for all the teams to arrive and share this information with everyone before we start the search. In this way, the danger can be minimized. Furthermore, we may be able to collect some information about these two people here. Here, in the words, Ino showed a thoughtful look, and obviously did not understand what Shikamaru was referring to. Upon seeing this, Shikamaru did not hide it either. They actually hunted down the ninjas on the bounty list, all the time, so in this bounty exchange, may be able to ask some of their information. Also, we will also take away the remains of Senior D. Lu. Hearing what Shikamaru said, everyone was meaningless. Not only that, but Yamashiro Aoba and the same two Shangren also gave the former extremely recognized eyes. Immediately after, Gonza Tetsu and Shenue Izumo were guarding outside to meet the other teams, while the rest Kamaru and the others were heading towards the bounty exchange that was hidden in the toilet. One is for the body of Delu, the other is to collect more information. Filu reminds you, 3 things to read chapter 374. While Shikamaru and the others were waiting for all the teams to assemble, Naruto finally completed the second stage of training. The next day, in the dead forest, Naruto looked at Shiyu happily and asked excitedly. Shiyu, can I start formally practicing Spiral Shuriken today? Seeing Shiyu nodding, Naruto's face immediately burst into endless love. Great. Seeing Naruto dancing in front of him, Shiyu's face was as usual. However, Kakashi and Yamato couldn't be as calm as Shiyu, and it took only 2 days for Naruto to practice change in the nature of the wind attribute. Moreover, it has reached a fairly high level. All this is naturally attributed to the 1000 times cultivation method. If you rely on the shadow clone to practice together, it is obviously impossible to achieve this kind of result in such a short period of time with Naruto's talent. Upon seeing it, Shiyu also didn't talk nonsense and went directly to the subject. Naruto. At the beginning of the practice, I once said that chakra has 2 changes. Now that you have mastered nature changes, the next step is to combine the 2 changes into one. 2 changes, Naruto muttered, and then said a little embarrassingly, Shiyu, what is this second change? Sure enough, since you have a big nerve, you still didn't remember it. Shiyu's face remained the same during the words, as if he had expected this. Take Mr. Kakashi's Rage as an example. Advertisement. During the words, Shiyu palmed his hand, and there were cyan thunder flashes in his palm. Z. The sharp voice resounded like countless birds hissing from Shiyu's hands. Seeing this scene, Kakashi and Yamato were also sure of one thing. That is, Shiyu really has the thunder attribute, and the latter is really a ninja with all attributes and proficiency. Although Shiyu confessed that day, they were witnessing it with their own eyes. Therefore, it is inevitable that there is a trace of doubt in my heart. But this trace of suspicion, at this moment, with the appearance of Chidori, is thorough. This technique currently only has nature change, but if you learn form change, you can change its attack method. Just like this. When Shiyu's thoughts moved between the words, he saw the thunder attribute chakra in his hand began to change. First the tiger, then the dragon, and finally evolved into swords and weapons. Only unexpected, nothing can be changed. Naruto was just astonished at the awesomeness of this form change. But Kakashi and Yamato are dumbfounded, especially Kakashi. You know what he is best at is lay done, but with his current lay done attainments, he can't do so casually like Tokaha. Although he can also change 1000 birds into various forms, such as insects, fish, birds and beasts, swords and sticks.
But it's just a general appearance, and it can't be as exquisite as Shiyu. At this time, the various things that have changed in Shiyu's hands, whether it is the outline or the edges and corners, are far above him. It can be seen that Shiyu is far more proficient in lay done than him. This will prevent Kakashi from being astonished. He has been fascinated by lay done for more than 20 years, but Shiyu is only 161,616 years old. Even if he started contacting him at the age of 6, it would have only been 10 years. Of course, he knew that with Shiyu's talent, it would definitely not be possible to spend 10 years. The latter can even be created by the fairy mode, which is against the sky, and it is enough to show its enchanting level. It's just that Kakashi didn't expect that Shiyu was actually an incomparable evildoer in every aspect. Whether it was Shorinyan, medical ninjutsu, or the current lay done, it was all beyond his expectations. After returning to mind, Kakashi, as the instructor, said, Advertisement, Naruto, you have to listen carefully.
Adding the morphological change to the foundation of chakras nature change, the attack will be significantly improved. However, there are too few ninjas that can take care of both changes. And the next thing you want to learn, Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken, is to merge these two changes, which is why this trick is so powerful. After listening to Kakashi's words, Naruto also roughly understood. Shiyu. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and start this form change exercise.
Naruto is worthy of being the second stupid son. Shiyu has shown that it is so obvious before that he still hasn't found the clue. In response, he couldn't help but shook his head. Naruto, the next practice I just said is the fusion of nature change and form change.
I know. Naruto responded softly, and then said, that's why I have to learn morphology change quickly, otherwise how to merge. Naruto, this form change, you already know. I will. Good. Shiyu nodded, and then said, when you and I went to see Grandma Tsunade with the horny fairy, we already learned it. Naruto was taken aback for a moment, and then the scenes of the practice of Helix Pill came into his mind. You mean, Spiral Pill? Chapter 375. You mean, Spiral Pill? To Naruto's astonishment, Shiyu also nodded, correct. With Shiyu's confirmation, Naruto looked extremely excited. In other words, I have mastered both of the two changes in chakra. If not, how could I let you start practicing Spiral Shuriken today? Great. Naruto screamed in excitement, and then said, according to the current practice speed, I should be able to learn quickly. In the words, Naruto had a happy face, backed by nine-tailed chakra. He can completely use the 1,000 times cultivation method. In this way, the cultivation time can be greatly shortened. If you are lucky, maybe he can learn that Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken today. Can this not make him excited? Seeing Naruto's appearance, Shiyu gave a direct blow. Naruto. Don't be happy too early. This combination of two Karkara changes is not as simple as you think. Advertisement. The smile on Naruto's face suddenly came to a sudden, and then he asked, why do you say that? However, before Shiyu could answer, Kakashi on the side said, Naruto, this technique is not something everyone can learn. It's like my Chidori, it's just the ultimate of pure nature change. For this reason, Chidori can only ninjutsu level, and if you want to break through this level, you must incorporate form change in it. And my Chidori is exactly your Spiral Pill. He is the ultimate ninjutsu of form change. The voice fell, but Kaka flipped over. Immediately, a chakra condensed in his hands, and then a one-chakra sphere was formed. See this scene. Shiyu and Yamato also had a calm expression, only Naruto was shocked. Mr. Kakashi, you will also, Spiral Pill, Kakashi nodded, and then said, but the degree is limited, because I can't add nature change to Spiral Pill. Not even teacher Kakashi. Hearing Naruto's astonishment, Yamato also chuckled lightly. Naruto, it is not easy to merge the two changes. Advertisement. It's not so much an advanced skill that is extremely difficult to master, it's better to have this talent and talent. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to do it for the rest of my life. Naruto, it's not just me who can't integrate nature change into Spiral Pill. Even the Lord, Jiraiya, and the 4 generations of Naruto, who created this technique have failed to do it. Kakashi agreed. There's nothing even 4 generations of Hokage can't do. Kakashi nodded and continued. As I said earlier, 4th generation of Naruto is just taking chakra's form change to the extreme. So, Helix Pill and my Chidori belong to ninjutsu, and this is the limit I can copy. After Naruto was shocked, he asked suddenly, Teacher Kakashi, didn't Shiyu do it? Yes, Shiyu did it. So, he has surpassed 4 generations of Hokage in this respect. When Kakashi said this, he did not adulterate at all, with a serious look on his face. It's not just him at this moment, but Yamato and Naruto are no exception. Chapter 376. After some conversation, Naruto also probably understood the principle of this Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken. Then there is no unnecessary nonsense, and the cultivation has officially started. Originally, Naruto was dissatisfied with the fusion of the two chakra changes, and he only knew the difficulty of it when he knew the cultivation. Because this is not a skill that can be successfully practiced by hard work alone, especially the ninjutsu, which has derived the chakra form change to the extreme, like Spiral Pill, is even more difficult. But once the fusion is successful, it will be able to surpass ninjutsu. It is pitiful to become a level ninjutsu club, level ninjutsu, and the ninja who can level ninjutsu is even rarer. Because in order to create this level ninjutsu, you must master the 2 changes of the Karkara. Take Spiral Shuriken as an example. It is a new ninjutsu born after chakra's open black lens bracket form change close black lens bracket to the extreme and supplemented with open black lens bracket character change close black lens bracket, so its level is naturally higher than open black lens bracket close black lens bracket open black lens bracket snail shot close black lens bracket. Lei Dunkilin is the same. It is a new ninjutsu born after chakra nature change to the extreme and supplemented with form change, so it is also a level technique. And when Naruto started practicing Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken, 2 people were sitting on a ruined rock thousands of miles away. There was still drizzle dripping in the sky, but the 2 of them were unmoved. They were not others, they were from the Bounty Exchange, yesterday. Flying segments and angles that leave both
At this moment, the eyes of the two of them were closed tightly, and there were strange seals in their hands. Although their people were here, they are capable of condensing chakra into a spiritual energy body and transporting it to a specific location. And if you want to do this, you have to rely on the reincarnation eye of pain. This is surgery, called as slideshow body art, comes with Akatsuki, organization, ring. Advertisement of people use chakras to transform into a wave of thoughts. Release, and the leader pen will receive the receiver at the designated location. Then, he amplified these thought waves through the ability of the samsara eyes, and then revealed the illusion on a specific place. This illusion is different from ordinary images. Of course, the strength will also be limited. When Itachi and Ghost Shark blocked Shiyu from rescuing Gaara, they used the Zhangzhuan technique. It was only achieved after open black lens bracket paying close black lens bracket transfer. In an unknown cave at this time, a stone statue with 9 eyes stood there. But the weird thing is that only one of the 9 eyes is open and the other 8 are closed. There is no doubt that it is the legendary Outer Golem. In addition to this body name, it has 2 other names. 10 Tails, and Sacred Tree. At this time, there are 9 figures standing on the 2 large hands of Outer Demon statue. They were located on the 9 fingers of Outer Tao Golem, except for the little finger of the left hand. This position is not someone else's, it is Oshimaru's. He left shortly after Itachi joined Shao. However, he is now dead in Shiyu's hands. After seeing the other 8 members gathered together, the phantom with the reincarnation eyes opened the mouth. Everyone, a total of 2 will be sealed this time. The target of the seal, 2 and 2 tails, is 3 tails, and the time is the same as the last time. It takes 3 days for each. In other words, it will take 6 days in total. It is not someone else who is talking, he is the leader of Shao. Advertisement, Tiandao Pain, that is, Uzumaki Nagato, who hides in the dark and gives orders. Hearing these words, Fei Duan was the first to be upset. 6 days, it's so long, we are still reigning. Seeing Fei Duan complaining again, the corner on the side, but they all reprimanded in an angry manner. Fei Duan, shut up, Horn. We all know the plan of pain, so I take Tailed Beast as the top priority in my heart. This is why he will temporarily give up Asmon's bounty, huh? Fei Duan snorted coldly, and then said, if you give me more time, I can kill Konoha's bastards. This is the best opportunity for those atheists to understand Cthulhu. Hearing the words of Fei Duan, Pen seemed to disagree. The people of Konoha are not atheists. They regard their ancestors as gods and act according to Fire's will. Chapter 377. The people of Konoha are not atheists. They regard their ancestors as gods and act according to Fire's will. However, this is also a high-sounding excuse they made for fighting. Hearing these words, Fei Duan seemed a little unhappy. What, are you guys laughing at me? Do not. Pain denied it, and then said, I don't mean to make fun of you for participating in the war, because I'm almost like you. It doesn't matter what the reason for the war is. Whether it is religion, belief, resources, land, money, love, resentment or impulse, etc. Regardless of what an unreliable reason, it can be an excuse for the outbreak of war. So war is inevitable, no matter it is in any era, this phenomenon cannot be eradicated. As for the reason, you can even look for it afterwards. This is human nature. Hearing, Pain, talked a lot, but Fei Duan didn't have the slightest interest. I don't want to hear you telling the truth here. I have my own way of doing things, but also my own purpose. So, I didn't plan to fully commit myself to the organization. Hearing the words of the flying section, Pen's eyes also condensed slightly, and his voice sounded again. Advertisement, since I have joined the Shao organization, we should work together to complete the organization's goals. Once Shao's goal is achieved, then personal wishes can be quickly realized. Humph. Fei Duan snorted coldly, and said with disdain, what are you doing? Isn't the purpose of Shao purely to make money? He Zhao. It's the same regardless of money, disgusting. This is such a boring reason to fight. Yes, the purpose at the moment is indeed to make money. But this is not Shao's ultimate goal. This ultimate goal must have a lot of money as a prerequisite. Hearing that, Fei Duan is puzzled. I am a newcomer who joined after Fei, so I didn't listen. You mentioned the details of this. Unexpectedly you are secretly. It's silly emotions, right? Pain chucked, and then said, I didn't intend to hide it from you anyway, I can tell you now. To achieve the final goal of Shao, the scoring stage is carried out, which can be roughly divided into 3 stages. And the first stage is making money. Then the second stage is to establish an organization dedicated to war in this ninja world. Hearing this, Fei Duan put forward his own opinion again. Hello. Advertisement, isn't this the same nature as those ninja villages? You can earn rewards by completing commissions. Would you rather be the head of a ninja village where no country is willing to hire you? It's boring. Hearing the words of the flying section, Pen snorted coldly. Humph, you were wrong. What kind of ninja village hired by the country is like? I think I should first popularize it for you, so that you can understand the real situation in it. When the voice fell, Pain began to make up a big talk. Compared with having a powerful ninja village, ninja industry accounts for a large part of the national income. Ninja Village has earned huge wealth by participating in domestic and foreign wars, and has even become the country's economic pillar, just like the current 5 major ninja villages. In other words, if you want a stable country to gain certain benefits, a certain scale of war is inevitable. In this era, although small frictions between countries continue, but wars like the past have never happened again. This will inevitably cause a phenomenon, that is, each country has to reduce the expenditure of their own ninja village. That's it. It will cause many ninjas to stray from their lungs and become what we call wandering ninjas. What is a ninja? Ninjas are born to fight. They fought bloody battles for the country, but in the end they got such a result. Chapter 378. What is a ninja? Ninjas are born to fight. They fought bloody battles for the country, but in the end they got such a result. Hearing Pain, Fei Duan became interested. It is also because of this. In the following time, he did not retort, letting Pen elaborate on the future plan. Needless to say, the 5 ninja nations, their countries and villages are strong enough and worthy of the trust of the world. There are a lot of commissions from other countries, so it's very stable. But Xiaoguo can't. If their ninja village wants to retain the same or equivalent combat power as before the war, the daily expenses will be very large. But if the size of Shinobu village is reduced because of this, it will be unable to cope with sudden wars. For this we establish Xiao. The organization is independent of the country and provides them with the necessary ninjas when necessary. These ninjas have enough power to accept the commission of money when needed in some small countries or ninja villages, and fight for them with our organization. In the beginning, even if the reward is small, we will accept it. Only by participating in the wars of various countries and various ninja villages, we can slowly control the war market. Advertisement. Then we will use tailed beasts to cooperate with the market to cause wars, and ultimately we will monopolize and dominate all wars in this world. In this way, the ninja system of the great powers will collapse. In the end, everyone could only come to Xiao, and our third goal was achieved. The third stage of the plan is conquer the world. After Tiandao Pain finished their Xiao plan, Fei Duan began to agree. In his opinion, this is undoubtedly a very interesting thing. Waiting for Xiao to conquer the world, then spread the cult. Wouldn't it be much more convenient? At this point, he has no dissatisfaction. Open black lens bracket Pen close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Xiaonan close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Itachi close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Ghost Shark. Dadala. Afei. Means to bring soil, horn. Do, fly section. And, absolute, 9 people 9 seals the work of 2 tails, and 3 tails. At the same time, Kakashi's and Yamato's fairy skills, practice were proceeding steadily, but Naruto's practice was stuck in a bottleneck. Because he can't do one mind and 2 purposes. Originally, when he condensed Spiral Pill, he needed a clone to help him complete the extreme rotation, but now he wants to add Chakra's nature change. This is really too difficult for him. That's why Yamato said that this technique is not something that all ninjas can learn. It doesn't work just by hard work. It takes a certain amount of talent and wisdom to do it, that's why. For 2 days, Naruto's cultivation was stagnant. Advertisement. According to this progress, he wants to practice Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken, but I don't know that it will be the year of the monkey. This is why Naruto, who was originally full of confidence, has a sullen expression at the moment. Seeing the distress on Naruto's face, Shiyu stepped forward and asked. Why don't you want to give up? It's impossible to give up, it's just that I haven't mastered the knack for a while. Naruto grumbled back. Shiyu clearly saw Naruto's troubles, and did not wait for Naruto to tell his own problems, he said directly. Since 1 clone is not enough, use 2 ways. Naruto let out a horror, and then his listless eyes brightened instantly, as if he had opened the door to a new world. Yeah, why didn't we think of it? In the past, when he practiced Helix Maru, Shiyu reminded him to use the clone to help himself complete the rotation of the chakra, and now he can also use another clone to help himself inject the wind attribute chakra. In this way, he can still concentrate on controlling the stability of Spiral Pill as before. Shiyu, thank you. After a thank you, Naruto immediately regained his fighting spirit and began tireless training again. Chapter 379. In the past few days when Shiyu guided Naruto to practice. Go and arrest the undead duo. 17 other teams have already arrived at the Bounty Exchange Office, where Shikamaru is located. A total of 19. After sharing the information of Fei Duan and Zhao, both, they also obtained the information from the Bounty Exchange. The boss tortured out some information, however, it is a pity that this Bounty Exchange boss for corner all, the situation is also poorly understood. Immediately after, they once again launched the flying segment and corner. Both search work, but at the same time they also sent news to Konoha. Explain this undead duo. The ability and some useful intelligence have strengthened the vigilance in the village. The sudden departure of Zhao Du and Fiden that day left them a little confused. They were afraid that they would go directly to Konoha to hunt for 9 tails. By the time they set off, it was already the 3rd day. At this time, the flying section in the angle, under the leadership of Pain, they have completed the seal of 2 tails, and are in the process of sealing 3 tails. Both of them are exerting strength, and Tsunade also got news from this side. After learning about the undead duo, after some information from, Tsunade's face also showed a solemn look. Obviously, the strength of the members of the organization made her very worried. He also immediately strengthened Konoha's guard,
always alert to the wind and grass around the village. At the same time, Tsunade also found Shiba and Kakashi 3. Advertisement. After some narration, it is also an explanation. Shiyu, Kakashi, Yamato. You should pay more attention during this period. That undead duo might attack Konoha. Their target is Naruto. Kakashi Road, it shouldn't be wrong. Tsunade responded, and then said, according to reliable sources, the Two-Way Renjuli, from Yinyan Village, seems to have also been captured. Kakashi and Yamato, who heard this, were both startled, but they did not expect that another Renjuli would fall into the hands of the Akatsuki organization. This is also the reason why Tsunade is so worried. Naruto, as Kirito Jori, he must be on the hunting list blocked by Akatsuki. Especially in this sensitive period. The high-profile appearance of undead duo, and then weirdly leave, I have to pay attention to it. Seeing Tsunade and Kakashi's concerns, Shiba said, Grandma Tsunade, just let it go. Here I am, Mrs. Kakashi and Captain Yamato. No surprises will appear. Regarding Shiyu's words, the trio 3 did not deny it. Despite Fei Duan's weird, immortal body, it made them very jealous, but relatively speaking, Shiyu was even more perverted. However, after Tsunade's trio 3 affirmed Toki's words, the latter's next sentence made their faces suddenly surprised. Grandma Tsunade, I have a suggestion here. What proposal? Instead of allowing us to passively protect here, it is better to take the initiative to eradicate his so-called undead duo completely. But Tsunade was hesitant to speak and stopped, apparently in hesitation. Grandma Tsunade, you can rest assured that I and Kakashi-sensei will protect Naruto well. Advertisement. Furthermore, Naruto's training is nearing completion. Naruto's new technique is practiced. Tsunade let out a shock. It's almost there, I guess it can be done tomorrow. Shiyu responded, and then said, moreover, you have also seen this Grandma Shuzuna. I have seen, Shiyu nodded and reminded him. Grandma Tsunade, do you remember the battle with Dashawan on the outskirts of Dance Street, Wuyuan Town, 3 years ago? Of course I remember. Tsunade affirmed, and in the next second she seemed to think of something and exclaimed. Could it be that technique? Yes, what Naruto is practicing is Spiral Shuriken. This ninjutsu Tsunade has seen it with his own eyes, and naturally knows its power. That was the level ninjutsu that almost killed the super defensive Million Snake, and its power was evident. After a brief exchange, Tsunade agreed to Toki's proposal. That's because Shiyu put forward 2 reasons. Their 4-man 4 combat power is quite strong, with their participation, to eradicate the undead duo. The odds are greatly improved. If Hida and Kokaku, both's goal is really to come to Konoha to hunt 9 tails, then their departure can just make the former take off. In response, even Kakashi and Yamato nodded in agreement. But the reason Shiyu made such a suggestion was entirely because of the task of the system. Otherwise, he doesn't want to trouble himself. Start immediately. They are the new 4-person 4 team, the 20th team after Shikamaru and their 19 teams. Chapter 380. The second day, noon. A shocking explosion appeared in the Death Forest, with a range of more than 10 meters in size. The power is evident. The explosion place is round and smooth, as if it was a deep pit hit by a huge iron ball. This scene made Kakashi and Yamato extremely moved. They didn't expect that the power of this wind escape spiral shuriken was so powerful as they had originally expected. At the beginning, Shiyu had condensed the spiral shuriken in his hand, but Shiyu did not throw it out to show its power. Nevertheless, Kakashi and Yamato were extremely jealous at the time. Now it seems that their original guess was correct. If it were hit by this wind escape spiral shuriken head-on, there would only be one result. That is death. As for Shiyu, he is also a little pleased with this scene before him. His nearly a month of teaching was finally not in vain, and Naruto finally succeeded in learning the wind escape spiral shuriken. To be precise, it was Cianfa Feng Feng spiral shuriken. Apart from Tokiyu's 3, Naruto himself is the most excited. Seeing that he successfully used the wind escape spiral shuriken, he couldn't mention how excited he was. Even though his state is a bit vain at this time, he still dances with his hands. Shiyu, have you seen it? I succeeded. I succeeded. The reason why Naruto's state is a bit vain at the moment is because this wind escape spiral shuriken was used in the fairy mode. Only in this mode, his arms will not be damaged, because the body of a normal person cannot withstand the cutting force of wind chakra, but if it has the ability to recover Shanshu chakra, it's different. Looking at the extremely excited Naruto, he turned around. Advertisement. Okay, Naruto. You have a rest now, I'm going to leave later. Set off, Naruto muttered, and asked with a puzzled look. Where are you going to eat? Noodles? From Naruto's point of view, it should be Shiyu who wanted to celebrate for himself to become the Feng Dian spiral hand home. However, Shiyu's answer directly extinguished his illusions. Let's wait until we come back to eat the ramen. We are now going to assist Shikamaru and other 19 teams in eradicating the undead duo of Akatsuki. Shao, undead duo, Naruto murmured, looking at Shiyu with a puzzled expression. 3. Upon seeing this, Kakashi also explained to Naruto. Naruto, it's like this. After listening to Kakashi's words, Naruto's expression instantly changed, and he said to the 3 of Shiyu. Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up. Naruto in the speech had no plans to rest at all.
He seemed to go to help Shikamaru and the others quickly at this moment. Let the so-called undead duo taste his power. Seeing Naruto's appearance, Shiyu smiled faintly and said, "Advertisement. In that case, let's go." Seeing Kakashi and the others nodded, Shiyu continued, "I left Shikamaru and their spell scroll with Flying Thunder God's mark. Let's go and meet them directly."
This is the best. Kakashi was taken aback for a moment and then responded. In this way, they can save a lot of time. The reason why Kakashi and Yamato had no doubts at this time was because they knew about the spell scroll. But Naruto was confused and couldn't help asking. "Shiyu, what is the Shanshu scroll, you said? I'll talk about it later." Oh, after Naruto chuckled, he, Kakashi, and Yamato 3 came to Shiyu by coincidence. Immediately after, with Shiyu's thoughts moving, 4 disappeared in an instant. To read the novel without underline, please download and fly. Thank you, 18,428, Lao Tai for your reward. Thank you, 18, Lao Tai for your reward. Thank you, 18, Lao Tai for your reward. Thank you, 18. Lao Tai Chapter 381. In a forest 1,000 miles away from Konoha, Shikamaru, Asuma Gangzite and Kamizuki Izumo were discussing something. Suddenly, 4 human figures appeared in front of their eyes. This sudden scene made Dekamaru, Asuma, Gankotetsu, and Shenue Izumo's expressions suddenly startled. Obviously, the appearance of the 4 people in front of them is very unexpected. These 4 figures are not others, but Toba, Naruto, Kakashi and Yamato who disappeared from the Death Forest in the last second. Seeing the Asuma team, Kakashi Trio 3 was not surprised, but Shiyu was a little surprised. According to his plan, they should be teleported to the Ino team. This is why Shiyu gave 2 spell scrolls. One of the reasons for this is that he obviously planned to kill the undead duo a long time ago. Plan. And based on the information sent back by Shikamaru and the others, Asuma must have died once. Therefore, the spell scroll on Shikamaru should be used up. It would be fine if Ino and his team were here, but the problem was that the team she and Dinxi belonged to was not again. Obviously, something unexpected happened to Shiyu. At this moment, except for Shiyu's surprise, the faces of Asuma 4 showed a touch of astonishment. Nothing else, just because Shiyu's 4 appeared in front of them out of thin air. This hand alone was enough to shock them. After some astonishment, Asuma was the first to break the silence. "Kakashi, why are you here? The 4 of us 4 is now the 12th squad. It is here to help you eradicate the so-called undead duo, together." "The 20th team?" Advertisement Asuma murmured and got an overview of the situation. His gaze swept to Shiyu, Naruto, and Yamato 3, and then he expressed the doubts in his heart. "Kakashi, when did you guys come and why I didn't notice it at all?" This is not only a problem Asuma is also trapped 3 Shikamaru confusion. The 3 of them are Zhang Ren. If someone approaches a certain area around them, they should be able to detect it. In addition, they also have an elite ninja here unless Kakashi and others have special concealment capabilities and can isolate them for a while. Otherwise, it is impossible to escape the perception of the 4 of them. At this moment, everyone thought that one of them must have mastered some special ninjutsu and avoided their perception. This is the only explanation they can think of at this time, Kakashi said with a smile after hearing the words. "We just arrived." Just Asuma murmured, and then said, "You guy has learned some hidden ninjutsu. If you don't show up, I really haven't noticed it." Hearing this, Kakashi smiled slightly and explained, "Asuma, you have misunderstood. It's not that I have mastered some powerful hidden ninjutsu, but that we just arrived here from Konoha." As soon as Kakashi said this, the Asuma 4 were dumbfounded. Advertisement the words that had just arrived here from Konoha would be unbelievable no matter who fell in their ears, because it was too unbelievable. Konoha is 1,000 miles away from them, and it is absolutely impossible to make it within a few days. This is what they personally experienced. No matter how fast Kakashi and the others are walking, they will take at least 6 hours. But now Kakashi told them that they had just arrived. The meaning of the words was that the 4 of them were there in the last second. Konoha arrived at them in the next second. This sounds incredible. If they didn't know the existence of the Flying Thunder God art, they would never believe such a thing. Because of this, Asuma asked out loud, "Kakashi, are you kidding me?" Hearing Asuma's words, Shikamaru's 3 eyes also locked Kakashi, waiting for the latter's answer. Upon seeing this, Kakashi chuckled lightly. "Do you think I look like a joke? Then why are you guys, Asuma, the reason why we appear by your side in an instant?" "That's because of Flying Thunder God's art." As soon as Kakashi said this, the atmosphere in the court instantly calmed down. At this moment, they looked at Kakashi's eyes with shock, apparently thinking that the person who mastered this technique was the latter. This is the only possibility they can guess, and the most reasonable explanation. However, what they didn't expect was that they had guessed the person who learned this technique wrong. Chapter 382. Flying Thunder God's art. At this moment, the same 5 words spewed out from the mouths of Asuma, Shikamaru, Gongzatai, and Shenue Izumo. After some shock, Asuma also said, "Kakashi, you learned Flying Thunder God's art." Asuma would ask such a question, it is also forgivable. Not to mention that Kakashi is the most talented of their generation, but whoever is most likely to learn Flying Thunder God's art is the former. You must know that Kakashi is a disciple of 4 generations of Naruto,
if Bao Feng Shuiman did not die young, it is estimated that this space ninjutsu will be taught to Kakashi. But then again, although Kakashi doesn't know the art of Flying Thunder God, he has the foundation of practicing art of Flying Thunder God. With Shenwei opening the door of space ninjutsu, for it, learning the same type of ninjutsu will naturally help. After hearing Asma's words, Kakashi chuckled, not me. Asma was stunned when he heard the words, but for some reason, his gaze fell on Shiyu subconsciously. If one of the four Naruto and his party four besides Kakashi, who is most likely to learn the Flying Thunder God art, then it is Shiyu that they can't see clearly. The latter's talent is obvious to all. To be honest, they already knew a fact on the unfinished Chin Ninja exam 3 years ago. Shiyu is undoubtedly the strongest among their group of students, as expected. In the past 3 years, Shiyu's strength and wisdom displayed in the mission have been recognized by everyone. Advertisement if it weren't for Shiyu's request to join Naruto and Sasuke to participate in the Ninbo test. If that is the case, I am afraid it is already Zhang Ren. But in fact, Shiyu's original intention was not to be too troublesome. Although Zhang Ren's treatment was higher, the things that followed would also increase. Not long ago, after they heard the news that Shiyu and his party had killed the Oshimaru, they gave a great affirmation to the latter's strength. But the most surprising thing for Asma and others is that Shikamaru took out the spell scroll a few days ago. From that moment, they began to completely feather this enchanting evildoer, if that spell scroll. It was made by Jiraiya, or from which mysterious place the latter got it. Then I gave it to Shiyu, it's okay solution, but if that spell scroll. It was made by Shiyu himself, so things are completely different. Being able to make such a heaven-defying thing is enough to show that Shiyu must have mastered the profound and mysterious fairy art. A field they never knew, never set foot in. Just before Asma said the answer in his heart, Kamaru on the side was the first to say it. Obviously, he had already guessed something. Kakashi-sensei, this person must be Shiyu. Shikamaru, you are as smart as ever. Kakashi praised Shikamaru, and then confirmed. However, it is Shiyu to learn 4 generations of Naruto Flying Thunder God art. As Kakashi's voice fell, the faces of Asma, Gonza Tetsu, and Shenyue Izumo all showed shock. Asma was okay, after all, he had already guessed the result. Advertisement Gangxi T and Shenyue Izumo had the most intense faces, and they never expected that they would get such an astonishing answer. In the past 3 years, they have been in contact with Shiyu. Every time Shiyu went on a mission, he would chat with them at the gate of Konoha village. Not only that, they also teamed up with Shiyu. Although only performing some level tasks, you can also know Shiyu's extraordinary. But what they didn't expect was that Shiyu had grown to this point in just 3 years. Not only has the strength to kill Oshimaru, but now he has also learned the Thunder God art of 4 generations of Naruto. All kinds of deeds have transcended genius, and can only be described as enchanting. To be honest, for their seniors, they are really ashamed. Their mood at the moment is no different from Kakashi and Yamato. After some shock, Gang Ziti's first sentence immediately caught the attention of Shikamaru and others. Shiyu, that Shanshu scroll, did you make it? There is no doubt that this problem has plagued Gang Ziti and them for several days. Originally, they wanted to return to Konoha to seek answers from Toki, but at this moment the latter was already in front of them. He had no reason not to ask. After learning that Shiyu had learned the Flying Thunder God art, this was originally a very remote possibility in their eyes. At this moment, it was magnified a lot in an instant, this moment. Gangzite and Shikamaru's eyes all fell on Shiyu's body, waiting for the latter's answer. Chapter 383. Shiyu, that Shanshu scroll, did you make it? Shiyu did not hide Shikamaru's problem. Moreover, there is no need for him to hide it, because even if he doesn't say it, Kakashi and others will. Yes. Shiyu affirmed, and then said, is there any problem? Hearing that, Shikamaru and others were all in a deep shock. Although they had prepared in advance, after they personally confirmed it, it was still difficult to conceal the excitement in their hearts. Kakashi and Yamato, they just know that there are spell scrolls. The existence of it, but I have never seen its magic and power with my own eyes. Shikamaru, Asma, Gonza Tetsu and Shenyue Izumo had seen it with their own eyes, and the scene a few days ago is still vivid. They never expected that this heaven-defying thing was really done by Shiyu. Since this Shanshu scroll was made by you, then you have learned Shanshu. When Shikamaru heard this, Shiyu was also slightly taken aback. He didn't expect Shikamaru to know about Shanshu, so he couldn't help asking back. Oh, you actually know about Shanshu. Although Shiyu's words were asking rhetorically, they also answered Shikamaru's question. For Shiyu's doubts, Shikamaru also simply combined the same day. The words were repeated again. Advertisement after Shiyu learned the truth of the matter, Asma's voice slowly sounded. Shiyu, thanks to your Shanshu scroll, this time. Otherwise, my life would have been accounted for long ago. Yes. Shikamaru, Gonza Tetsu, and Shinyuki Izumo also echoed one after another, expressing their gratitude. Shanshu scroll. Such a heaven-defying thing, it must be extremely difficult to make. After a few people were polite, Shiyu also asked Shiyu to prove one thing, why the spell scrolls still existed on him. Shiyu naturally told the truth. After knowing what was going on, Shiyu would also be surprised. What he didn't expect was that someone with a mind like Shikamaru would actually be like this, forgetting the spell scroll, life-saving thing at a critical time. I'll say, love. It will mess up a person's mind. This sentence is really true. In other words, Shikamaru subconsciously does not believe in Shanshu scroll. It really has such a magical effect, therefore, I didn't take this matter to heart. The kind that caused Asma's serious injury. In his desperation, he didn't think of spell scroll for a while. After all, it was too unbelievable to be able to save this kind of thing with a breath. Of course, this was before he had really seen Shiyu's strength. Furthermore, in case spell scroll, it's useless and delays the best time to see treatment, then the gain is not worth the loss. After some exchanges, Shiyu also went straight to the subject. How about it, did you find the undead duo advertisement? Not yet. Shikamaru responded, and then said, however, we have found some clues. If you are lucky, you will find them soon. Hearing that Shiyu also estimated the time, today is the 6th day of the flight and angle. Counting the time, they have almost finished sealing the 3 tails. It is estimated that it will not be long before the 2 will show up. But Shiyu never likes to be passive, he likes to be active. Instead of waiting for the flight section and angle to actively reveal the trail, they might as well go directly to the door now, maybe they can disrupt their sealing work. At this point, Shiyu also said, if the 2 of them are within 1,000 miles of us, I will have a way to find them. As soon as Shiyu said this, everyone looked different. Not to mention that the Shikamaru 4 were very surprised, even the Naruto and Kaka who came with Toki were shocked. Nothing else, just because this sentence is too shocking. Within 1,000 miles, they can find out how strong this perception is. They don't understand, they don't know. In addition to having the special eye pupils, white eyes, Shiyu also has a super perceptual ninjutsu, God forbids the eyes. This ninjutsu is a ninjutsu that Tokiwa combined with the nature energy on Uzumaki Phosphorus S Kagura Hard Eyes. If there is a chakra you are familiar with, you can also accurately perceive his detailed location, number of people and movements, etc. And God's forbidden eyes, the scope of insight is above it, the reason Shiyu only said, within 1,000 miles. That is not to make Kakashi and Shikamaru and others too shocked. Chapter 384. Just as everyone doubted, Shiyu had already opened the God's forbidden eyes. With mind eyes, when it was turned on, everything around was clearly reflected in Shiyu's mind. This state is the same as the spiritual power of the fantasy world. As Shiyu's chakra spreads toward the four-sided method centered on himself, he can perceive more and more things. However, this is also a drawback, that is, as the distance increases, the picture in my mind will slowly start to blur. However, as long as chakra's output is increased, this problem can be solved, but this will affect the speed of perception, which has both advantages and disadvantages. Although chakra is nothing to Shiyu, he is now looking for speed. As long as he perceives strong chakra fluctuations, he can instantly lock a certain position for further confirmation. If the flight section and angle are walking normally, he may not be able to capture the positions of the 2 in a short time. But at this moment, the 2 of them are still in the process of the magic lantern body. The state of this is a kind of ninjutsu that has to continuously transmit chakra. As long as he grasps this, Shiyu can accurately lock the position of the 2. At the same time, Shikamaru and others also came back to their senses. When they were about to confirm to Shiyu the truth of what he said just now, Shiyu was the first to speak. Found it. The simple 3 words made Kakashi and Shikamaru 7 instantly dumbfounded. Advertisement originally they wanted to confirm it, but what they didn't expect was that Shiyu found the person before they could say this. If these words were spit out from other people's mouths, Shikamaru and the others might not believe it, but it was a pity that this person was Tokiba, and it was this 16-year-old boy who made it difficult for them to doubt. Especially the powerful Naruto, Kakashi and Yamato who know Shiyu. Even the fairy mode can create perverted guys. Although this is surprising, it is nothing more than that. At this moment, everyone was looking at Shiyu sluggishly, except for Naruto. He was the only one who was doing everything right. Because he doesn't think too much like Kakashi and Shikamaru, in his eyes, it's over. It is also because of this. It was Naruto who was the first to break the silence. Shiyu, you found it now, Shiyu nodded, and then said, the enemy is 453 miles northeast, which is 226 meters. When Shiyu said this, everyone was shocked again. Not for other reasons, just because the data reported by Shiyu is also accurate. But this is not the point. The point is that the undead duo is clearly more than 20,000 meters away from them, but Shiyu can lock it in an instant. Therefore, at this moment Shikamaru and their hearts are a little suspicious. Advertisement they know that Shiyu is very strong and powerful, but if it is really what Shiyu said, then it would be too abnormal. It can be accurate to such a long distance, even if it is eyes, I am afraid it can't be done. Of course, ordinary white eyes is definitely not possible, but if it is clean eyes, after white eyes, or rebirth eyes, it is not necessarily. White eyes, every time you evolve, your abilities will be improved to a certain extent. This point is somewhat similar to bloodwheel eye, which is why the illusion technique of ordinary bloodwheel eye is weaker than kaleidoscope bloodwheel eye. It can be seen that, in terms of perception, this God's forbidden mind eyes far exceeds the 2 pupil techniques of Baian and Shulunyan. As soon as I thought of this, Kakashi couldn't help asking. Shiyu, I really found it,
It's true or not, just go and see.
Hearing Shiyu's confident words, the only suspicion of Kakashi and others was only a little bit left. This point is the last suspense, and it will disappear completely only when they see it with their own eyes.
Immediately after, everyone left with Shiyu and sank into the dense jungle in the northeast. Chapter 385. When Shiyu led the crowd to search for flight segments and angles, the seal of Two Tails had been completed somewhere in Yuyan village, thousands of miles away. As Sanwei Isosuke completely disappeared in front of my eyes, Pen's voice also slowly sounded. The seal of Sanwei has also been completed, now there are only 3 left. The so-called 3. In his mouth it refers to the remaining 3 tail beasts, namely, 6-tailed rhino dog, 8 tails, and 9 tails. Disband. With the fall of Pen, Fei Duan was the first to speak. Finally done. Hearing that, Zhao, they all responded immediately. Let's go to Konoha, Hida. It is not difficult to hear from the latter's tone that he still remembers Asma's bounty. However, it sounds good. Deidara on the side of the conversation with Fiden gave a reminder. Zhao. Fei Duan. If you two are going to Konoha, I will give you a piece of advice. There is a Ren Juli, named Uzumaki Naruto, you must be careful when you meet him. The reason why Deidara said this is obviously because he was embarrassed by Naruto's tailed beast state during the last match. In the end, he managed to escape smoothly with a clay clone, otherwise, his little fate might have to confess there. However, he didn't know, that time it was Shiyu who had no idea about him.
If not, there is no chance for him to stand here at the moment. However, he is completely unknown about this, and thinks that he escaped by virtue of his cleverness and wit.
Advertisement. Hearing Deidara's words, Fei Duan immediately mocked. Hey. Do you think we are you, Deidara, you guys? The hairy boy who just connected his hands. Deidara is called Blasting Kid, a disciple of 3 generations of Hokage Onoki in Yanyan village.
His age is indeed the youngest in the Shao organization. For Fei Duan's sneer, his character is naturally unhappy. However, before Deidara would be stunned, the corner on the side, all revealed the shortness of the flight. That's better than someone having his head chopped off.
Heard that, the flying segment was upset for an instant. Hey, Zhao. Who are you with? Controversy of words. I don't have any interest, and said lightly. Okay, let's go. The voice fell. Zhao. Du's phantom disappeared in place. Upon seeing it, Fei Duan could only snorted coldly and disappeared with it. As the two left, the other phantoms in the cave also disappeared one after another. The phantom with the bloodwheel eyes couldn't help but glance at the corner of his eyes before disappearing. The place where both and Fiden disappeared, the bloody eyes seemed to be thinking about Uchiha Itachi, and no one knew what he was thinking about him. It was the second man in the Akatsuki organization who made Pain jealous. He had one thing in common with the first advertisement. That is, both of them have Shaolunyan. Undoubtedly, this first person is Taiyu. In the flying section, Zhao. The phantoms of both of them disappeared after Yuyan village disappeared. 2 pairs of eyes suddenly opened in the forest somewhere in the land of fire, thousands of miles away. At this time, the 2 of them stood up from the huge rock, and one of them combed his head and held aside to move his muscles and bones. It's been a stalemate for 6 days, and now it's finally time for a disturbance. It's not someone else who speaks, it's the immortality. The fly section. After murmured to himself, Fei Duan looked at the corner of the side. Dao. Let's go to bounty exchange. However, the response he got was an insult.
Are you a fool? Hole, what did you say? You say it again.
The flying segment between the words is very uncomfortable, and Zhao, it is also patient to explain. Our ultimate goal is that, Renjuli, why bother to return to the exchange office that may have been set ambush? So, let's choose another way to Konoha. Hearing the words, Fei Duan was taken aback for a moment, and then said, that's what I said. However, just as the two were about to leave, a strange voice suddenly rang in their ears. No need to go, we are already here. Chapter 386. No need to go, we are already here. Hearing this, Fei Duan and Zhao, both's expressions are stagnant. While they were still doubting the voice of the master, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. The person who came was not someone else, it was Shiyu. Seeing this, Fei Duan started to question. Boy, who are you? The words of Fei Duan had just fallen, and there were a few more air-breaking sounds in front of him. Shoo, da. As the sound of footsteps fell, Shiyu was surrounded by 7 more figures. Undoubtedly, they are Kakashi, Shikamaru and others. It was originally still Hida and Horn who doubted Shiyu's identity. They understood instantly after seeing Kamaru and others appear. Who I thought it was, it turned out to be Konoha's. However, Fei Duan stopped abruptly in the middle of speaking. Nothing else, just because of the man standing next to Shiyu, a man with a beard. Fei Duan's eyes were staring at the latter at this time, and there was a thick incredible in his eyes. In his opinion, Asma should be dead. Advertisement. But the latter appeared in front of him now intact. Can this not make him startled? He knew that the former's cursing death by blood was very powerful. Before that, he had never seen anyone who could survive this trick of flying section.
But now, this curse has been beaten, but at this moment, it is not just the opponent's flying section in the Kakashi, Shikamaru and others on the side of Toyu. Before, they had the last hint of suspense about Shiyu's words, but the undead duo in front of them. It is undoubtedly the best proof. At this moment, they became more and more. Ju Yu was unfathomable. They were able to find the enemy's traces hundreds of miles away. This kind of tracking method was unheard of. But today, they saw it with their own eyes. Naruto, Kakashi, and Yamato are okay, because they are basically used to it. But Asuma, Shiyu, Gangxi and Shenyue Azuma are different. They only know that Shiyu is extremely talented, but they don't know that Shiyu has such endless methods. What is the spell scroll? First, now what is God's Forbidden Eyes? Although they are all ninjutsu they have never heard of, they all have common characteristics. That is, all is a mess, after a lot of consternation. The flying section that stared at Asuma, the sound of shock also sounded along with it. Advertisement, how is this possible? How could you be alive? As for Phaeton's question, Asuma smiled. You can live, why can't I? That's because I have an immortal body. The flying paragraph between the words is extremely proud, because this is one of the capital that he can show off. Fei Duan's words fell, and before Asuma responded again, Shi Yu's sneer rang. Immortal body. Haha. The uncomfortable color on Fei Duan's face became more intense when he heard that, and he immediately shouted. Boy, what are you laughing at? What an immortal body, it's just a cursed body. When Shi Yu said this, Kakashi, Shikamaru and others looked puzzled. But Fei Duan's expression was stagnant, and that expression of astonishment seemed to be that he had hidden his secret for many years and was known by others. Chapter 387. What an immortal body, it's just a cursed body. Hearing Shi Yu's words, everyone was puzzled. Fei Duan was silent, and only Naruto, a idiot, was the first to speak. Shi Yu, what cursed body? Hearing that, everyone's eyes are also locked to Shi Yu. They are very concerned about the immortal body. He was very curious, and wanted to figure out what was going on. From what Shi Yu said just now, they guessed that the latter might know the mystery or some related secrets. At this moment, not only Kakashi, Shikamaru and others were staring at Toki, but even Do and Hidan himself were no exception. Kokaku. Both have the same thoughts as Kamaru and others, and he also knows Hidan's immortal body. As for Phaeton himself, he wanted to confirm what Shi Yu said was true or false. That was 2 years ago. Shi Yu replied softly, and then recalled. At that time, I and a few other companions were on a mission in Unokuni during which we encountered a kind of undead. This kind of undead has no self-awareness and is just a kind of walking dead. After hearing Shi Yu's words, everyone was shocked. Undead. The only thing that didn't make a sound was the horn. It was all in the fly section. Zhao. It's all because he doesn't like to talk, but even so, waves still appear on his face. Because he still remembers him back then, Itachi and Xiaonan were recruited by Phaeton in Tanjian Village, and Tanjian Village. Advertisement if anyone cares the most, it must be the Fei Duan. Because no one knows this so-called immortal body better than him. What is going on? When Toki mentioned the two keywords of Unokuni and undead just now, he felt a little uneasy in his heart. After spinning his head quickly, Shikamaru was the first to ask. Shi Yu, does this undead guy's immortality have anything to do with? Good. Shi Yu nodded and continued. The information you sent back is okay. This guy claims to be a member of the Cthulhu. When I was investigating the undead incident in Unokuni, the final target was directed at a local cult group. Weaving what they believe in is exactly what the former said, the evil god. Because our task at the time was not to track down this matter, we just gave the local cult organization. As for the rest of the country, we did not intervene. After hearing Shi Yu's words, Kakashi also asked, Shi Yu. Then what the hell is this immortal body, is it really won't die? There is no immortal body in this world. There are only 2 reasons for the so-called unkillable. The first one is not strong enough. The second one is that I don't know how to do it. Shi Yu's meaning is very simple, as long as you are strong enough, you can use powerful means to obliterate it. Advertisement. This is like the unclean reincarnation, that blasts the sky, and it is said that it is unkillable. But as long as your strength is strong enough, you can wipe it out with the powerful yin-yang escape. The second is even simpler. Know the secret of this technique, just solve it and it's over. It's like when Uchiha Madara unlocked unclean reincarnation by himself during the Ninja World War, or manipulated the caster to unlock it by himself. It was Itachi using forbidden art Izanami to make pockets. Untie that. But if you don't have these 2 methods, you can only use the most stupid method. That is, seal. Because the method of seal is only temporary, you can't seal it, and others can naturally unseal it. This is like the reason why the 1st to 4th generations of Hokage who were sealed by the ghouls were still resurrected by the Oshimaru, and this is why the Itsuki Kagaya, who has been sealed for tens of thousands of years, can be resurrected again. Therefore, this method is undoubtedly the most stupid. People will choose it only when they have nothing to do. Hearing what Shi Yu said, everyone was shocked. While everyone is worried, there is also a worried look on his face. He is Fei Duan, because what Shi Yu just said is true, his immortal body. Indeed with those undead related, but it's not the point. The point is Shiyu seems to already know the immortal body. Secret chapter 388. The first one is not strong enough. The second one is that I don't know how to do it. Hearing Shiyu's two possibilities, Shikamaru and others were quite agreeable. Everything in the world grows and restrains each other, and each has cause and effect. Therefore, there is a way to solve any problem in the world, and nothing is unsolvable. If so, it can only be said that you are not strong enough, or your cognition has not yet reached that level. Nodding silently, Shikamaru asked again. Shiyu, what is the solution to the immortal body? As soon as Shikamaru said this, Shiyu didn't wait for Shiyu to answer, but the opposite Fei Duan said it first. Don't waste your energy, even if that kid knows the secret of the immortal body, what's the use? Here, you never want to kill me. Ha ha ha. The flying segment where the voice fell did not forget to laugh, and the laughter was full of indisputable. Upon seeing this, Asma asked curiously, Shiyu, what does that guy mean? Teacher Asma, this guy is so confident about where he is, it's because the undead body method of cracking is not on him. No longer where is that on him? Yamato asked curiously. On the person who planted him, curse, plant a spell. Advertisement Gongzatai murmured, and then asked, Shiyu, you mean that this guy has immortality, because he was planted by that guy called Cthulhu, curse. Shiyu nodded and explained. The undead I met in Unokuni was the spell that was planted by humans, called undead spell. No matter how traumatized their bodies are, the spellcasters will never die. Why is this? Shenyue Izumo was puzzled. That's because they are no longer a righteous but a soul, imprisoned living dead. 99% of people who have been planted, undead curse, will lose their minds because of being detained, and become a walking dead. This is the undead I saw in Unokuni, but there are those lucky guys who are 1%. They may be strong enough in their own will, or they may have received the blessing of heaven to maintain their sanity. And the so-called undead curse actually confines a person's soul to his own body forever. Will never dissipate. Although the pain can be felt, they will not die because of fatal injuries to their bodies because their souls remain. This technique is a bit similar to Dashimaru's Shengen reincarnation and Fine Earth reincarnation, created by second-generation Hokage, both of which involve soul. Hearing this, Naruto couldn't help but cut in. Shiyu, you mean that the guy in front of you is one of those 100%? This time my head turned pretty fast. Naruto also scratched his head when Shiyu was so boastful, and he smiled. Hey. Shiyu smiled slightly and continued. Advertisement. So, if you want to crack this guy's immortality, you can only find the one who planted him immortality. As Shiyu's words fell, everyone finally understood what Fei Duan's immortal body was all about. But at the same time, they will also face a huge problem. How to kill the flying segment in front of them, even the horns. They can't help but glance at the flying segment next to them, and they have teamed up with the latter for so long. Cthulhu always hangs in Phaeton's mouth two words, but Jean never knows the immortality of this guy. If it weren't for Shiyu today, he might not know when he would know it, or it would be impossible for him to know it for the rest of his life. Because this kind of secret about his own life and death, who would easily confide to others. It's like a horn. To himself has never told anyone the secret of resentment. Just when Kakashi, Shikamaru and others showed sadness because of this, Hita's laughter also rang again. I said it before, even if you know my secret, it doesn't matter. As long as you can't find Cthulhu Envoy, you will never be able to kill me, ha ha ha. Today, you will all feel the anger from the evil god. The Cthulhu Envoy, in Phaedwan's mouth, is undoubtedly the one who planted undead curse on him, and also promoted Cthulhu. Senior figures. In other words, this Cthulhu messenger. It is the manipulator behind the scenes. The next second, Shikamaru seemed to have thought of something and immediately asked Shiyu. Shiyu, how did you deal with those undead in the first place? As soon as Shikamaru said this, he immediately attracted everyone's attention. Because Shiyu said earlier that he brought a Cthulhu organization to Unokuni during his mission. So how did he deal with it at the time? Everyone is naturally quite curious about this. Chapter 389. Shiyu, how did you deal with those undead in the first place? For Shikamaru's question, Shiyu replied truthfully. Although we have not been able to grasp the undead spell information, we have worked out 3 plans ourselves. Shiyu, which 4 are they? Naruto asked first. The first type, seal. The second kind, cremation. The third kind, corrosion. To briefly explain, Shiyu continued. The first one is to treat the symptoms but not the root cause, and the latter two can solve the problem fundamentally. Immortality is to imprison a person's soul in one's body forever, and once the body is completely destroyed, the imprisoned soul will naturally be liberated with it. Hearing Shiyu's words, everyone was overjoyed. In this way, they have the immortal body to solve the flying section. Way out. In fact, before Shiyu came, Fei Duan had already figured out a way to deal with Fei Duan. That is, the broken corpse is buried alive. This is the same as a seal, and it treats the symptoms rather than the root cause. Because people who have the immortal body do not eat, drink, breathe or die, they just rely on their soul. Advertisement just alive. Of course, if no one is rescued for a long time, the body will slowly decay due to the influence of the natural environment. In the end, the body died away. However, this is a rather long process. Coupled with the reason that their bodies have been cast on the undead spell, this process will be prolonged. Therefore, this method is prone to variables. The simplest and rude method is undoubtedly cremation and eclipse. So as to solve the problem fundamentally, Shikamaru, Kakashi and others were happy when they heard Shiyu's method, but the eyes of Fei Duan gradually became gloomy. Because their cult is to rely on these several methods to deal with that uncontrolled, undead, well, because it is too complicated to dispel the undead curse. If it is not for a special identity, Cthulhu Envoy. I was too lazy to waste time. Just when everyone looked different, Shiyu's voice slowly sounded. However, since that incident, I think these three methods are too cumbersome, so I later came up with an easier method. Before Shikamaru and others asked, Fei Duan's shout interrupted their minds. Boy, you talk too much nonsense. Advertisement. As Fei Duan's voice fell, I saw his mouth shake, and the bloody March sickle in his hand was about to be thrown out. Next second, Fei Duan suddenly realized that his body was out of control, and this feeling was no different from the last time. Perceiving this, he obviously realized something. He looked down at his feet, and the result was exactly the same as he expected. There was an extra line-like shadow under his feet. Looking at this shadow, a figure came into his eyes. This figure is not someone else, it is Shikamaru. At this moment, Feiden's eyes were staring at Shikamaru, and his eyes seemed to burst into flames. He was hit twice with the same trick. For this reason, a vicious word was also spit out from the latter's mouth. Boy, you must die today. This is my idea too. Shikamaru gave a soft drink, then motioned for Asma to give it a glance, and he controlled the flying section towards the horn on the side. All attacked. Perceiving Shikamaru's intention, Hijuan also shouted. Corner. All, get out of the way. Upon seeing this, even if the flying section did not make a sound reminder, Coke, it would still be out of the way. But in the next second, everyone was dumbfounded, because the horns. They stood still on the spot, letting Fei Duan's bloody March sickle fall on his body. Chapter 390. Kang. With a metallic sound, Feiden's bloody March scythe and horn. Du's body came into close contact. But the result was unexpected to Shikamaru, because the extremely sharp, bloody March sickle did not give the horns. They were all substantive, and the sound sounded like it was chopped on a hard rock. For this strange phenomenon, only two people at the scene saw the clue. That was Shiyu and Kakashi. Although Shiyu didn't open the Shoringan, he knew in advance that he had a body guarding Eden Ninjutsu. Kakashi was because the enemy he faced was a member of the Akatsuki organization, so naturally he did not dare to slack in the slightest, so he opened his forehead protection early. Thus, as long as there is a change between the two, he can detect it for the first time. This is a habit that Kakashi has cultivated in combat for many years. His obsolescence is not only based on his strength, but his brain is naturally much better than ordinary people. Seeing this scene, Naruto was shocked. How so? Sure enough, as the same predecessor said, this guy has a technique that can harden the body. Shikamaru replied. Last time, open black lens bracket like the same foot close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Mountain City Aoba close black lens bracket cooperated with the open black lens bracket dispersion of Thousand Crow technique close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket change technique close black lens bracket, and they gave the horns. They were all caught off guard. Advertisement. But the same black knife clearly slashed the corner. Du's cheeks. There were bloodstains gushing out in the first second, but it was difficult to get an inch in the next second. The same thing is telling everyone this information. At that time, Shikamaru analyzed the horns. They may have some kind of ninjutsu that makes the body harden in an instant. Hearing Shikamaru's words, horn. They are also indifferent. Boy, your analysis is good. Under my ninjutsu defense, no physical attack can hurt me. However, I seem to underestimate a kid. Kokaku. The fall of these last words made Shikamaru a little puzzled. Just when Shikamaru hadn't figured out what the horns were referring to, the latter directly told him the answer. I didn't expect you to be able to control me and Fei Duan at the same time. Simultaneous control. Shikamaru murmured, his expression suddenly stagnated. The reason why he shows this expression is because he has no control angle at all. Both. Shikamaru knows how to use his power to control a flying segment is already barely enough. How can there be more power to control a stronger horn? Do. Advertisement. Seeing that Shikamaru showed such an expression, the horns. Du's brows were also frowned. He can't move his body right now. As far as he knows, he should have also been hit by Shikamaru's shadow imitation. But now the latter's expression is saying that there is another person controlling him. Whether this can make him astonished is also because of this. He can't help but think about it. Is there anyone who knows how to do that? At this point, Zhao. Du's eyes immediately fell on his feet. In addition to himself, another person's gaze also locked the shadow under his feet. He is none other than Shikamaru. As expected. Kokaku. There are indeed other shadows blended into the shadows of the duo, which looks the same as the technique in the flying section. At this point, they have confirmed the fact that they have been hit by the operation. But at the same time, they are all wondering, who is this shadow imitation technique, especially Shikamaru? You must know this shadow secret technique. It is the family ninjutsu of their Nara clan. If it were not for the unanimous consent of the senior leaders of their clan, otherwise, this technique would not be easily spread out at this point, and the eyes of the two immediately followed the shadow under their feet. Chapter 391. Following the horns. Duhi Shikamaru's eyes followed the shadow of the line, and a figure came into their eyes. At that moment, the expressions of both of them were stagnant. Especially Shikamaru, because of this shadow secret technique. It is a mystery of their Nara clan that is not passed on, and it is almost impossible for ordinary people to learn by themselves. If this person was not Shiba, Shikamaru had once suspected that the latter had stolen the horns. Dujiyu was not so surprised, because he did not know this shadow mystery. It is the family ninjutsu of the Nara clan, so you kid can also do this kind of ninjutsu. The corner between words. The doubts in both hearts have also been answered. He originally thought it was Kamaru who controlled him and Hidan at the same time. That's why Shikamaru was praised before, because Shikamaru can restrain both of them at the same time. Shikamaru's strength will definitely improve in these few days. This is also the reason why I was shocked by the meeting. After all, Shikamaru's single control of the flight segment was a bit reluctant 6 days ago. With the corner. All these words fell, Kakashi and others all understood. Their gazes were fixed on Shiyu's body, to be precise, it was the extended shadow under Shiyu's feet. This ninjutsu, they are naturally no strangers. At this moment, everyone looked incomparably shocked. Advertisement. They obviously didn't expect Shiyu to even use the shadow secret art of Nara clan. I have mastered them, and all of them are surprised. It is also because of this. They finally knew the previous horns. Why did they stand still and endure the attack of the flying section? It turned out that all of this was because of Shiyu. Originally, Shikamaru wanted Asma to cooperate with him and give him a fatal blow when he dodges the flying attack. But they all didn't expect to stand motionless in the same place. This result disrupted their plan, which made Asma still stand in place at this moment and didn't make a move. I really responded to a saying, the plan can't keep up with the changes. However, they know that they are not asking Shiyu why, shadow secret art. When? Right now, the most important thing is to take down or kill this undead duo. At this moment, Yamato suddenly raised a doubt. Shiyu. Is that guy controlled? How did he use ninjutsu just now? Yamato's voice fell, and Shiyu didn't wait for Shiyu to answer, but Kamaru on the side was the first to speak. Advertisement. Senior, you may not know something. That guy also has a special ability, which is to get his arm out of control with a black chakra line. Shikamaru and the others had a battle with Angle, so they know more about it. Shikamaru was right. Shiyu agreed, and then he looked at Kakashi. His clever eyes seemed to be communicating with the latter. Kakashi nodded, and when everyone didn't know what was going on, the former's figure instantly disappeared in place. It can be seen that there is a certain tacit understanding between the two. Also possessing the riding wheel eyes, Kakashi naturally saw the previous angle. The attack that blocked the flying section was a kind of ninjutsu. And the 5 chakra attributes are mutually reinforcing and restraining each other, like Earth. Kakashi naturally knows the truth. Among the 8 people present, only he and Shiyu have laid done. At this moment, Shiyu is using the shadow imitation technique to control the horns. Then he can only do it now. Chapter 392. The moment Kakashi disappeared in the same place, Shiyu's voice also sounded. Shikamaru, control it, it is good. Shikamaru nodded, and firmly bound the flying section in place. After seeing Kakashi disappeared, Du and Feiden's hearts were stunned. Because both of them are now restrained by shadow imitation technique, they broke free for a while. However, Du doesn't seem to be too flustered. Because he mastered the secret art of resentment, he was a man with 5 lives. Secondly, he also had a hardening art, bodyguard. Any physical attack would hardly hurt him. Because of this, he also reminded out loud, flying section. Be careful, don't get your head off, They are all people who are afraid of trouble. However, as soon as his voice fell, he felt a coolness coming from behind him. If he didn't know that Kakashi disappeared in the same place, he might not be able to tell who this weak breath was, but since he knew it in advance, he naturally had a bottom in his heart. It's just that he didn't expect that Kakashi's chosen target turned out to be him. It seems that he doesn't believe what I said just now. At that moment, a trace of contempt flashed in Du's eyes. Because he believes in his hardening technique, it is not just a ninja to crack it. Advertisement. Furthermore, he was restrained by Shiyu at this moment. If you want to get rid of it, you can only do it. But he still can't reveal this whole card, so he sees what Kakashi can play. In other words, he didn't catch Shiyu in his eyes. But the next second, he was dumbfounded, because he saw a big hand piercing through his heart, and it was stained with scarlet blood. Boom. Blood splattered and overflowed dyed the void. There was still a trace of thunder and lightning raging in the wound, and it was obvious that Kakashi had used Rachel just now. This scene was beyond everyone's expectation. Except Shiyu, because this was discussed by him and Kakashi, the eye contact between the two was just that. As expected of Mr. Kakashi, Naruto, Senior Kakashi is amazing. Gang Ziti and Shenyu Azumo exclaimed in unison. Shikamaru, Asma, and Yamato were no exception. After a shock, they all showed joy. Except for them, even Fei Duan couldn't help exclaiming at this moment.
What advertisement? That big mouth seemed to be able to blow down a fist-sized pebble, which showed that he was shocked at the moment. He and Coke. They have teamed up for so long, and this is the first time he has seen the latter injured. To be precise, it was the horn. Du's hardening technique was broken. It was in everyone's consternation. Kokaku. Du's voice also sounded slowly, and his tone was full of weirdness. How come? You broke my ninjutsu. Regarding Zhao Tu's question, Kakashi did not hide it. Your hardening art, from the method of congealing, it should be a change in the nature of earth escape. You can actually see my Jia Yin. Also, you should be such a strong, lay-done, ninjutsu. At this point, Zhao. There was a sudden pause. He seemed to have thought of something, and there was a look of consternation in his eyes. I see. You are the one from Konoha, copy ninja. Zai Zhao. After guessing his identity, Kakashi did not respond, but let out a cold voice. Lei, K.T. You are done. Chapter 393. As a slight voice came out, Kakashi's arm suddenly pulled out of the body of Horn. Du.
For a time, there was another splash of blood. Because of the thunder attribute Chakra's package in his hand, Kakashi's arm was only stained with blood.
But he didn't dye the whole arm red. Obviously, it was mostly cut off by the raging thunder and lightning. Boom. Coke. They were all pushed to the ground by Kakashi, and then his eyes fell on Fei Duan on the side. Next, it's your turn. Hearing that there was no panic in the flying section, on the contrary, there was even a smirking ridicule in his tone. It's really ruthless to be pierced through the heart by a hit. However, I said the corner. All, please don't fall down suddenly like this, okay?
Hearing this, everyone is not aware of it. This corner. I have already died by the hands of Kakashi, but why the former can be so calm? Is this the unfeeling and inexorable Xiao organization? Mo Fei Duan Jiu would say such words. Obviously, he has a certain understanding of Zhao Du's abilities. After all, Yu Zhao, they have teamed up for so long. This is like Zhao. They all know his ability, which is why they call themselves Undead Duo.
Reason. But about the secrets of the abilities of both parties, the two naturally won't confide. This is why the previous horns. Both are learning about the immortal body of Fei Duan. The secret of the secret will reveal the reason for the color of consternation. Advertisement, of course, at the scene. Besides him, there is another one. If he only knew the abilities of Zhao Du, then you knew even the latter's secret skills. Although Kakashi was puzzled, it was not at all that the flying segment had been controlled by Shikamaru's shadow imitation technique, and it was the last time to kill the latter. As long as he cuts off the latter's head now, everything is over. This is the end of my thought. Kakashi's figure is suddenly rushed out and approached the flight section ahead. However, just as Kakashi's figure passed by the angle that fell to the ground, it suddenly stood up from the angle that was logically dead. Immediately after, Shikamaru and others gave Kakashi a kick under the shocked gaze of Shikamaru and others, and the unprepared attack was naturally impossible to prevent. Touch. No accident, Kakashi was kicked away directly. Seeing that Kakashi was about to hit the boulder behind him, but at this critical moment, a figure appeared behind Kakashi. One hand pressed the former's back, finally allowing him to stabilize his figure. And it was no one else who shot, it was Shiyu. Kakashi-sensei, are you okay? Fine. Kakashi replied, ignoring words of thanks, staring at the resurrection angle. Advertisement, what happened? I have clearly hit his vitals. Kakashi's face was incomprehensible between the words, and at this moment, he was not the only one who revealed his body.
Shikamaru, Naruto, Asuma and others are doing this all the way, and they are also full of disbelief. At this moment, they began to somewhat understand why these two people were called Undead Duo. NS. Just as Shikamaru and the others were shocked, the cold voice of the flying section slowly sounded. Well, it's time to make a break. Indeed, Zhao. They all responded, and immediately took off the black-red cloud robe on his body.
Immediately after, a hideous body is in the eyes of everyone, extremely terrifying.
His body is full of stitches, and there are 4 masks of 44 different shapes behind him, which is daunting.
Undoubtedly, this is caused by the practice of secret skills of resentment. To read the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Fate Chapter 394. But what is puzzling is that Zhao, one of the 444 masks behind Du, is already broken. Although everyone knows that it was caused by Kakashi's previous penetration of the heart, but they don't know what it means. Oh. With the scream of Zhao Du, the 444 masks on top and back began to squirm. Next second, the 444 masks were actually there. Everyone broke out under the stunned eyes, and each mask carried countless black lines on its body. It's dense and crooked. Seeing this scene, Naruto directly sent out 3 lines of doubts. What is that? Why is that guy not dead yet? Also, what is the black thing on the mask? Who knows? Shikamaru responded, and then said, after fighting with them, I am not so surprised.
This scene before him is still alive compared to the last time he was separated from the head of the flight, and it really couldn't make him too shocked.
At the same time, Shikamaru's shadow imitation technique was also a sign, and defeated and regained his ability to move. It is precisely because of this that Fei Duan is starting to move again. Master Cthulhu, please take a look. I will take out their intestines later and let them see what the evil god's wrath is.
Ha 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 ha. At this moment, the horns, The 444 masked black chakra aggregates that broke out of their bodies began to roar, and the powerful power exuding made people tremble. Advertisement. Oh. Upon seeing this, Asma gave a soft drink. Everyone, be careful. However, as soon as Asma's voice fell, the weird scene happened again. I saw the mask puppet, who was still aggressive a second before that. The next second is directly wilted. Ooh, after uttering a low wailing, it fell directly from the air and turned into a pool of black mud. But as for why this happened for a while, everyone can't think of a reason. Different from the other three masks, this mask puppet. It was the one that Kakashi had previously pierced through. Among the people present, if anyone knows it, except for Zhao, of course, there are only Fei Duan and Shi Yu. Of course, Fei Duan only understands one or two. Hey, are there any mistakes? One died just after coming out, it's really useless. This is why after seeing this scene, Fei Duan will still vomit like this. Regarding Fei Duan's complaints, Zhao, it seems to have been used to it. Advertisement, Fei section, you step back, leave it to me here. Hearing that, Fei Duan was upset in an instant. What wait? I just didn't even have a chance to fight back. I'm almost annoying me. Now that I have finally recovered my ability to move, I can't watch the battle. It's still the same as before. The flying segment where the voice fell, directly attacked Shiyu and Kakashi. Seeing Fei Duan suddenly in trouble, Shikamaru and others also immediately entered a state of battle. Their eyes fixed on the horns, Du and the three mask puppets, behind it. And is always ready to help Shiyu and Kakashi, but in the next second, an unexpected scene appeared again. Kokaku. Both control one of the mask puppets, launched a ranged ninjutsu attack, wind escape suppression. Mask puppet. Release a high-pressure wind ball from your mouth to sweep away all objects. The resulting vortex storm will cause a wide range of terrain to burst, causing huge damage to the target and its surroundings. But Shikamaru and Naruto are not mask puppets, they are surprised. The ninjutsu released at this moment, but the first hit by this ninjutsu was not Toki and Kakashi. It's his own companion, Fei Duan. This way of fighting, they are undoubtedly the first time they have met. Chapter 395. Seeing that the strong wind was about to obliterate Shiyu and Kakashi, Naruto suddenly shouted. Shiyu. Teacher Kakashi. Be careful, although he knew that Shiyu was very strong, the kind of strong and boundless. But his worries at this moment are out of instinct, and they subconsciously shout out without thinking through the brain. Sudden. Boom. 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 Wind, crashing, and cracking sounded constantly, filling everyone's eardrums. After these kinds of sounds slowly dissipated, Shiyu, Kakashi, and Fei Duan had already been annihilated in the smoke and dust. Upon seeing this, Naruto and Yamato's faces didn't have much worry. Because they knew that with Toki's power against the sky, there shouldn't be any danger in facing an attack of this level. After all, they had seen the outdated Yusho open black lens bracket Susao Nohu close black lens bracket with their own eyes. They both didn't worry much, but Shikamaru, Asma and others were full of worry. Just now, the force of the wind escape suppression is extremely powerful, and this ninjutsu has at least reached the level of. If level ninjutsu makes enemies of equal strength seriously injured, then level ninjutsu is likely to kill the opponent. This is also the reason why Shikamaru and the others are worried at this moment. However, before the monstrous smoke and dust had dissipated, Kakuno all attacked again. Advertisement. It's just that this time his goal is not Shiyu and Kakashi. Instead, they aimed at Naruto and Shikamaru. In his opinion, Shiyu and Kakashi had hit their own harm. Even if he doesn't die, he still has to be injured. Moreover, there are Fei Duan who are holding down the two of them. As soon as he thought of this, his goal was naturally set for Asma and others. No extra nonsense, I saw that he manipulated another mask puppet. Rushed to Shikamaru and others. Then there is another powerful level ninjutsu, Thunder Duck False Darkness. The mask puppet releases an irregular sharp thunder spear, sweeping lightning from near to far. The amazing power that this technique can penetrate even stiff rocks is a kind of ninjutsu with extremely high lethality. Right there, the great spear of thunder. When they were about to hit Naruto and Shikamaru, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. Advertisement. Bang. With a muffled explosion, the thunder spear. It was directly blocked by abruptly. Moreover, they could clearly hear the raging sound of thunder. Z. Not only that, they also saw a black smoke rising up. Looking closely, they also knew the reason. It turns out that the wood was scorched by strong lightning. Undoubtedly, blocking the corner. It is Yamato. It's just that, wooden Dunmu ingot wall, is the big spear of thunder. That was condensed by chakra. There was a hole in the hole. Wooden ingot wall, as a defensive ninjutsu. A row of wooden pillars is bent from the ground to form an arch to protect yourself or others. From this, it can be seen that this laid-done pseudo-darkness is powerful. If it weren't for Captain Yamato's timely action, Asma on the side was ready to face this trick head-on. However, Asma is good at attacking ninjutsu. If it is forced to connect, it is very likely to be injured. If Yamato is not present, even if he knows that he will be injured, he will choose to resist. Because the speed of Thunderdun is extremely fast, Shikamaru and Naruto may not be able to react at that moment. One carelessness is either serious injury or death. Naturally, he does not want to see this result. PL Chapter 396.
Boom. With that, thunder big gun. The remaining thunder was raging, and the defensive arch made of wood was shattered. Obviously, it was caused by the inability to withstand a powerful attack. If this doesn't break, Shikamaru and others don't know yet, it turns out that Yamato actually used a 3-story arch. In other words, the reason why Yamato was able to block the corner just now, Du's laid done pseudo-darkness, was because he used the triple wooden ingot wall. It can be seen that there is a gap between ninjutsu and ninjutsu. Ninjutsu is one level different, and its power cannot be talked about at the same time. For example, after the upgrade of Spiral Pill, and Chidori, Spiral Shuriken, and Kirin, the power between the two is not at the same level. Yamato is worthy of being a battlefield elite, shinobu, and he made a reasonable judgment at the moment just now. Otherwise, he is at least seriously injured at this moment. If one is unlucky, he is the Great Spear of Thunder. If it penetrates, it is likely to be life-threatening. Therefore, the combat experience of a ninja is very important. Some powerful ninjas sometimes lose themselves in the hands of weaker ninjas because of their arrogance. This is also common in the ninja world. Upon seeing this, Naruto was the first to ask, "Captain Yamato, are you okay?" "Fine." Yamato responded, and then said, "I don't know what happened to Shiyu and Kakashi-senpai." When the voice fell, Yamato and others looked at him immediately. Sweeping to the place shrouded in smoke and dust. Advertisement at this moment, all the smoke and dust there has been dispersed, and what is greeted is a messy area. Broken woods are everywhere, and there are countless deep pits and cracks. From this, it can be seen that the wind escape pressure is powerful. At this moment, there is only one figure in the eyes of Shikamaru and others. He is the Fei Duan. At this time, the clothes on the latter's body are a little broken, and there are some bloodstains on it. This is obviously because of the horns. Du's ninjutsu. But because he has immortality, so it's nothing to him. Because of this, Shikamaru finally understood how to fight. Using the abilities that teammates can't die, they can be unscrupulous when attacking. Don't worry about the lives of teammates. In this way, they don't have to tie their feet in battle. Although they didn't see Kakashi's figure at the time, there was one thing besides the flying section in the chaotic zone. A sphere of ice crystals. At this moment, everyone's eyes are focused on this ice puck, even the flying section and angle are no exception. If you say, does anyone know this, ice hockey, if it is something, I am afraid that there is only Naruto. Slightly stunned, everyone had the same guess in their hearts. Are Shiyu and Kakashi in that ice hockey? Everyone's guess is not unfounded, but based. Previously, Shiyu, Kakashi and Hida were obliterated by the powerful ninjutsu, Feng Dun. At this time, there was no second figure besides the injured Hida. Advertisement horn. Although the wind pressure is strong, it is still not enough to roll the two people into the invisible place. After all, this is an extremely dense jungle. With so many obstacles, no matter how strong the strong wind is, it is impossible to blow them away. The undamaged big tree behind is the best proof. As for Shiyu and Kakashi's bones, this may not exist, and this level of Feng Dun can't do it. Even if it is level Feng Dun, it may not be possible. If you want to cut an intact person into an invisible existence, that level of Feng Dun is undoubtedly beyond level. So, there is only one possibility left. Moment and Kakashi should be in the ice hockey in front of them, but this is also a place that makes everyone wonder. Because I want to make such a big hockey puck out of thin air in such a place. There is only one possibility. That is, Ice Shield. Only this bloodstain limit can use Chakra's change in nature to create such an ice puck. But who has mastered this Ice Shield? Only one person present can be 100% sure. He is Naruto. Only he has seen Shiba cast Ice Shield with his own eyes. Shiba, Asuma and others are not stupid. They naturally think that Shiba is the most likely. As far as they know, Kakashi hasn't mastered such a bloodstain limit. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that Kakashi has mastered it in recent years. However, this possibility is extremely small. As for the flying section and the angle, the two people can be completely ruled out. They want Shiyu and Kakashi. Naturally, it is impossible to protect them. In addition to this, there is one last possibility left. Didn't it mean that a helper came to me at the very moment of the moment, a helper they might not know? After some speculation, Shikamaru also asked, Naruto, is that hockey puck made by Shiyu? Shikamaru no Suo asked Naruto, apparently because the latter and Takiwa were members of the same team. Chapter 397, Naruto, is that hockey puck made by Shiyu? After hearing Shikamaru's words, Asuma and others couldn't help but look at Naruto. Upon seeing this, Naruto also answered truthfully. You can't go wrong, it's definitely Shiyu. Naruto's tone is extremely affirmative. After all, he has seen Shiyu perform this ice prison technique with his own eyes. After getting Naruto's confirmation, everyone's hearts were also shocked. They didn't expect Shiyu to have a second type of bloodstain limit, in addition to magnetic escape. The two types of bloodstain boundaries made them so surprised. If Shiyu showed a few more, wouldn't they be dumbfounded? If they knew that Shiyu had all the ninjutsu-type bloodstain limits, it would have subverted their understanding of the world. Just as everyone was shocked, the hockey puck in the mess began to slowly melt away. Next second, two figures appeared in the eyes of everyone. It was Shiyu and Kakashi. This scene allowed Naruto's words to be finally confirmed. The truth is in front of him, and Ren Defei can only believe in this indisputable fact. At this moment, the same sentence sounded in their hearts. Unexpectedly, two of these people actually have bloodstain limit. Needless to say, they were referring to Takiwa and Yamato. Advertisement: as long as you are a ninja, you know how rare bloodstain boundary is. Either you are a lucky person by nature and voted for a good family, a family with the bloodstain boundary, inheritance. Either you can only rely on your own talent and learn it through practice. Either transplant someone else's bloodstain limit, but the success of this method is minimal. Moreover, even if the transplant is successful, it will not be perfect to use. Other than that, there is no other way. This is why some forbearance makes his strength reach the shadow level, to the super shadow level, but they still can't have the bloodstain limitation. Close black lens bracket S reason. Talent is something that is born. This is the same reason that many ninjas cannot perceive natural energy. Every ninja has its own talent field. Bloodstain limit. It's not that the owners have never seen it, but so far they have not exceeded the number of hands. But today they ran into two at once, no wonder they were so surprised. At this moment, Shikamaru and the others were shocked and delighted at the same time. Shiyu and Kakashi are okay. This is undoubtedly the best news. Zhao. Both stared at Shiyu and Kakashi for a while, and then the indifferent voice sounded again. You are the first to not be killed by my trick. Just don't know if you can stop the next move. The voice fell. Zhao. There is no unnecessary nonsense. I saw that his hand-printing style changed rapidly, and then the third, mask puppet, suddenly flew out from behind him. Fire escape, fire hard. Advertisement with horns. Everyone shouted, mask puppet. A raging fireworks burst out from his mouth, like seawater. The temperature was so high that it seemed to turn everything in front of you to ashes. Seeing this, Kakashi and others were extremely moved. Because of the addition of the current, fire escape, Kokaku has already performed 4 different escape skills. Moreover, every move has reached the strength of level. Although Kakashi is a full attribute person, he only has the thunder attribute, cultivated to the level of proficiency. Kokaku. All the 4 types of open black lens bracket escape techniques close black lens bracket have been cultivated to this level. Although they are a little bit inferior to his open black lens bracket thunder escape close black lens bracket, they still can't get there. This shows that the horror of the latter, at this moment, they deeply understand. Zhao Du is powerful. There are only 2 people who are not touched by this move. One is the flying section. As a companion, his face is only playful. As for the other one, that is Shiyu. This open black lens bracket firefighting and hard work close black lens bracket is indeed very strong in the eyes of others, but it is nothing more than that in Shiyu's eyes. At this point, Shiyu had a decision in his heart. Well, let's see who our fire is stronger. Chapter 398. In the face of this monstrous flame, Asma and others are preparing to avoid the edge for the time being. In their cognition, none of the 8 of them should have Shui done that can withstand this degree of fire done. As for Shiyu's ice shield, they didn't know how far the latter had practiced this bloodstain boundary. If it is not strong enough, it is absolutely necessary to melt this high temperature. As for Kakashi's water escape, it may be able to protect 1 or 2, but it will definitely not protect 8 people. As for Yamato's Mu Dun, it was defeated by Huo Dun and was not good for defensive purposes. Everyone was thinking of avoiding it, but Yui Shiyu stood still and motionless. Upon seeing this, Shikamaru also gave a soft drink. Shiyu, run away. Don't worry, this level of Huo Dun can't hurt me. When the voice fell, Shiyu's heart suddenly sounded a low growl. Fire escape and extinguish the fire. As Shiyu showed this book, everyone was dumbfounded. If you say that the horns, dues, fire and hard work, are like the sea, then use fire extinguishment as a vast ocean. The flames released by the 2 are not at a level. Although the holding fire extinguishment is only level ninjutsu, it is infinitely close to the level of level in the hands of Tokiyu. However, no matter how strong one is, the strength of ninjutsu itself is limited. This is the limit that Shiyu can mention to this extent. If you want to improve, you must change it. Advertisement: no surprises. The sea of fire released by Shiyu not only resisted the angle of open black lens bracket fire hard close black lens bracket, but also pushed it back. At this moment, the 2 types of ninjutsu seem to merge. Although the strength of ninjutsu is reduced because of mutual cancellation, the remaining power is still there. Moreover, the temperature is even more frightening. After all, the fire extinguishment at this time has swallowed fire hard. Seeing this scene, everyone is all. They saw Shiyu's posture before, and they knew that Shiyu was going to block the corner. Du's move. At the moment when Shiyu burst out flames, they were all dumbfounded. Because what they never thought was that Shiyu was not using ice shield, nor was it the same as water dun. It's the same, fire dunge. As we all know, chakras of the 5 attributes grow and restrain each other. Asma is good at Huo Dun, and Feng Dun. Huo Dun stays with them, and Feng Dun overcomes them. Asma's open black lens bracket fire dodge close black lens bracket is general, and the use of open black lens bracket Feng Dian close black lens bracket is only the ultimate use of open black lens bracket nature change close black lens bracket. Because he didn't master a high level, Feng Dun, once he played a low level Wind Dun. As a result, not only can the flame be blown away, but it will also burn more vigorously. Advertisement: that's why he decided to avoid the idea. Not only him, but Kakashi and Yamato have the same ideas.
The two of them knew that they could not protect everyone, and it was undoubtedly the best choice to avoid the edge for a while. At this critical time, it is natural that they cannot be strong. As elites, they will definitely not be stupid enough to take their own weaknesses against the strengths of others. But what they didn't expect was that Shiyu's Huo-dun was so powerful. Just after a short stalemate, it completely annihilated and swallowed the horns. Du's fire hard work. When Kakashi and Shiyu rescued Gaara together, they met the Itachi of elephant-turning body. I have seen Shiyu perform the open black lens bracket fire escape dragonfire art close black lens bracket. But that ninjutsu was far less powerful than before. Therefore, Kakashi didn't know that Shiyu had such a powerful fire done. The most shocking at the moment is not Cassius and Shikamaru and others, because they more or less know Tobi's enchantment. But the flying section and Angle do not know anything about Shiyu, because they knew that Shiyu's strength, Scorpion, is dead. As for the Ghost Shark and Itachi, although they know that Shiyu is extraordinary, the flying section and Angle are not as they reminded. Opportunity. After the two sealed, two tails, and 3 tails, after Delata's reminder, they left impatiently. In this regard, the Ghost Shark and the Ferret are also lazy. Anyway, when you encounter it, you will know it naturally. Chapter 399. According to reason, Shiyu can use open black lens bracket Shui Dun close black lens bracket. For example, the same as the art of the Great Waterfall. This Shui Dian can easily restrain the corner, the fire heart of both. However, Shiyu chose the most difficult open black lens bracket fire done close black lens bracket, with the goal of defeating the opponent's ninjutsu. Zhao. If you are all proud, he will kill people and punish your heart. At this moment, the situation changes instantly. The sea of fire that was originally full of sky, at this moment, is swept upside down to Fei Duan and Zhao Du. Seeing this, the two of them didn't have time to be shocked. Because of this, Fei Duan also hurriedly reminded Zhao Du, use Shui Dun, soon. Although Fei Duan didn't know the secret of the ability, he had a certain understanding of the latter's ability. 5 lives, a ninjutsu mastering 5 attributes. Such a large sea of flames, they definitely can't avoid it. Although they all have immortality, but the flying section does not want to be burned extensively because of this. Although he will not die, it is undoubtedly very painful. As for Zhao Du, if one is unlucky, it may be that the remaining 4 lives will be ruined. However, for Fei Duan's reminder, Zhao, both have a solemn face. In fact, you can use the water escape water curtain tent to resist, but the problematic mask puppet monster with water attribute chakra. Already dead. The one that Kakashi killed earlier. You think I don't want to? Listening corner. Du's answer, Fei Duan was taken aback for a moment. Immediately after advertisement, he seemed to have thought of something. He couldn't help but glanced at the broken mask puppet on the ground. Nima, you are so lucky. Fei Duan was able to guess the horns at once. The meaning of Du's words was not because he was smart, but because of the horns in the previous battle. They have used 4 different escape techniques, but there is no water escape close black lens bracket. To this, as long as you are not a fool, you can guess it in an instant. Immediately, his hands were printed again, and a low voice came from his throat. Tuden Turui City Wall. This trick Shiyu once used when helping Naruto cultivate, and it belongs to the pinnacle of ninjutsu. And Tudun is the horn, the main body, the ability, the previous hardening technique that he blocked the flying attack. It is Tudun Tu Mao, open black lens bracket close black lens bracket ninjutsu. This can let the flesh be like a diamond. It is a highly versatile technique that uses chakras flowing throughout the body to harden the skin and increase the defense power to the limit, while enhancing the destructive power of meat bomb attacks. While defending, it can convert defensive power into offensive power, so that opponents are also hurt. Of course, such a perverted ninjutsu naturally has 2 weaknesses. First, that is, hardening. The inconvenience caused. Second, the fear of the thunder dunk ninjutsu that can restrain it. Boom, boom, boom. No accident, the full sky flames swept through the ground and bombarded the ground wall. Above. After a stalemate, the earth wall turned from yellow to black. Then it began to collapse slowly, and a sea of flames with a trace of prestige moved forward again. Advertisement, but it is also the end of the crossbow. After all, it has continuously broken through 1 open black lens bracket close black lens bracket and 1 open black lens bracket level close black lens bracket ninjutsu. The stone wall. That is 100 meters long. All of them collapsed, but there was only one place, because in that stone wall, there were 2 people standing behind him, and 3 black shadows wearing masks. Undoubtedly, they are the flying section, the angle, both and the mask puppet monster. The stone wall. Here the reason why it has been able to persist until now is undoubtedly the corner. The chakras of the capital all spread from this. Therefore, the chakra at this point is the most concentrated. Therefore, this place is naturally difficult to be washed away, after a few more seconds. The flame of the open black lens bracket extinguished fire close black lens bracket finally stopped raging, and finally stopped. In this regard, Fei Duan and Zhao, both are also greatly relieved. This trick was finally blocked by them. As the angle moved away, chakra instilled this stone wall. Finally it was overwhelmed and collapsed. Boom, immediately afterwards, the voices of the 2 reappeared in the eyes of Shiyu and the others. At this moment, it was the turn of the flying section and the angle to show surprise and solemnity. Kakashi, Asuma, Yamato 3, they can still cope, but the sudden display of strength makes them extremely afraid. If the previous ice shield had only shocked them, then the holding fire extinguishment at this time had already made them feel pressured. They never imagined that a 15 or 16-year-old boy would have such abilities. There is no doubt that Shiyu has become an undead duo. Fearful man. Maybe Shiyu is not the first, but it will definitely be the last, because Fei Duan and Zhao are already on Shiyu's kill list, P Chapter 400. Between Hida and Angle's consternation, Naruto asks Shikamaru and the others. Strange. Just now Mrs. Kakashi's rage has clearly hit the key of that guy. Why didn't he die? Upon hearing this, Kakashi also responded. Mine really penetrated his heart. It stands to reason that he should have died long ago. However, according to the current situation, I killed one of the mask puppets hidden in that guy's body earlier, and the latter died instead of him. After hearing Kakashi's analysis, Shikamaru also agreed. Say the same. Including the body, that guy has a total of 555 hearts. In other words, he has 5 lives. As Shikamaru's words fell, everyone's expressions were startled. No way, this kind of thing is incredible. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would definitely not believe that there are people in the world who can have 555 hearts at the same time. Advertisement. If Shiyu hadn't known the secrets a long time ago, he would obviously be shocked just like them. After hearing what Kakashi and Shikamaru said, everyone also suddenly realized. So to say, if you want to hit him, you must destroy all the remaining 4 hearts. As Asuma's voice fell, and Shikamaru and others responded, the horns on the opposite side said it first. You can see it. These different hearts are all grabbed from me and the ninja who are fighting against each other, and I can add them at any time. Zhao. There is a deep meaning in Du's words. He is now ruined with a heart. The implication is to use time any one of Yubazong's heart was used to supplement, so that he could have 5 lives again. Hey, don't underestimate our undead combination. At this moment, Fei Duan still sneered proudly, and listened to the corner. Du blew himself up. Kakashi, Shikamaru and others finally understood the corner. Du's ability has some secrets. Transplanting someone else's heart into one's own body is tantamount to using the chakra originated in the heart meridian system in a disguised form for personal use. Advertisement. This is the reason why horns are able to master various chakras, nature changes, and each escape skill attainment is not low. Shiyu. That. The guy with the sickle had immortal body, because he was immortal spell. So what kind of spell did this guy with 5 hearts have? In Naruto's view, the nature of the two is not very different. Therefore, he thinks that Kokaku, it may also be a weird spell. Since Shiyu Dao had broken the secret of the flying section earlier, Naruto felt that Shiyu might also know the secret of Kakudo. Do. After all, Shiyu is omnipotent in Naruto's eyes. This is understandable. Who has let Shiyu never let Naruto down? And Naruto's casual question made Dekamaru, Kakashi and others also a little curious about it. However, they didn't place too much hope. Although Shiyu was talented and enchanting, he was also quite intelligent, but this kind of thing was obviously not related to talent and IQ. However, Shiyu's answer was to make them all startled, even the flying section and Angle. That guy didn't have a spell. The reason why he can have 5 hearts is because he has practiced a secret technique. To be precise, it is a forbidden technique, Chapter 401. That guy didn't have a spell. The reason why he can have 5 hearts is because he has practiced a secret technique. To be precise, it is a forbidden technique. After hearing Shiyu's words, everyone's expressions were startled. Naruto, who has always been impatient, was the first to ask, Shiyu, what is that secret technique? Looking at the ninja guard on that guy's head, you can know that he is a ninja from Taki no Kuni Takigakura village. Oh no, I should say that he was once. Now he is just a betrayal. Hearing what Takiwa said, Shikamaru asked, Takiwa, do you mean that his secret technique comes from Takigakura? Good. Shiyu's answer fell, and the flying segments and horns that had originally wanted to attack again, suddenly they did not move. Obviously, they all want to know if Shiyu is bragging, especially Horn. Do. This secret skill to resentment is one of the forbidden techniques that Takian village mastered. If it weren't Takiid village, close black lens bracket high-level people, it is impossible for ordinary people to know. In the eyes of everyone's expectation, Shiyu's voice also rang again. This secret technique is called Earth Grievance, and it is one of the forbidden techniques Takian village masters. Earth Resentment, Advertisement. Kakashi, Asuma and others all stunned at the same time. Obviously, they had never heard of this forbidden technique. As an elite, they have gone through an unknown number of missions. They have also performed missions in this Taki no Kuni boundary, but they have no idea about this forbidden technique. But in fact, they can't be blamed, because this door is forbidden. It has disappeared in Takigakura village for decades, and it can be said that it is a lost secret technique of Takigakura village. The Warring States period. Kakuno. As the spirits of Taki Ninja village, they all accepted the mission of assassinating Naruto sent by the high-level officials. After infiltrating into the territory of Fireland, the rear corners started a battle with the original Hokage pillar and finally lost. Under the wooden escape secret technique between the pillars. In the crisis of death, he had to escape and return to the village. However, what awaited him was the heavy punishment after the mission failed.
He who bet his life for the village was cruelly treated, said Zhao. All escaped from prison with a very strong hatred, and took away the secret technique that the village regarded as a treasure. He used this secret technique to snatch the hearts of all the high-level people in the village. In the first ninja war, Kokaku have witnessed Silver Coke with their own eyes. Killed by the second generation of Naruto, Golden Horn. The process of tail beastization broke out. Advertisement. After a long period of time, Zhao all received the invitation of Tiandao Pain and joined Xiao as one of them, responsible for serving as Xiao Financial Controller. However, all the ninjas who performed the mission with Kakato were all killed by him until he encountered a Hida that couldn't be killed. Undead Duo. This was born. His actual age is now 91 years old. Before his physical function is about to stop, he will grab the heart of others and use it for himself, so he can escape from the chaotic, warring states period. Have lived till today with the ground grievance. The three words came out from Toki's mouth, and Shikamaru, Kakashi and others were all incomprehensible. Only horns. All alone, showing surprise, Wong. He didn't expect Shiyu to know about this, because he killed all the high-level people who knew about it back then. This is why Takigakura village is still unknown and there are no rumors about secret skills of resentment. But today, this secret technique is vomited from Shiyu's mouth. Can you not be surprised that Shiyu, who is the shinobu of Kimura Hidden Village, how can they know the secret technique of Taki Hidden Village? Moreover, this is still a secret that will be buried forever. Chapter 402. Ground grievance. Kakashi, Shikamaru and the others also gave a horror. They had not had time to ask how Shiyu knew this secret technique. The opposite corner. They are the first to speak. Little devil, how did you know this secret technique? The corner between the words. They were incomparably shocked. He would have known that the relevant personnel at this time had been killed clean. How come you still know this secret technique now? If Shiba is a member of the older generation of their Takigakura village, member, that's all, but the latter is neither a ninja of their Takigakura village, but a younger one. Outrageous. The superposition of many factors made him very curious. Listening to the corner. They all expressed the doubts in their hearts and others, and Kakashi, Shikamaru and others are no longer nonsense. Looking at Shiyu earnestly, waiting for the latter's answer. In response, Shiyu said slowly, about 60 years ago. At that time, because Konoha's first-generation Naruto was too good, it can be said that it is the best existence in the entire ninja world. That's why. There is no shortage of ninja village sent people to assassinate secretly, and your Takigakura village is one of them. Kakashi and Asuma had heard of Shiyu's information. Advertisement because the era when they became ninjas, they were really in the fourth ninja war. Therefore, some relevant information is still somewhat understood. Those shinobu villages once sent people to assassinate first generation, second generation, third generation, and so on. In this way, they can better know which ninja villages are potential enemies, and they can be better guarded during missions. But as for the reasons, he couldn't know. Although these things are not secrets, Kakashi and Asuma are a little surprised. Because Shiyu is only 16 years old, he must have a lot of information in this regard. In-depth investigation, but in this stable one, who cares about this kind of thing? However, Kakashi and the others are obviously not interested in this matter. What they care about is what it has to do with the secret art of resentment. At this point, Kakashi asked, Shiyu, does this have anything to do with the secret technique you just called? Naturally there is. Shiyu responded, and then said, because the ninja who assassinated the first generation of Naruto was him. Advertisement. When Shiyu said this, everyone was dumbfounded. No way. This news was so explosive, it was so explosive that it exceeded everyone's expectations. They didn't think of the horns in front of them. They were all men who had assassinated the first generation of Naruto. Although the lifespan of human beings can reach this height, the appearance of Zhao Du does not look like a person who is about to enter 100 years of age. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but think of Tsunade. The latter is now in her early 50s, but she seems to be no different from the young lady in her 20s. Therefore, they doubted the angle, whether they also mastered a similar secret technique. Even the Fei Duan on the side couldn't help but glance at the corner of his eyes. No, he didn't expect the latter to be so old. If it were anyone who was the most shocked at this moment, it was none other than Zhao. It was all in person. He never thought that Shiyu would know about this past event that has been sealed in dust for decades. At this moment, Zhao both looked at Shiyu's eyes with a bit more cold light. Boy, I didn't expect you to even know this. At first, everyone was still skeptical of Shiyu's words, and with the angle, the fall of these words was completely eliminated. Chapter 403. Boy, I didn't expect you to even know this. Regarding Zhao Du was shocked, Shiyu said lightly. If you want to be ignorant, you can't do it yourself. The last time I performed a mission in Taki no Kuni, I had contact with a ninja in Takigakura. During the chat, I heard that Takigakura village had a huge turmoil more than 60 years ago, and the high-level figures in the village were all dead. Moreover, it is said that something was lost, but since everyone who knew secret skills of resentment was dead, I couldn't be sure what exactly was lost. Hearing Shiyu's words, Kakashi and others were slightly surprised. They didn't expect that there was such a secret behind the assassination of first-generation Naruto. Even though it did not happen to them, Konoha, they can take a warning. Dashimaru is the best example. After the shock, Zhao will question it again.
Boy. You said that you can't be sure what you lost, then you are as if the thing you lost was ground grievance. Have you seen this technique? How are you sure that this technique I used is earth grievance? Also, how did you determine that the one who assassinated first-generation Naruto was mine? Regarding Zhao Du's 3 consecutive doubts, Shi Yu was happy to answer them. Anyway, he is going to die later, and letting the latter be a ghost is considered dead. This is Shi Yu's last gift to him. At this moment, it is not the angle that is in doubt. Even Kakashi, Shikamaru and others are very curious. These 60 years of Jiazi Mixin, how did Shi Yu learn about Zhao Du? As a senior of Takigakura village, you must know what the first Takikage, psychic beast of Takigakura, was. Advertisement, psychic beast. Horn. They all muttered, and a big scarlet snake appeared in his mind, and it looked the same as the red snake Shinya Shi Yu saw in the Longdi cave. The only difference is that the latter was not one-eyed at the time. Shi Yu had lived in Longdi cave for 3 days. He asked Shinya how his right eye was blind. Shinya had obvious scars on his right eye. Obviously, he was not born blind. There must be a story in it. I don't know if I ask, but it leads to the first generation of Takikage. As a first generation of Takikage, you cannot know Red Snake Shinya, right? It is precisely because of Kokaku. All were so good. After the first generation Takikage died in battle, he will be secretly awarded the mission of assassinating first generation Naruto. But unfortunately, Zhu Jian is too strong. He is not an opponent at all. He returned to the village after the original mission failed. That's all for the son, but the problem is that he has lost the shelter of the first generation of Takikage, but those high-level leaders have to blame him and give him severe punishment. The so-called heavy punishment here is death. This is like Ning Si's father, Hyuga Nisa. Similarly, it is necessary to make sacrifices for the village. Your own ninja village is not as powerful as others, and with your identity exposed, you always have to give others an explanation. Otherwise, their village must go to war with Konoha. After all, the assassination of Hokage is no small matter. Although the incident of the Hinata clan was wronged, who said that the Onion village was better than the Kinoa hidden village at that time. In addition, Hyuga clan are all in Konoha survive, so their clan must give Yinyan village an explanation. In this regard, sacrifices must be made. Therefore, there is a Hyuga daily difference. Hyuga Nizu, for his brother go to hell, advertisement. And the reason why Yinyan village is so tough is the bloodstain limit of Hinata clan. Originally they captured Hinata, but later they killed Yunren because of the rescue. Therefore, Konoha must give a statement, because Konoha and Yunren, after so many years of fighting, it has reached the point where the high-end combat power is insufficient, and the cannon fodder combat power is low. At that time, Renjuli hadn't grown up yet, so that Yunren, they have the confidence to give Konoha put pressure. If you don't give me an explanation, they put Yahweh Renjuli into the battlefield, so you can't count on Naruto. A group of people shot, and Hinata sent him to take the initiative to die. 1. You can avoid leaking your eyes. 2nd, you can let him rely on the control of the Zong family. 3. You can let Ning Si. There is still a foothold in the clan, therefore, he is undoubtedly a political victim. But Zhao, they are all different. He is a war orphan. No relatives, no family, the only instructor and 2 teammates died in the battle. This is also one of the reasons why he accepted the assassination of Zhu Jian, but he did not expect the village to avoid and Konoha, going to war, decided to sacrifice him alone. The strength of Zhu Jian is known to the entire ninja world, so this task was originally a life of 9 deaths. But for the sake of the village, he was willing to perform this dangerous task. However, in the end he was going to become a political victim. Kokaku. Unwilling to accept such a fate, he has no scruples when he is alone, and this is the turmoil of the latter chapter 404. As a teammate of first generation Takikage, you cannot know Red Snake Shinya, right? When Shi Yu said this, Zhao, his expression suddenly stagnated. What he didn't expect was that Shi Yu not only knew that he was a teammate of the first generation of Takikage, but also knew what the latter's psychic beast was. Although these are not secrets, this information is 60, 70, and 607 years away. Now, there are few people who know this information. If this was said from the older generation of Takigakura, then he would not say much, but now it is spit out from Tokiyu's mouth. Can this not make him shocked, and shocked? Horn. Both also raised the doubts in their hearts. Boy, this doesn't seem to have anything to do with the question I asked you. How could it be okay? Shi Yu responded, and then said, if it weren't for Shinya, how would I know these old things? Have you seen Shinya, Kokaku? It's rare to get excited, because this Shinya used to be a psychic beast from the first generation Takikage. Naturally seen. It is through Shinya that I know these secrets. For example, you were a teammate of first generation Takikage, and Takin village possessed the secret technique of divinity U, etc. Although I have never seen the secret technique of ground resentment, the fact that you have 555 hearts from your name, your Shinobu village, is enough for me to infer your true face. Hearing this, Zhao, all the doubts in my heart are solved. If Shi Yu had really met Shinya, then he might indeed know these things. Advertisement, but the premise of all this is that he has really seen Shinya,
Otherwise, Shi Yu is just a little bit of a bullshit. The angle at this time is completely aroused by Shi Yu's curiosity. There is a kind. If you don't get to the bottom, you can't stop. Look like. How can you prove that you have met Shin Ya? It comes from Longadong. And, right, I'm blind, right? Shi Yu throws out two things casually, and most of the doubt in his eyes disappears in an instant. If anyone knows that the psychic beast of first generation Hokage is Shinya, then the origin of the latter is definitely unknown. Moreover, Shin Ya did indeed lose his sight in his right eye when he died in the battle of first generation Hokage. Only 4 people knew about this. That is, first generation Hokage, his instructor and another teammate, but all 3 of them died in that battle. Therefore, he is the only Ren who knows about this now. If Shi Yu had never seen Shin Ya, then it would be absolutely impossible for him to know about it. This moment, everyone undoubtedly understood the ins and outs of the whole matter, and Shi Yu didn't want to spend any more words. Well, this is the end of the chat, now it's time to send you on the road. Advertisement. Hearing Shi Yu's domineering words, Zhao, both suddenly condensed with Fit's eyes. Because this sentence is usually used by them on others, but now they're heard in other people's mouths. This exchange of roles made them very uncomfortable. At this point, Fei Duan was the first to speak out. Little devil, be careful to flash your tongue when you speak big words. I have decided to make you the first ordinary evil god to be angry. As soon as Fei Duan's voice fell, Zhao Du's voice sounded along with it. Shi Yu, right? I have to admit that your strength is very strong. If you continue to grow, it will definitely be no problem to surpass me. But now you want to destroy us, probably not enough. He. Shi Yu smiled faintly and then said, if it is enough, you will know later. As Shi Yu's words sounded, the battle began once again. Chapter 405. Will you know if it's enough? Hearing Shi Yu's words, Fei Duan, the impatient, took the lead. He didn't have any unnecessary nonsense, and directly waved the bloody march scythe in his hand and slashed it towards Shi Yu and the others. The idea of the flying segment at this time is very simple. He can hit Shi Yu the best with this blow. If it can't, hitting other people is acceptable. Anyway, his current thinking is to curse to death. 1 is 1. See it. Kakashi and others immediately entered a fighting state, but Shi Yu's face did not show the slightest wave. Next second, I saw that the extremely fast, bloody march scythe hadn't reached the range of Shi Yu and the others, but it stopped abruptly in midair. At that moment, everyone thought it was a flying piece, and they hadn't mastered the length of the chain of bloody march sickle. But soon this may be ruled out by them. Although Fei Duan is quick and irritable, he has no problem with his brain. It stands to reason. Advertisement having used his weapon for so long, there is no reason for such a mistake. This is indeed the case. This scene is indeed not a mistake in the flying segment, because they have already seen that the chain attached to the bloody march sickle has not been completely stretched at this moment. That is to say, all of this is due to external forces. 2. When everyone was surprised, Fei Duan also gave a shock. How is this going? It's no wonder that Fei Duan was so astonished, because he has never seen this weapon out of control with the bloody march scythe. At this moment, the first possibility that came to his mind was the evil god messenger. Because this weapon was given by the latter, the purpose is to allow him to better spread the Cthulhu outside. When everyone didn't know why, Shi Yu's voice slowly sounded. It's better than a weapon, right? When the voice fell, Shi Yu's thoughts would follow. Next second, everyone saw that the ground began to tremble slightly, and then grains of gravel continued to converge towards the air. In just a few breaths, a huge hammer appeared in the eyes of everyone. Undoubtedly, this is the magnetic escape clear sky hammer. Upon seeing this, Kakashi, Shikamaru and others finally understood what was going on in the weird scene just now. Advertisement. Shi Yu has open black lens bracket magnetic escape close black lens bracket, so this special chakra has magnetism. In this way, it can affect some iron products. This trick Shi Yu was used in the interrupted Shin Shinobi exam 3 years ago, so everyone present knew about it. This is also why when Shi Yu was showing Ice Shield earlier, Asma and others showed such a shocked look. People who want to have bloodstain limits are either gifted or gifted to a good family. It is a luxury for ordinary ninjas to want to have one kind, but Shi Yu actually has 2 kinds. Can this not shock them? 2 kinds make them so amazed. If you let them know that Shi Yu has almost all the bloodstain limit, I don't know what kind of expression they will show when seeing this scene. Zhao. Both and Fei Duan are shocked. Obviously, they also felt a special chakra flowing on Shi Yu at this time. Fei Duan may not be able to guess it for a while, but the well-informed corner. I know the answer very quickly. This is magnetic escape. Hearing this, Fei Duan was also shocked and said, what another bloodstain limit. At this moment, the two finally understood what was going on in the previous bloody march sickle, weird stagnation. At the same time, their gazes when they looked at Shi Yu changed again, because the two knew that they seemed to underestimate the boy in front of them. Chapter 406. Amidst everyone's astonishment, the clear sky hammer above the sky had already fallen towards the position of the flying section and angle. Upon seeing this, the two were also shocked. However, when he was about to escape, he realized that his body was not obedient again. They weren't scared stupid, but restrained. Although this magnetic escape clear sky hammer is infinitely powerful, if it is a brainless hammer, it can't hit 100%.
Therefore, Shi Yu had secretly used the shadow imitation technique when he performed this trick just now. With Shi Yu's strength, control the flying segments and horns. Both of them are naturally not a problem. I have to say that Shi Yu's two tricks are very clever, especially when the enemy is unprepared. The clear sky hammer is used on the bright surface to attract the enemy's attention, and in the dark, it is secretly used shadow imitation technique. This is the so-called Mingshou Plank Road, Dark Shinkang. However, the problem is that not every ninja can do this kind of thing. To perform one ninjutsu at the same time as another ninjutsu, this difficulty is too high. Don't make two seals yet, you still need one mind and two uses, and if the seals are not fast enough, it is easy to be found. That's why the horns at the moment. Both and Feeden have a look of astonishment, while Shiyu's eyes are full of admiration in Shiyu's and Asuma and others. Advertisement only Kakashi, Naruto, and Yamato 3 who know Shiyu's perverted talents are relatively calm, obviously they are a little used to it. Oh, we got caught again. As Fei Duan's voice fell, the huge, clear sky hammer suddenly fell under the horrified eyes of the two of them. Boom! A loud noise followed and the whole trembled. That moment. The sky is rising from the ground, and it is directly annihilated. The Shikamaru and others who watched this scene were all stunned, and their minds flashed subconsciously. Words. Is it over? The reason they are not sure is because they know that they are both very human. Even if they were hammered in the front, they might not just fall away. At this moment, their eyes were fixed on the place shrouded in smoke and dust, and they wanted to know the answer in the first place. After the smoke and dust in the sky completely dissipated, the huge, clear sky hammer also appeared again. Advertisement. It's just that part of the hammer has been thousands of inches deep into the ground. There is this other weapon on the side of the hammer, and the size of the latter is completely incomparable with the clear sky hammer. This weapon is Feiden's Bloody March sickle. Under the nervous gaze of everyone, Shi Yu dissipated magnetic chakra. Immediately after, the huge clear sky hammer also slowly dispersed, and the blocked deep pit was gradually exposed to everyone's vision. Next second, the two silhouettes were caught in the eyes of everyone, but the result was not satisfactory. Because the flying section and the horns at this time, neither died because of this. Although Shiyu's clear sky hammer was extremely powerful, it was not fatal for being hit by the undead curse. However, that kind of severe pain is inevitable. At this time, the flying section is all embedded in the pit, and there is a heart-piercing pain on his face. Zhao Du's situation is almost the same as that of the flying section, but he is not as embarrassed as the flying section. Because of his body, he possessed the open black lens bracket escape technique close black lens bracket that strengthened the flesh, such as the open black lens bracket escape technique close black lens bracket that strengthened the body, and he forcibly resisted the strike of the open black lens bracket clear sky hammer close black lens bracket. Although the resistance is against it, it is estimated to be enough. Although his escape technique can pit all physical attacks, there is no absoluteness in everything. This is reality, not a game. In the game, because of setting problems, invincibility is invincible. But reality is different, and there is a limit to everything. As long as you break this limit, you will be hurt. F chapter 407. Ahem. Although it won't be, the face segment at this time finally coughed up a bit of blood. He wiped off the remaining blood stains at the corners of his mouth, and Fei Duan's palm made a move, and the bloody March scythe returned to his hands again. At this time, he looked at Shi Yu's eyes with a little more jealousy. It was obvious that the latter's strength exceeded his imagination. This move, clear sky hammer, was undoubtedly a disarming power given to them by Shi Yu. Seeing that Fei Duan wanted to attack again, the corner on the side also reminded out loud. Fly section, be careful. This kid is not as simple as we thought, and his strength is estimated to be no weaker than the human pillar power we captured in the past. At this moment, proud of himself, I have to give Shi Yu a positive evaluation. Besides, watch your feet, don't be caught by his shadow again. I know. The violent expression on Fei Duan's face was even worse when the voice fell. Huh. With a sound of breaking through the air, the figure of Fei Duan suddenly disappeared in place. Upon seeing this, Shi Yu glanced at Kakashi subconsciously. Perceiving Shi Yu's gaze, Kakashi didn't have any extra nonsense and directly greeted him. As if the two had already planned it, there was no need to communicate at all. Advertisement. This is indeed the case. In the previous flight segment in Horn, Shiyu was hammered into the ground. Shiyu had pre-planned with everyone. Otherwise, Kakashi will not be the only one going up to meet the enemy at this moment. Clang. 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 The clash between Bloody March Scythe and Ku Wu came out, and the two seemed to be comparable in physical skills. But the flying segment has an advantage, and that is his weapon. Kakashi, I will help you. Asuma's voice fell, and she rushed out, with Gang ZT and Shenyue Izumo following closely behind. But at this moment Kakashi was actually scratched by the flying section's Bloody March Scythe. All this seems to be nothing wrong, but in fact it is a conspiracy. Asuma's words are a secret sign, and what he did to help is to make the scene more realistic. There are a group of people on their side. Fuden and Kokaku. Although they have high self-esteem, they are not stupid. If they see a hint, Shi Yu's plan will be ruined. Seeing this scene, Shikamaru shouted, not good. M's Kakashi, don't let that guy complete, spell blood array. This moment, everyone's eyes fell on Fei Duan's body, but at this time the latter was laughing madly. Advertisement, ha ha ha. Copy the ninja, let's start with you first. The spell blood array at the feet of the face section in the words has long been outlined, and even the body is black and white. Obviously, Curse Spell Death Division Ping Shui has been successfully launched. After a brief confrontation with Shi Yu and others just now, Fei Duan knew that this time his opponent was no better than the previous one. Naturally, he can't help playing slowly, he wants to hurry up and kill people. Otherwise, once it is controlled by that shadow imitation technique, everything will fall short. If Kakashi can be eliminated first, the situation will definitely be quite favorable to them. It is also because of this. At the moment corner, they also came to Fei Duan's body, guarding him to complete the final, curse killing ceremony. Fly section, move faster, Fei Duan nodded, and immediately took out the spell spear. At the same time, Kakashi, Yamato, Asuma and others have also rushed up, preparing to stop the flying section from performing the ceremony. Everything is very lifelike, without a trace of flaws. T Chapter 408. Although Asuma and Kakashi quickly rushed to the flight segment, it was still too late in time. Shit. Following a faint voice, Feiden's spell spear pierced into his chest without any suspense. If nothing else, Kakashi will be hit like him in the next second. However, an unexpected scene appeared. The stopped Kakashi didn't vomit blood and fall down like Fei Duan imagined, and he still looked intact. But this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that Kakashi didn't even have the slightest worry on his face, but showed a joking gesture. Not only Kakashi, but Shikamaru and others are like this. Just when Fei Duan looked suspicious, the horn guarding him finally couldn't help the sharp pain. Puff. A mouthful of blood was spit out, and then he knelt on the ground. Is that my blood? Good. Shi Yu responded with a loud voice, and then said, we already know your companion's ability, and originally wanted to use this to let him kill you. But what I didn't expect is that you actually have 5 lives. However, there should be only 3 left now. When did you get my blood? Advertisement Kokaku. Du's body spit out the last doubt with difficulty. When I used Rage to penetrate your heart earlier, I took some by the way. Kakashi, who was speaking, was also a little grateful. Originally he thought that this thing was not needed, but after learning about Du's ability, he used it reasonably. In fact, Shikamaru's group of 4-4 had originally made this plan, so after Toki put forward the plan just now, they immediately understood it. So it is. Zhao. Both spit out 4 words, and then the body fell to the ground. Upon seeing this, Fei Duan said furiously, hateful. You dare to calculate me, I want to commemorate you all. If it weren't for Fei Duan Zhizhao, if there are still 3 lives left, it is estimated that a retreat has begun at this moment. First of all, his spell, the secret has been known by Shi Yu and others. Secondly, the opponent has mastered how to deal with the immortal body. The way, once Kokaku, or killed in battle, he is definitely not the opponent of Shi Yu 8. Advertisement. Even if the opponent can't kill him in the first time, it's hard to say after being defeated. First, burn it on fire for a few days and nights, no matter how it turns into ashes. Second, directly use a strong corrosive agent to melt into a pool of liquid. These 2 methods of death are undoubtedly the most painful. The previous ones were in the undead spell, but people who are disobedient will be killed in this way. The betrayers naturally use torture. It is obviously impossible to solve the easy death method of undead curse. After all, they want to use it to emulate you. When the voice of Fei Duan fell, the other 2, mask puppets. He has already launched an attack on everyone. At this moment, they simultaneously performed their respective open black lens bracket escape techniques. Close black lens bracket. Fire escape and hard work, wind escape suppression. The 2 escape techniques seem to be unrelated to each other, but fire escape is even more powerful under the blessing of wind escape. Powerful, wind, able to blow away the flame, but proper, wind. But it can promote the flame. This is composite ninjutsu, which is the same as Tokiha and Toad Bunta. It's the same as the Toad Oil Flare, Kokaku. This trick is called Open Black Lens Bracket Composite Ninja Flame Wind Turbulent Wave Close Black Lens Bracket. When this trick comes out, a large sea of fire suddenly appears, and the range is better than Shi Yu's previous Open Black Lens Bracket Holding Fire Extinguish Close Black Lens Bracket. Obviously, this move is infinitely close to level. In other words, this technique has reached the threshold of level, Kokaku. All that can be done is to combine these 2 attributes of ninjutsu with each other, but it is the 2 attributes of chakras, nature change, cannot be blended together. If he can do this, he will be able to master the bloodstain boundary, horn. No, but Shi Yu can. Fei Lu reminds you. 3 things to read Chapter 409. Following the angle. After all displayed, Compound Ninja Flame Wind Turbulent Wave, a large sea of flames swept away. The scope is so large that it can't be avoided at all, that's why. Kakashi and Yamato looked at each other and seemed to have performed ninjutsu in a tacit understanding. Shui Dun Waterfront Wall, 2 Dun 2 Ryu City Wall. Immediately after that, an extremely spacious water wall appeared in front of Shi Yu and others, and the 2 sides of the water wall were surrounded by earth walls that were raised from the ground. The next moment, the same 666 words were spit out from the mouths of Kakashi and Yamato. Composite Ninja Mud Wall. This is obviously not the first time for the 2 of them to use this compound ninjutsu. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to be so proficient in tacit. Compound ninjutsu, although it is not difficult, it requires proper cooperation. As long as either side's ninjutsu control is not good, they will fight each other, fire and wind. So, earth and water, the same is true. Wind, advertisement big, easy to, flame, blow away, water. If there are too many, then it is not mud, but muddy swamp. Anything can only be perfectly presented if it happens to be right. Both Kakashi and Yamato knew very well that no one of their own escape skills was able to play the corner. All, scorching wind turbulent wave. The shui dun, that is not strong enough can't stop this, flame wind turbulent wave, and the earth dun, that is not strong enough can't stop it either. But if the two are combined, it's another matter. Therefore, they cooperated to use the mud wall technique. Corner. The reason why all of the scorching wind turbulent waves became so strong is also because of mutual cooperation. Because he is controlled by one person, he can cooperate more perfectly. Bear. There's no suspense. The roaring sea of fire is directly on the mud wall. Above. Boom. Z. In addition to the violent impact, there is also the subsequent sound of water and fire. There are both the sound of flames being extinguished and the sound of moisture being evaporated. Ring. The plumes of smoke continue to evaporate with different colors. Among them are the mist where water is evaporated, and there are also various smoke formed by burning wood residues, waste plastics, metal particles and other substances. However, this mud wall can only block the flames, and cannot make this sea of flames wiped out. Although it would be fine to wait for a while, Shiyu obviously didn't want to wait any longer. Regarding this, Shiyu said to Naruto. Advertisement, Naruto, do you remember another trick I called you? Naruto nodded, then said, what do I need to do? Play that trick, then throw it into the flames. Although Naruto didn't know what Shiyu wanted to do, he still did. When Shiyu taught Naruto to practice the Fengdun Spiral Shuriken, he first taught him a trick to fear, Fengdun Spiral Pill. This trick is different from the ordinary spiral pill, and it can be thrown, because the Wind Escape Spiral Shuriken has such characteristics. Shiyu asked Naruto to use this trick to practice his hands first. At the same time, it can also allow Naruto in a normal state to master a long-range attack method, because Naruto is not good at Jia-Yin, all kinds of escape skills are too difficult for him. This is also the reason why he has practiced with someone for 2 years, but he hasn't even learned a kind of escape technique. It's not that Jilai didn't teach it, but he didn't have this kind of talent. That's why he focused on studying Spiral Pill. If not, he wouldn't be able to master the 2 derivative ninjutsu, Deu Helix Pill, and Super Big Jade Helix Pill, within 2 years. Although the essence of these 2 types of ninjutsu and Helix Maru are the same, the control of chakra is not at the same level. The moment Naruto threw the Wind Dun Helix Maru into the Sea of Fire, Toki also performed a kind of ninjutsu. Water Escape 5, rushing, then, a hurricane water vortex, suddenly appeared in the Sea of Fire. Undoubtedly, it was a type of ninjutsu used by Shiyu in cooperation with Naruto. This trick is called Hurricane Water Vortex Technique. Sometimes Yu is a pervert, even if he and Naruto have not practiced in advance, he can perfectly display it. Chapter 410. With the Hurricane Water Vortex, the appearance of the raging Sea of Fire was wiped out in an instant. Seeing that his attack was broken, the horns, the solemnity in all eyes became more intense. But he didn't seem to want to give Shiyu and others a chance to breathe, only saw him led 2 masked puppets. Back to himself. Next second, a powerful attack struck again, which was also a kind of open black lens bracket composite ninjutsu close black lens bracket. Although it is still a combination of Huo Dun and Feng Dun, the effect is completely different. It used to be a large-scale sea of fire, and now it is indeed a pillar of flame. The outer periphery of the flame beam is wrapped in a spiral whirlwind, which is undoubtedly caused by the change of wind attribute. It can be seen that this composite ninjutsu is based on Feng Dun and Fire Dun as a supplement. When passing through the air, there were waves of slight sonic booms. This is Kokaku, the second composite ninja technique that everyone has mastered, Stormblast. From this, it can be seen that he himself has a deep knowledge of this type of chakra. But it is a pity that he has never been able to completely blend the 2 attributes. If he can do it, he will be able to master the ninja's dream of Bloodstained Boundary. Although the current corner, although he can't do it, he is getting closer and closer to this day. Now he has completely grasped the wind advertisement. With fire, 2 kinds of chakras changes in nature. He believes that within a few years, he will definitely blend the 2 attributes of chakras, nature change, perfectly. By then, mastering the bloodstain limit will not be a dream. Others rely on talent, rely on luck, but he depends on hard work. Not enough talent, time to make up. A ninja with good talent, just give him enough time to master 1 bloodstain limit, it is possible. But the problem is that human life is limited. Moreover, even if you have mastered the possibility of being killed by people inevitably in longevity. Oshamaru is a living example. Today, I am afraid that I will add 2 more. See the corner. Kakashi, Asuma and others are once again launched to prepare to meet. But at this moment, Shiyu was 1 step ahead of them and directly greeted them. At this moment, Shiyu is holding fire in his right hand, wind in the left palm, and then suddenly folded his hands under everyone's stunned eyes. Boom. With a clear sound, the chakraton time of the 2 attributes merged together. Immediately afterwards, a low drink was also spit out from Shiyu's mouth. Scouring escape fire dance whirlwind, defend. As the last word spit out from Shiyu's mouth, countless crimson flames instantly wrapped Shiyu's whole body. The flames continuously revolved around Shiyu, forming a big ball. And from the moment the big ball formed, the angle, the flame beam with the rotating wind blade had arrived. Advertisement boom. A muffled sound suddenly sounded, and the two flames collided together. Suddenly, countless flames burst out. What surprised everyone was that the flame beam of flame with wind blades could not break through the crimson flame cage. Just a few breaths of time was spent. But this is not what surprised them the most. What they were surprised was the result of the sputtering flame falling on the surrounding flowers and trees. But all the flowers and trees that touched the flames suddenly withered, as if the water in the body was instantly evaporated by half. If it's just flowers and plants, but even the surrounding giant trees are like this, it's a bit scary. It was just a small flame, and it instantly lost its vitality. If the flame falls on the human body, what will be the consequences? It makes people feel scared to think about it. At this moment, Kakashi, Shikamaru and others looked towards the corner. Sue's eyes were full of deep fear. Even the flying section standing behind them is the same, because they all think that the sputtering flame is a horn. All of the flame wind turbulent waves are scattered. But they're nothing more than that, even the angle. All have illusions themselves. When does this trick of mine have this effect? Did I accidentally turn the wind just now? And fire. The change of nature is merged, chapter 411. Have I successfully transferred the wind with fire? The two kinds of chakras, changes in nature, or fuse. This is the corner. The most reasonable explanation that can be thought of at this moment, because the chakra abilities of the fire attribute and the wind attribute are unlikely to cause this effect. The only possibility is bloodstain limits. Each of the ninjutsu type bloodstain limits has an ability independent of the 5 basic attributes, also called derivative abilities. For example, Mu Dun, Magnetic Escape, Ice Shield, and so on, they all have their own attribute abilities. Mu Dun has strong vitality, Magnetic Escape has magnetism, and Ice Shield has extreme cold gas. At this moment, everyone's thoughts are the same. They all think that the phenomenon in front of them is caused by the ninjutsu of Kaku. 2. But there is only one exception. That was Shiyu. As the person involved, he naturally knew nothing better. However, this cannot be blamed on Kakashi and the others. Because they only noticed the horns just now. Du's flame beam was blocked by Shiyu's defensive flames and dissipated, and the flames around Shiyu were still spinning intact at this moment. After all, the two people's ninjutsu are flames, so it is understandable that they did not notice this detail for the first time. But in fact, the reason that caused the vegetation to wither was that Shiyu just defended the corner. When two attacked, a small part of the flames sputtered around. Advertisement. After some misunderstanding, Asma was the first to speak. This ability, I seem to have seen it there, Sandian village. Kakashi directly spit out 3 words, obviously knowing some. Among the people present, except for the horns, all this old immortal, it belongs to Kakashi and Asma is the oldest. Therefore, their knowledge and reading are better than others. Hearing Kakashi's reminder, after Asma thought for a while, a person's name was spit out from his mouth. I remember, it's from Cheyenne village, Yi Kang. Yi Kang, Shikamaru murmured, and then asked, Teacher Asma, can that call Yi Kang also have this ability? Advertisement. Asma nodded, and then said, the latter has a kind of ninjutsu that can instantly evaporate water from any object, naturally including people. Yekang, the elite ninja of Sandan village, although she is a beautiful ninja, she is a poor man. She and Hyuga daily difference, the same, have become political victims. At the time of the 4th Ninja War, the front seam, Cheyenne village, and Yanyan village, are in a tense situation due to conflicts of interest. However, 4th generation Fungying Luosha takes into account the fact that the strength of the village is faintly inferior to Yanyan village. Therefore, he doesn't want to go to war. Not only him, but many high-level people in Cheyenne village hold this opinion. The overall strength of the 2 ninja villages is not to be mentioned. The tailed beast of Yanyan village alone is one more than their Sandian village. They, Cheyenne village, only have 1-tailed Shuhei and 1-tailed beast, while Yanyan village has 4-tailed Monkey King and 5-tailed Mawang. If you really want to fight, this aspect is undoubtedly their disadvantage. It is also for this reason that 4 generations of Fungying will be slandered by Oshimaru and will cooperate with Konoha. After all, the original distribution of tailed beast was 1st generation Naruto, T chapter 412. Senjuzuma left Konoha with a tail beast, but it is the strongest 9-tailed. Can be the same as the 5 ninja villages. One of the Cheyenne village only got a tail beast. And it's still 1 tail, although it says tail. The number does not represent strength, only the amount of chakra. However, the other 3 ninja villages are all assigned 2, but they, Cheyenne village, have 1. Naturally, they felt a little dissatisfied with this. This is why after Senjuzuma died, Sagamura also expressed sadness to Konoha. This can be heard from the first time Toad Fumata met Ichio Morizuru's dialogue that they had done a fight before. However, it is a pity that 4 generations of Wind Shadow does not understand the character of Oshimaru. Cooperating with him is tantamount to seeking skin with a tiger. For this reason, 4 generations of Fengying paid the price of his life in a private meeting with Oshimaru. 4 generations of Wind Shadow is indeed very strong, and the owner of Bloodstain Limit. When Osamu and Junmaro teamed up to kill the latter at that time, it took a lot of trouble. Obviously, Oshimaru did this because he was afraid that 4 generations of Fengying would disagree with his plan. Therefore, he directly came to the bottom of the pot to draw his salary, kill him and replace it. In this way, the ninja of Sagan village will definitely obey his orders. Advertisement. As for the reason why Yi Kang was abandoned by the 4 generations of Fengying, there are naturally reasons for this. Yi Kang is a party of Cheyenne village master fighting faction, plus she is the owner of Bloodstain Limit. Therefore, Yi Kang naturally became the target. Yanyan village wanted to kill. Every Bloodstain boundary possesses the indispensable power of a village, and can even be regarded as a mainstay. Therefore, the condition for Yanyan village not to fight is Yi Kang, so 4th generation Fengying planned a conspiracy with other high-level officials in Cheyenne village. On the bright side, Yi Kang was asked to go to Hidden Mist village to perform a secret mission, but in the dark, it was Sana ninja from the village who was disguised as a Hidden Mist ninja. Assassinated her. Exist faced with the choice of the village may be defeated or sacrificed. Yi Kang, 4 generations of Fengying Luosha, chose the latter. After some consternation, Fei Duan asked curiously. I said the corner. I didn't expect you to hide such a hand. Flying Duan and Horn. Both have teamed up for a long time, but he has never seen the latter cast Bloodstain Limit. In his opinion, it may be that those opponents are not worth his use. However, Zhao Du's answer is to make Fei Duan a little depressed. To be honest, I am surprised myself. I just used compound ninjutsu, but I didn't expect it to trigger such an effect. Advertisement. If there is no accident, it should be that I accidentally blended the 2 attributes of the wind and fire perfectly. However, with this experience, as long as I spend some time studying it carefully, I should be able to fully grasp this Bloodstain Limit. The corner between the words. All faces are full of confidence and excitement, and he can't wait to start trying now. But it's a pity that he must now deal with the enemy in front of him, otherwise, he won't have that time at all. Moreover, Shiyu 8 had already been sentenced to death in his eyes because they knew his secret. Especially Shiyu, let him kill the most. He has a hunch. If he can't kill Shiyu today, the whole Shao organization will probably be destroyed because of the existence of the former in the future. After hearing the words, Kakashi, Shikamaru and others are also relieved. No way, the ability of this, Zhao Dun, is too terrifying. If they perform this trick continuously, their lives will always be threatened. Once they are caught in that kind of flame, even if they are lucky enough to survive, most of their vitality will be swallowed. Just when everyone thought that the failure of the flowers, plants, and trees was due to the horns, Du's inadvertently displaying the shining Dun, Shiyu's voice finally rang. Zhao Du, if you want to master Zhao Dun, it's your next LI chapter 413. Zhao Du, if you want to master Zhao Dun, it's your next life. When Shiyu said this, everyone's expressions were startled. Shiyu's words couldn't be more obvious, meaning that the corners are in disaster today. But obviously everyone didn't realize the second meaning of Shiyu's words. That is, this Shu Dun is not the result of the horn. It was accidentally merged. After reading the meaning of Shiyu's words, Zhao Du's also responded. Little devil, I admit that your talent is indeed very enchanting. However, there have been a lot of evildoers in my hands over the past few decades. Today, I will add you one more, in the corner, in the eyes of all. Shiyu's talent was abnormal enough, but his strength didn't seem to reach the level they couldn't obliterate. Hearing this, Shiyu smiled slightly. It seems you haven't fully understood what I mean. First, you are indeed going to die today. Second, do you really think that the reason why the flowers and trees withered just now was because of your ninjutsu? Advertisement. But when Shiyu's words fell, everyone's expressions suddenly stagnated. Smart people like Shikamaru and Kakashi suddenly thought of something, and their faces were shocked because of this. Boy, what do you mean by that? What do you mean? You'll know later. When the voice fell, Shiyu also had no extra nonsense. With his thoughts and movements, the crimson flames that swirled around him suddenly condensed into dozens of fist-sized fireballs at this moment. Shikuden Fire Dance Tornado is a defensive melee ninjutsu, which is a bit similar to water prison art. It's just that it is offensive. It hurts when touched, and even death, because the rotating flame can burst with the caster as the center, causing great damage. The last time Shiyu used this ninjutsu in Longadong, Yaki Orochi. At this time, Shiyu condensed the dozens of flame lights. The ball is obviously not a fire dance tornado, but another kind of ninjutsu. He once used this ninjutsu once, and that is, Shiro escaped steam kill, that was Kazu Naruto, and Sasuke went to the country of Tea to perform the independent mission of the 3-person 3-team. At that time, he killed Green Kwai, used. Immediately after, the dozen or so flame fist-sized fireballs quickly flew towards Fei Duan and the two under Shiyu's control. Advertisement Shu. Seeing this scene, Yamato, Asma and others also guessed something. Deep-minded horns. They all showed solemn expressions. If Shiyu hadn't lied, then the attack in front of him was likely to be fatal. Regarding this, Kokaku, Naturally, he was unwilling to be careless, because he didn't get any advantage from Shiyu in the previous attacks. He naturally didn't dare to underestimate the latter's attack. Previously Shiyu's shadow imitation technique, combined with the clear sky hammer, even the move almost killed their lives. Fortunately, both he and Fei Duan have their own life-saving abilities. As soon as I thought of this, it was once again displayed the Dun Lu city wall. Bang. 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 When a ball of fire falls on the soil wall, it will make a squeaky sound. Moreover, every time it will rise with a wisp of mist. This may be the cause of the flame, or it may be caused by the unique ability of Shining Dun. But what is it? Everyone at this moment has an answer in their hearts. Rumble. I saw that the soil wall hit by the fireball instantly dried and cracked, and the soil on it began to fall off quickly. There is no doubt that this is caused by the water being evaporated at this moment. An answer has appeared in everyone's minds, and this indisputable fact is undoubtedly the best proof. That is the real reason that caused those flowers and trees to wither before. At this moment, they finally understood the second meaning of Shiyu's previous sentence. It turned out that it wasn't the horns. They all unintentionally displayed the Shining Dun, but it was the bloodstain boundary that surrounded Shiyu. One person has 3 types of bloodstain limits. This is undoubtedly a miracle for them to talk to. To read the ununderlined version of the novel, please chapter 414. One person has 3 types of bloodstain limits, but this is only the horns. Toa Shikamaru and others thought, because there are 4 in Kakashi and Yamato's cognition. In addition to Magnetic Escape, Ice Shield, and Shining Dun, Shiyu also possesses the pupillary bloodstain boundary, Shaolunyan. As for knowing that he has mastered all the ninjutsu-type bloodstain limits, Naruto is the only one, but he is now in the mist. Because he thought at the moment, the previous scene was caused by the horns, all inadvertently merged into Shining Dun. Seeing that a dozen fires were all blocked by the Tuliu city wall that I had displayed, they were all relieved. He knew that once he was contaminated by any fireball. In the slightest, it is the price of 1 life. In the serious case, all 3 lives are explained. See it. Shiyu was not too surprised. It seemed that this scene was in his expectation. Next second, there were countless fireballs around him, and the number was more than 10 times more than before. 10 fireballs can be blocked. What about 100? At this moment, are all in astonishment as Fei Duan. Shiyu has continuously used a variety of powerful ninjutsu. Why is there still such a cohesive fireball at this moment? Advertisement. What a huge chakra is needed to support it, not only them, but also Shikamaru and Asma. The only thing that is not very surprised is that Kakashi, Naruto and Yamato are 3. When teaching Naruto to practice, they knew that Shiyu's chakra was unfathomable, and even Kakashi could not predict it. Figure out an accurate amount. And that is indeed the case. Shiyu possesses 3 kinds of chakras, and his own chakras are 1,000,000 times. There are also chakras from 1 tail to 5 beasts from 5 tails, and the usual condensed Shanshu chakra. That amazing amount is naturally beyond the range that Kakashi can calculate. It is no wonder that Horn will be so surprised, because his chakra amount is already over half, but Shiyu seems to have not consumed any chakra. Such an amazing chakra is definitely the only one in his life. You know, his own chakra is quite sufficient. Plus he has 5 stars. Because of the heart, he has 4 times more chakras than others. But even so, there is still no comparison with Shiyu. The disparity between the two is just like Fanxing and Haoyue, or even Fanxing is not even counted as Firefly. At this moment, Du and Feiden's gaze when looking at Shiyu once again change. Advertisement from the initial astonishment to the later fear, it has now become a kind of timidity. 3 kinds of bloodstain limits, a huge chakra. They had never seen the seal of Shiyu, as if the latter didn't use the seal at all. This is what they see now, but they still don't know if the 15-year-old boy in front of them has any means that he hasn't used, whether there will be more powerful ones, such as the 4th type, bloodstain boundary. Their secret Shiyu is well known, but they knew nothing about Shiyu's limits. This is their undead duo. It was the first time they encountered such a situation, but they absolutely never expected that this would be the last time. No way. The moment Shiyu appeared, they had already been sentenced to death. Looking at the hundreds of flame lights floating around Shiyu's body, Fei Duan and Horn, there was an ominous premonition in their hearts. When this thought arose in their hearts, the hundreds of fireballs suddenly flew out under Shiyu's control. Shoo, shoo, shoo. The fireball passed by, leaving a trace visible to the naked eye. Undoubtedly, it is caused by the evaporation of moisture in the air, F chapter 415. Boom, boom, boom. When a fireball with 1 by 1 falls on the wall of the earth flow, even if it is a stone wall made of mud, it can withstand an offensive of this scale. Just familiar. All the water in the huge stone wall was evaporated and then it cracked. Boom, boom. The falling soil is as stiff as a rock, and the sound of hitting the ground is like Hong Zhong, accompanied by a cloud of smoke. And as the Tuliu city wall was broken, Fei Duan and Zhao, both were thoroughly exposed to everyone's eyes. If they could still use their physical skills to dodge the dozen or so fireballs before, but now they face hundreds of fireballs, they don't have this chance at all. Flying section, be careful yourself. The voice fell, and the horns. They all used the black chakra tentacles to start blocking the flying fireballs. No way. Even Dun can't stop it, let alone shui dun. Therefore, they can only use the most stupid method. Seeing this, the flying section also uses the bloody march sickle in their hands to shoot the fireballs that have been shot and fly away. Although he has immortality advertisement but wants this fireball. If you touch it, it will become a corpse. Although it won't die, it looks very ugly. Moreover, it is estimated to be suffering from a wave of pain. Obviously, this is not the result he wants. Looking at the corner, the scene that is extremely difficult to resist both in the flying section, Asima, Shikamaru and others were also full of astonishment. They knew that Shi Yu had a talent for evildoers, but they didn't expect the latter's strength to reach such a level. Mastered the 3 types of bloodstain limits, the so-called undead duo. In such a dilemma, to be honest, this point they absolutely impossible. Even after knowing the 2 of them, the result will not change. After all, the strength of the 2 sides is there. It can be seen that Shi Yu's strength has already surpassed everyone in the room. Especially Gang Zitai and Shenyue Izumo, the 2 of them have been in contact with Shi Yu in the past 3 years. They did not expect that they had only become ninjas for only 3 years. Shi Yu not only surpassed them, but also surpassed elite powerhouses like Asuma and Kakashi. It's not that the geniuses have never seen it before, but it is undoubtedly the first time they have seen someone like Shi Yu. Advertisement. If you insist on using one word to describe it, it is perversion. Boom. When the flying segment uses the bloody march sickle to shoot the last-minute fireball, it is inserted on the ground with one hand. Sweating profusely, he exhaled heavily. Not only him, but even the unusually calm character of the day, it is no exception. However, when they were breathing out, Toki's next wave of attacks came again. Not bad, however, I see how many waves you can block. As Shi Yu's words fell, everyone's eyes were full of shock. Because at this moment, there were countless fireballs around Shi Yu's body, but what was different from before was the number of fireballs at this time. The first wave is a dozen. The second wave is hundreds, but now this third wave, it is estimated that there are thousands of them. This scene is undoubtedly stunned everyone. Such a huge number of fireballs, the chakra that needs to be consumed has exceeded their prediction. They knew that Shi Yu's chakra was far beyond ordinary people, but they didn't expect it to exceed so much. If it was timid before, then it was a panic at this moment. Thousands of fireballs. How can I block what I can block? Chapter 416. Just between Fei Duan and Zhao. At a loss, the thousands of fireballs floating behind Shi Yu have already shot out. Shoo, shoo, shoo. With the sound of breaking through the air, the entire battlefield boiled again. Originally, Kakashi, Shikamaru and others could still see Hida and horns. The scene of resisting the fireball, but at this moment it is no longer possible. Bang, 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 in their field of vision, except for the sky of fire. It wasn't the fallen trees, or the mist and smoke that rose up, and the 2 of them were invisible at all. If it weren't for the 2 chakra fluctuations, Asuma and others would have already flew segments and horns. They were all dead. Boom, 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 boom. The fireball is still there. The collision continues, and occasionally 2 figures can be seen dodging embarrassingly in the sea of fog. After a while, thousands of fireballs were all shot out, and Shi Yu no longer condensed. He knew that this method could kill this undead duo. Don't waste time too much. At this moment, the eyes of Kakashi, Shikamaru and others are firmly locked in the sea of fog that is slowly dissipating. At this moment, the atmosphere is extremely tense, because since just now, there has been no movement inside. Advertisement. Therefore, they also don't know Hida and Kokaku. They are both alive or dead, and Naruto also subconsciously asked. Kakashi, are those 2 dead? I don't know. Kakashi replied, and then said, Shiyu's Xiao Dun, but the 2 guys are not small. I didn't dare to jump to a conclusion before seeing the corpse with my own eyes. His heart naturally hoped that the 2 of them would belch, so that their task would be completed. But before final confirmation, he will not relax at all. This is the mind that a ninja should have, not to mention that he is still an experienced elite. Among the people present, except for Naruto, the second stunner, Asuma and others also have the same idea as Kakashi. It is also because of this. Everyone's eyes never left the sea of smoke and dust from beginning to end, and they wanted to know the answer in the first time. After everyone waited for a while, the fog and smoke in that world finally disappeared completely. At this moment, everything inside was exposed to the air. Advertisement. At this time, there was a mess, the flowers and trees were withered, the surface of the earth was black and cracked, and there was no moisture. A look of decay, without a trace of anger. Undoubtedly, all of this is due to the ability of Shining Dun. What surprised Kakashi and others was that they didn't see the flying section in the horn. In this dilapidated place. Just as they were puzzled, an abrupt voice sounded. Boom. The source of the sound is a pile of withered and broken wood. At this time, the sound is still continuous. After a few dry scorched woods were pushed away, a figure was caught in the eyes of everyone. This person is no one else, but the undead duo, one of the horns. Both, however, the latter at this time is extremely embarrassed, and his clothes are tattered. If it weren't for Shi Yu and others who knew the latter, they would have thought it was a beggar. But this is not the point is the mask attached to his body. Broken again. Zhao. Although they have survived, the price is a life. As for how the face segment is, it is still unclear. Filu reminds you. Reading 3 things. Please keep this segment, otherwise it will be banned from collecting IP to chapter 417. When everyone was searching for the trace of Fei Duan, a figure appeared in another pile of dead wood. This figure looked at it from an angle, and his clothes were ragged. But what is even worse for the latter is that his body is no longer as flesh and blood as a normal person, but a shriveled skin and bones. Simply put, it is a corpse. If it weren't for the ninja guardian forehead of Tangian village hanging around his neck, and the bloody march sickle in his hand, everyone would not be able to recognize him. Identity of this active corpse is not someone else, it is the flying section. Seeing this scene, Naruto couldn't help exclaiming, F*K. This is not true. Although Kakashi, Shikamaru and others did not make a sound, the expressions on their faces were the same as Naruto said. A dry corpse could still be alive. If Shiyu had told them that the flying stage was an undead curse, they would have been shocked. Those who have been undead curse, as long as the body is immortal, the soul, imprisoned in it, it will never disperse. This can be said to be a different kind of immortality, but then again, Fei Duan was able to survive this open black lens bracket shining escape steam kill close black lens bracket thanks to this spell. After Fiden scanned the condition of his body at the moment, a pair of eyes stared at the opposite Shiyu. The sharp killing intent in that eye seems to have been condensed. Now that he looks like a human being and a ghost, how will he go to promote their Cthulhu to the world in the future? Advertisement. Do you tell the world to join the cult? Will he become like this? This undoubtedly shattered his beliefs, and all this is bestowed by Shiyu. How can he not hate? How can he not be angry? Little devil, you must die today. The hope of life is shattered, and the anger in Fei Duan's heart has reached its peak. Even though he now knows that Shiyu is very strong, he has not retreated in the slightest. His thoughts at the moment are, either he is dead, or Shiyu is dead. The voice falls, and the flying section is dragging his skinny body towards Shiyu rushed away suddenly. Although he is just a corpse now, his speed hasn't dropped much, and he is still walking like flying. Upon seeing this, Shiyu was spitting out an extremely domineering word at this moment. Fei Duan, you really think I can't kill you, that I have to wait for you to catch me? From the point of view of Fei Duan, it is possible for someone who hasn't mastered the undead curse to kill him before turning his hands. The only way to stop it is to capture him and then destroy his body, especially the head, because this immortality spell is a person's soul imprisoned in the brain. As long as the head is not destroyed, it will not die. Swish, swish, the flying segment between the words approached Shiyu in a few jumps. Next second, advertisement, I saw him leaping into the air, and the bloody march scythe in his hand suddenly swung out. He can use the peculiarities of the weapon to attack at medium and long distances, and there is no need to get close. After all, Shiyu and Hidan's shadow imitation technique made him very jealous, and it was easy to get caught once he got close. After suffering several losses, he has learned to be smart. Not only that, there are 7 companions besides Shiyu. Especially Kakashi, Asuma and Yamato 3, they are all elites who cannot be underestimated. Shiyu didn't care about Fei's attack. Kill you, why do you need to capture it? Shiyu's eyes narrowed between the words, and it was obvious that he had already thought in his heart. Although he previously said that in order to kill Fei Duan, in addition to mastering undead curse, it is cremation and corrosion, 2 ways. But these 2 methods are obviously more time-consuming. Moreover, the premise is undoubtedly to catch the flying section. Shiyu told Kakashi that although these 2 methods have this premise, everyone can do it. As for what he couldn't do, he naturally didn't tell. For example, he is going to display Bloodstain Illuminati chapter 418. Kill you, why do you need to capture it? Everyone who heard Shiyu's words was taken aback. Because Shiyu Mingming told Fei Duan, the immortal body's secret, without mastering the undead curse, only by capturing him alive can he be killed. However, Shikamaru and the others are also stupid. And since Shiyu said this, he definitely mastered other methods. A method that ordinary people can learn, and it is true, Shiyu does have a method to directly kill the flying section. This method is bloodstain elimination. Kakashi, Shikamaru and others must believe in Shiba, but Hidana and Horn both don't believe it very much. Especially the flying section is the person involved. No one knows undead spell better than him, and among the methods he knows is only to untie the spell, or use cruel methods to destroy the body of the practitioner. Of course, sealing is also a good method, however, this method cannot kill him, therefore, Shiyu can only use the second method. And if you want to use destroy the body, this kind of method is very difficult to achieve if it is not captured. This is also one of the reasons why the flying segment has been able to live until now. Advertisement otherwise, with his character of propagating evil spirits to people at every turn, and holding rituals when he is unhappy, he still doesn't know how many times he will die. After all, his own strength is only at the level of the lead shinobi. Because of the body that has been hit by the immortal spell, the degree has been significantly improved. At the beginning, his head would be decapitated by asthma. It was because of the change in the nature of the wind. Just when everyone was wondering what Shiyu could do, they saw Shiyu's hands clasped on his chest. When he was slightly separated, the round light ball appeared in his eyes. Although I don't know what the white light is, it is undoubtedly Shiyu's ultimate move. At the same time, Fei Duan that waved out, blood 3 U,
it is already Shi Yu's face when he arrives, and the situation is not optimistic. If Shi Yu doesn't dodge, his head will definitely bloom. Kakashi, Yamato and others believed in Shi Yu's strength, but at this moment their hearts couldn't help but hang. At this time Kakashi had made complete preparations. If Shi Yu was too late to release his ultimate move, then he would use Shenwei. At this moment when the emotions were mobilized to high levels, a low drink also came from Shi Yu's mouth. Dust Escape Original Realm Stripping Technique. Advertisement. This kind of wind, fire, earth. The ninjutsu fusion of the 3 chakra attributes is called Dust Escape. Dust Escape Original Realm Stripping Technique. A deformable translucent enchantment is formed in the hand and launched to the opponent, which can separate the opponent into an atomic state and disappear in smoke, which can produce a large-scale explosion. Moreover, the caster can change the shape of the enchantment according to his own preferences. The ninjutsu formed by the fusion of 2 chakra attributes is called Blood Succession Boundary, and the 3 are called Blood Succession Elimination. As for the 4, 5 and 6, they have never appeared, but they must exist. Because all the 7 chakra attributes can be fused. Blood following the snack. A spell formed by the fusion of the 7 chakra nature changes of fire, wind, earth, water, thunder, yin, and yang. So far, the people who know this level by their own strength are 6 ways immortal Atsuki Yukin, and his younger brother, Atsuki Yuya. As for Dadong Muhuye, she was born with the blood following the snare physique. As Shi Yu's voice fell, the round white light in her hands suddenly burst into a dazzling white light. At the moment the pale white light beam shot out, a scene that was shocking to heaven and humans appeared. I saw that the bloody March scythe that was about to fall on Shi Yu's forehead, when it touched the circular white beam of light, it melted at a speed that would destroy the ancients. Chapter 419. As the bloody March scythe melted, the pale white beam of light did not dissipate. The power is still there, and the speed seems to be a little faster. Under the stunned eyes of everyone, the flying segment in the air was already enveloped. There are no accidents. Under the horrified eyes of everyone, Feiduan's body was rapidly turning into atoms invisible to the naked eye just like his previous weapon. At this moment, everyone was full of consternation. Undoubtedly, no one thought that Shi Yu would have mastered such a powerful ninjutsu. The moment he saw his body disappear into ashes, the eyes of Feiduan were filled with incredible colors. How so? With the fall of Feiduan's words, his body completely disappeared from everyone's sight, as if he had never appeared before. Needless to say, Feiduan is dead. The body is destroyed, the imprisoned soul can be unblocked, and the effect of the immortal curse no longer exists. Until the end of the flying stage, I never thought that I would ruin the hands of a ninja, and the other party was still a teenager who was only 15 or 16 years old. In addition to consternation, the last sentence was full of unwillingness. But the fact that he is not willing to be killed is a foregone conclusion. With the death of Feiduan, the atmosphere in the field is still silent. Advertisement. Obviously, everyone has not recovered from this shock. Originally, Kakashi and others thought that it was not easy to kill Feiduan, but who would have thought that it would become so simple in Shi Yu's hands? Zhao. I thought of it this way, so he didn't worry about it just now. But who would have thought that this move would appear now? Only one move. The flying section is the ashes, the corpse. But the most shocking thing at this time is not that the 4 of Asma, Gongzatai and Shenyue Izumo 4, nor is it Kakashi, Naruto and Yamato 3. It's Zhao. Others didn't know what trick Shi Yu had just performed, but he knew it well. Living to be 90 years old, his experience is naturally much higher than that of Kakashi and others. After all, he is a person of the same age as 3 generations of Tokage Onoki, and it is reasonable to have seen this trick. This is also why he had a different color on his face when he saw the pale white light group that appeared in Shi Yu's hand. After all, that trick belongs to the legendary Blood Succession Elimination. This type of ninjutsu is stronger than Blood Succession limits. Looking at the entire ninja realm, people who master this technique are absolutely rare. To this day, there is only 3 generations of Toying, alone. But the result is a slap in the face, and Shi Yu has indeed mastered this kind of ninjutsu. And it is also Chen done. Can this not make him shocked? When they were still immersed in shock, Kakashi and others finally recovered from it. After all, they still don't know about Chen Yun advertisement. They only know that the primary realm stripping technique is an extremely powerful ninjutsu, and they don't know that this is blood succession elimination, that ordinary people can't match. Mr. Kakashi, that guy should be dead now, right? Naruto confirmed to Kakashi next to him, but his gaze never left Shiyu in front of him. If there is no accident, it should be dead. Regarding Kakashi's answer, Asma nodded in agreement. It can't be wrong, that guy's breath disappeared. After being confirmed by Kakashi and Asma, Naruto yelled out of joy. Great! Naruto was not the only one who was happy at this moment, and Shikamaru and others also had a touch of joy on their faces. Despite this, they are not as relaxed as Naruto, and they still have a look of vigilance in their eyes. Because, there is still one enemy that has not been solved, chapter 420. After Naruto exclaimed, he also moved forward. Shiyu, your trick was so handsome just now. I think so. Shiyu responded narcissistically, because he himself thought so. When he first watched the animation, he was deeply shocked by this trick. It is also because of this. When his talent was strong enough, he spent time studying this trick.
Due to the perverted nature of this trick, Shi Yu is generally not easy to use. In other words, the rubbish he encountered before is not worthy of him to use this trick. If it weren't for the dust escape, that can perfectly restrain the flying section of the immortality spell, Kakashi and others would not have seen this today. Trick. Shi Yu, what was the name of that trick just now? Hearing Naruto's words, Kakashi, Shikamaru and others who walked behind Shi Yu couldn't help but P***k their ears. Obviously, they are also extremely curious about Chen Dun. However, before Shi Yu responded, standing in the corner opposite them, they were the first to speak. If I didn't guess wrong, then the trick should be dust escape. Zhao. As soon as these words came out, everyone's expressions were stunned. Even Shi Yu is no exception, but when I thought about it, Shi Yu was relieved. Zhao. They have lived for more than 90 years, and naturally they are more knowledgeable than Kakashi and others. Advertisement moreover, the latter has mastered the secret technique of Earth Resentment U. Therefore, he often goes to get to know some ninjas with powerful escape skills. This novel is first published by Dragon. QQ 492,923,872. Don't be fooled by other fakes. Unique Filu novel standby group 672,171,357. Filu novel internal group 1,142,529,731. Filu novel inner group 2929082961. More exciting Filu novels are in the hands of the owner. Welcome to the group. I hope you will not be fooled by those deceptive groups. Attachment. This work comes from the internet and published books. The work is only for readers' preview. Please delete it within 24 hours of downloading. It must not be used for commercial purposes. If you think this book is good, please buy a genuine book. Thanks for your support. Close black lens bracket key points. I hope I can keep this paragraph when reprinted. It's a bit hard to organize, but retention is a virtue. His purpose is very simple. It is to plunder the opponent. In this way, he may be able to master the possession of ninjutsu after killing the opponent. As for the owner of blood succession boundary, it is not possible, because this kind of ninjutsu is not a reality. After comprehending yourself, let the hit chakra merge after the nature change. This is true for both ninjutsu type and hydro succession boundary of illusory type, except for the pupillary type. After all, after the ones are readily available, Kakashi, Danzo, and Ching, from Mist Hidden Village, are the best examples. They, Shulenyan, and Bayan, are not their own. Because of this, they cannot fully utilize their abilities. Advertisement because they don't have the blood to control this kind of power in their bodies. That's why the horns. All can use other people's heart. The created chakra has no reason for the blood succession limitation. This is also the reason why he would show admiration after seeing Shi Yu's several kinds of blood succession boundary before. But what he never expected was that Shi Yu would not only blood succession boundary, but also master a stronger level of blood succession elimination. Listening to the horns. In the words of all, Naruto, Shikamaru, Gangxi and Shenyue Izumo's faces have a look of wonder. Obviously, they don't know what Chen Dun is because this escape technique is not among the 5 basic attributes, so they subconsciously attribute it to the blood inheritance limit. Especially Shikamaru and others, the look on their faces was particularly shocked. If this Chen Dun is really a type of blood succession boundary, then Shi Yu alone has mastered 4. At this point, Shikamaru couldn't help but ask, Shi Yu, is this dust escape also a kind of bloodstain limit? Yes, nor is it. This time the answer was still not Shi Yu, but Kakashi standing next to Shi Yu. Naruto, Shikamaru and others don't know what Chen Dun is, but as an elite, it is impossible for him to not know. Although he hasn't seen it before, he has heard it. In addition to him, Asuma and Yamato have also heard about it. This is why the 3 people's faces when they all said the word, dust escape. In the corner just now the above are all showing incredible colors. Dust escape. That is the ninjutsu above the blood succession limits. Looking at the current ninja world, they know only one ninja who masters the blood succession elimination. However, I am afraid I will add another one today, this moment. The eyes of the 3 of them stared at Shiyu in front of them, and there was a thick mysteriousness in their eyes. Chapter 421. Yes, but not all. After hearing Kakashi's answer, Shikamaru and Naruto were a little confused. What is it? The brilliant Shikamaru seemed to have thought of something and continued to ask. Teacher Asuma, is this dust escape original realm stripping technique an unfinished blood succession boundary? Because Shikamaru didn't know the existence of blood succession elimination, he subconsciously believed that dust escape was a technique between ordinary ninjutsu and blood succession limit. No, Chen Dun is a ninjutsu above blood succession limit. As soon as Asuma said this, apart from knowing the angle of the matter, Kakashi and the Yamato Trio 3, everyone else was shocked. Especially Naruto and Shikamaru, they have only been ninjas for 3 years. Therefore, there are naturally fewer things to know. Relatively speaking, Gonza Tetsu and Kamizuki Izumo, who have been ninjas for more than 10 years, seem to have thought of something. The 2 looked at each other for a moment, and then spit out a word in unison. Could it be the legendary blood successor elimination? The 2 people's words were filled with consternation, which surprised them more than the previous Fei Duan was killed by Shi Yu. Advertisement. It can be seen from this that the weight of the 4 words, blood succession elimination. Blood following the elimination. Naruto and Shikamaru chanted at the same time, with a look of doubt on their faces. Among the people present, only the two of them had never heard of this word. After all, there is only one person in today's ninjutsu who masters this kind of ninjutsu. Bloodstain boundary. Although it is rare, it is not impossible to see them during the mission. There are just a few of them, Konoha. Sasuke and Kakashi's Blood Wheel Eyes, Hyuga Clan, White Eyes, Moonlight Hayate's Tour Escape, etc. Therefore, they are already familiar with this concept, but it is the first time they have heard of blood following the elimination, because they have never seen the owner of blood following the elimination. Not only them, but even Kakashi and others are no exception. If they hadn't been a ninja for many years and had a lot of knowledge, it would have been impossible to know what is blood succession. After some doubts, Naruto quickly asked, "Teacher Kakashi, what is blood succession? Also, does it have anything to do with bloodstain limit?" Advertisement. Although Naruto was stunned, he was not stupid. This blood succession elimination sounds a bit similar to bloodstain boundary, and just now Asuma said that dust escape is a type of ninjutsu above bloodstain boundary. For Naruto's doubts, Kakashi also briefly explained. Blood succession boundary. You should know that it is the result of the fusion of the property changes of the two chakra attributes. As for blood succession elimination, its formation is more difficult than blood succession limits. Because it wants to blend the nature change of the three chakra attributes, the ninjutsu pioneered by the latter is stronger than blood succession limit. And dust escape is a brand new escape technique created by the fusion of the three chakra attributes of wind, earth, and fire. After hearing Kakashi's words, Shikamaru and Naruto were completely stunned. Blood succession limits was abnormal enough, they didn't expect that there would be a stronger blood succession elimination above this. At this point, they couldn't help but think of a possibility in their hearts. Since the fusion of the two chakra attributes is blood succession boundary, the three kinds of fusions are blood succession elimination, chapter 422. The fusion of the two chakra attributes is blood succession boundary, and the three fusions are blood succession elimination. They were full of curiosity about what those four were, what were the five, and Naruto, who was very curious, continued to ask. Teacher Kakashi, what are the 4 and 5 chakra attributes that are fused together? Kakashi was also taken aback when he heard that. Obviously he didn't expect Naruto to ask like this. However, he answered simply, I have no idea. This time it was Naruto and Shikamaru's turn to be puzzled. They didn't expect that Kakashi didn't even know. It is also because of this. Shikamaru couldn't help but look at Asuma, but the answer was still the same. I do not know either. Seeing the appearance of Naruto and Shikamaru, Yamato also gave an explanation. Naruto, Shikamaru. In fact, it is not that Kakashi and Asuma do not know it, but that there is no ninjutsu that combines the 4 chakra attributes in the world today. It does not exist. After hearing this, Naruto and Shikamaru suddenly stunned, obviously did not think it was because of this reason. Advertisement, Yamato nodded, and continued. Senior Kakashi also said before, there is only one type of blood successor elimination in the ninja world that is formed by the fusion of the 3 chakra attributes. It's the Chen Dun that Yu just displayed. The integration of the 3 chakra attributes has not been able to do it personally, let alone override it. After hearing Yamato's words, Naruto and Shikamaru also nodded. But for some reason, everyone looked at Yu's eyes with the same meaning. In their view, others can't, but Yu may be able to do it. Especially Kakashi, Naruto and Yamato 3, because they know how enchanting Yu is. One can create with his own power. You can imagine the degree of metamorphosis for people who belong to the human, fairy model. When they had such thoughts, Shikamaru's voice rang. Teacher Asuma. You just said that only one person in today's ninja world has mastered blood succession elimination, and it is also dust escape. I don't know who this person is. As soon as Shikamaru said this, Naruto, Katetsu, and Kamizuki Azuma were all very curious. Advertisement because except for the 3 of them, everyone else knows it. It's normal if you don't know, because this person is not from Konoha, but from Yanyan Village, one of the 5 major countries. He is today's 3 generations of soil shadows in Yanyan Village. 3 generations of earth shadows. Shikamaru's 4 mouths couldn't help but murmured. Obviously, they didn't expect this strong man to come from Iwayan Village. Teacher Asuma, then this Chen Dun should be created by 3 generations of Hokage. Probably, Asuma, who heard the words, stagnated for a while and then gave an unsure answer. Although he knows that 3 generations of Hokage has the dust escape, blood succession, but he has never heard of whether this ninjutsu was created by the latter, which is like 4 generations of Naruto. The technique is Flying Thunder God's technique, but it was 2nd generation Hokage who created this technique. This is indeed the case. It was not 3 generations of Tokage Onoki who pioneered Chen Dun, but the 2nd generation of Tokage Nun. Onoki is a disciple of Nun, and most of the body itself comes from the latter. In addition to dust escape, there are some powerful earth escape. For example, earth escape light and heavy rock art, and earth evacuation super light and heavy rock art, but Oyemu has good talents. Otherwise, I won't be able to learn dust escape. Only then will we have the follow-up dust escape super aggravated rock art and dust escape limit stripping art. F chapter 423. Earth evasion super aggravated rock art. Needless to say, This technique is the opposite ninjutsu of Earth Evasion Ultralight Heavy Rock Art. As for the Dust Escape Boundary Stripping Technique, it is an upgraded version of the Dust Escape Limit Stripping Technique. When used, not only the range of the spell is expanded, but the power is also increased. Moreover, there is a lasting effect, with the ability and the art of peeling of the primordial realm. At a glance, any object in contact with it will cause any object to be decomposed into a sub-state. Because of the molecule, it is a kind of particle that is invisible to the naked eye. Therefore, the person who has received this technique in the eyes of others seems to be turned into nothingness and disappeared in smoke. But in fact, this is not the final version of Dust Escape, because of the molecular state. Not the limit, it can also be divided into atomic states. Open black lens bracket. Second generation Toying Wu close black lens bracket only created and perfected this technique, but did not develop it to the extreme. As for 3 generations of Earth Shadow Onoki, although he tried in this regard, the result was still unsuccessful. Although he upgraded Dust Done, the upgrade is only its function, not its essence. It's not that it doesn't want to, but that he doesn't have enough talent. Speaking of second generation Hokage, no, he still has an ninjutsu that Onoki hasn't learned, or that he hasn't had time to learn a trick that is super practical ninjutsu. That is the split technique. This technique divides the body into 2, and at the same time divides the chakra level in the body into 2. Advertisement. It seems to be very similar to the shadow clone art, but there is an essential difference. The clones after the split are all entities. This technique can play a significant role in combat and escape, especially the latter. Although this technique is against the sky, it also has a drawback. Due to the fact that the chakra was shared, the Tao declined, so that Wu could not use the powerful ninjutsu in the split state. This is the reason why in the 4 battles of the ninja world, the nun, who has unlimited chakras after unclean reincarnations, cannot use Dust Escape. Although the use of shadow clone art is evenly divided, as long as the Tao is supplemented, you can still use a powerful technique. The upper limit of the chakra he can have is the same as the body, but using the physical clone of split art. But it's not the same. He splits everything in the ontology into 2. Moreover, it can only be used once. The reason is very simple. The cells in a person's body are limited, and the ability to divide half is already the limit. If there is no ninjutsu blessing, it will be dead long ago. Of course, as long as the body returns to normal after a long period of cultivation, it can be used again. But then again, this second generation Hokage Wu is indeed a bit capable, but he is a man who has fought against Uchiha Madara. 5 kingdoms. In the early days of the founding of the People's Republic of China, Nun led his disciple, Onogi, to Konoha for diplomacy. Advertisement. As a result, I met Uchiha Madara, and Madara rejected the alliance between Iwaguru and Konoha. Moreover, Wu and Onoki was seriously injured. If it were not for the mercy of Uchiha Madara, I am afraid that they would not have the chance to become the later, second generation Hokage, and 3 generation Hokage. This is Nun's first trip to Konoha, but I did not see first Naruto Senjujuma. Later, in order to solve the problem of the tail beast, Senjujuma invited the first generation of the soil in the country of Yanyan village, the first generation of the soil shadow Shihei, and the 4 shadows of the other 4 major countries. Participated in the unprecedented first 5 shadows conference in history. Known as the 5 shadows talks, during the period, second generation Hokage Mu served as the guard of first generation Hokage Stone River. This is the second time that the former went to Konoha. In meeting the first generation of Naruto Senjujuma, following the suggestion of his younger brother, Senjuma, to exchange money for the tail beast, the 9 tailed beasts were equally distributed to the 5 major countries. It is also because of this 5 powers concluded the first peace agreement in the ninja world, realizing comprehensive peace for the first time in this land. But this peace has a time limit, that is, the lifespan between the pillars. Once the pillars die, all countries will have no scruples. This is also the root cause of the outbreak of the First Ninja World War, Chapter 424. Soon after the First Ninja War broke out, first generation Mudokage Shihei passed away and was succeeded by Nun as second generation Mudokage. In the era of the second generation of Earth Shadows, Iwakura village, relying on the acquisition of 4 tails and 5 tails, the village's defense was consolidated. On the other hand, in order to expand the territory of the village, they also raised the idea of competing for other village tail beasts. Because of the death of the original Naruto Senjujuma, the peace agreement signed between the 5 great nations began to gradually collapse. The first generation movies of the other 4 kingdoms were changed one after another because they died in battle, were old, or other reasons, and became the second generation movies. After receiving the news of the death of Senjuzuma, the 4 shadows of the various countries all directed the signs to Konoha. They took advantage of the Konoha group of dragons without a leader, and rushed to organize a large number of ninjas to invade Konoha, with the intention of taking down this once the most powerful ninja village in one fell swoop. However, they all lost in the hands of second generation Naruto, that is, thousands of hands. In response, the 4 disadvantaged countries fled back to their shinobu villages. After that, the situation of endless battles in the ninja world gradually disappeared. The first time was because of Senju Juma, and the second time it was because of Senju Yuma. The latter's strength may not be as good as the latter, but the leadership ability of Qianshu Janma is far better than his brother in political skills. It is also because of this advertisement they knew that Qianshojianjian was not a fuel-efficient lamp, so they would dispel the idea of aggression. This is thousands of hands, using strength, for the ninja world. It has once again ushered in a period of peaceful development of up to 20 years. And the four shadows of all countries absorbed the failed teachings. Draw a scoop based on the gourd. Following the political skills of second-generation Naruto Senjumon, they established ninja schools in their respective ninja villages. And the system, inaugurated in open black lens bracket none close black lens bracket open black lens bracket second-generation Dokage room. He followed the example of thousands of legends and established Iwakura Ninja School in order to pass on the Wool of Stone. Has made a huge contribution to the development of Yanyan Village. In this way, the Wool of the Stone passed to all members of Yanyan Village, deeply affecting the entire Yanyan. The growth and development of younger generations. However, 20 years later, after the four countries strengthened their national power, another war started. This time the war turned into a localized battle. After the enhancement of national power, the Thunder Country Yanyan Village made a desperate move and invested more than 1,000 ninjas to launch an attack on Konoha. And Fog Hidden and Rock Hidden advertisement. Originally planned to take advantage of Yanyan. Attack Konoha. Sometimes they took advantage of the fire to rob, but the two sides robbed Konoha. There was a dispute over the battle item, and it was a big fight. On the battlefield, second generation Tu Ying Wu, and second generation Water Shadow Ghost Lantern Moonlight, the two, Shadow. The name of the two died in this war, and the two agreed that each other was their best opponent. Although they all have regrets, they can only end in a scribbled way, none, after death. His disciple, Onoki, inherited Hokage. The name became the third generation Soil Shadow, of Iwakura Village, the country of soil. Although he is now in his 70s, he is nearly 80. But he still serves as Hokage. The name shows its impressive strength and super prestige. It is reasonable for Kakashi, Asuma, and others to think that Chen Dun was created by second-generation Toying Wu, because they were not from that era. They don't know, but there are two people who know it very well. One is Shiyu. The other is a 90-year-old horn. Chapter 425. After Kakashi and others talked, Naruto suddenly asked a question that everyone was very curious about. Naruto's gaze was locked to Shiyu for a while, and he asked without thinking. Shiyu, you learned Chen Dun from 3 generations of Earth's Shadow. At this moment, not only Kakashi and others are very curious, but even the opposite corner. It is all like this. The reason why he hasn't done anything is because he wants to know Shiyu better through the conversations between Kakashi and others. No way. Shiyu's demonstrated strength has already put him under tremendous pressure, and he has to be cautious. Now that Fei Duan has been killed, he must be more vigilant. Otherwise, he estimated that he would have to explain here today. Not only that, but even a thought came up in his mind, that is, retreat. However, this was his final plan. After all, after he learned the secret art of resentment, he never retreated because of cowardice. But now is different. Shiyu's enchanting makes him have to weigh it. Advertisement as the saying goes. Leave the green hills in, don't worry about burning, not worrying about not having firewood. The ninjutsu and bloodstain limit, shown by Shiyu are still within the range that he accepts, but the threat of Chen Dun is too great. Even the immortal body of Fei Duan, they were all killed by a single move, even if the latter was unknowingly. But it is an indisputable fact that Shiyu masters Chen Dun, Zhao. It is all conceded, but he is not stupid. Once you are affected by dust escape, it will be wiped out like a flying section and melted into all things in nature. Therefore, if he finds that something is wrong, he will probably flee immediately. As for why he doesn't leave now, that's because he wants to determine whether Shiyu has enough power to perform such a powerful ninjutsu. If he can't, he at least still has the power of World War I. In addition, he also wanted to know how Shiyu learned dust escape, and how to master the blood succession boundary. There are also hidden secrets in this. If he can know some information from the latter, if he gets something from him, then his strength will surely be able to go further. Curiosity can drive a person to death, and heaven-defying treasures are even more eager. This is Kakuno. There are several reasons for not escaping directly. To Naruto's question, Shiyu's answer was half true and half false. It can only be said that it was inspired by someone. One person inspired, advertisement Shikamaru murmured, and couldn't help asking, have you seen 3 generations of toying? No, Shiyu's denial made everyone extremely confused. Nowadays, there is only one person in the ninja society, Chen Dun, 3 generations of Earth's Shadow Onoki. Takiwa learned this technique and was not inspired by him. Who would it be? Is it possible that someone in this world has learned this blood succession elimination? When everyone was puzzled about this, Shiyu's voice also rang again. Although I didn't see 3 generations of toying, I saw his granddaughter. When Shiyu said this, everyone was surprised. The granddaughter of 3 generations of Dokage is named Black Earth. She is an elite ninja of Iwayan Village, and a beautiful ninja who combines strength and beauty. Especially those big long legs are amazing. Moreover, she still has a kind of open black lens bracket bloodstain limit close black lens bracket. After the 4th World War of Ninja World, she succeeded her grandfather, Onoki, as 4 generations of shadows, with leg shadows. Known as
The father is Lois, and the brothers are Red Earth and Daedala. No one thought that Shi-Yu would have this situation, but I just don't know if this is a chance encounter or a fateful affair, only waiting for Shi-Yu to reveal it for them. Chapter 426. Although I didn't see 3 generations of toying, I saw his granddaughter. Hearing Shi-Yu's words, Kakashi had a beautiful image in his mind. Shi-Yu, you are talking about black soil? Oh, teacher Kakashi, you know her too. Kakashi nodded, and then said, I saw it once when I was on an envoy to Yanyan village. At that time, she seemed to have just become a shinobu. Because she is the granddaughter of 3 generations of Hokage, so pay more attention. Kakashi deserves to be a worthy elite Shangren, both his strength and various abilities are extremely excellent. Among the whole Konoha, if it is Shangren with the strongest comprehensive ability, it is Kakashi, teacher Kakashi. When I met him a year ago, the latter was already a shinobi. Kakashi, who heard this, was also slightly surprised. Because it was only 6 years since he met Black Soil, but the latter was able to be promoted to Shangnin in this short period of 6 years. Advertisements such talents are really rare, after all, this is not the age of war they're in. You must complete the 6 years of ninja school to be allowed to graduate and pass the assessment at the age of 12 before you can officially be awarded the title of ninja and be awarded Ninja Guard. It is not difficult to become Zhang Ren, but if you want to become Shang Ren, the gap between this is not a star and a half. In addition to his own strength is strong enough, he has accumulated enough merits. In other words, there are many tasks to be performed. When your contribution to the village reaches one value, you can be shadow by the village. Awarded the title of Open Black Lens Bracket Shangnin Close Black Lens Bracket, these are all ninja villages. Following the example of second generation Naruto, from this point, it can be seen that Senju Kenma can become the second man admired by the ninja world for no reason. Although this, Black Soil, is only 2 years older than Shiyu and the group of students, it is enough to show her extraordinary strength. Otherwise, it is impossible to become a Shangnin in just 6 years. This is how Neji became a Shangnin. Yes, as for the others, their strength is still slightly lacking. And Shiyu, there is only one reason, that's lazy. Advertisement, Shangren has to perform not only many tasks, but also more difficult. It's a level 1 if he doesn't move, although it doesn't matter to Shiyu, it's just a waste of time. Still feel at ease, every time the characters are basically traveling in the mountains and playing in the water. So that in the past 2 years, Shiyu has been to many places, and naturally he has learned some unknown secrets. Such as Cthulhu, underground exchange, etc. As for what he said to wait for Naruto and Sasuke to be assessed together, it was nothing more than an excuse he used to get promoted to Shinobu. After all, in addition to performing level tasks, Shangren also needs to help the village deal with some trivial things. Maybe I will send you some newly graduated brats for you to instruct at that time, this is undoubtedly the most troublesome thing. Now Shiyu doesn't have this idle time, and his little brothers haven't done it yet. Moreover, Konohamaru, a little devil, still pesters him from time to time. Furthermore, he has to bother to pick those mature flowers. Not to mention that there are several in Konoha village, and he doesn't want to let it go outside. Now that I have moved this mind, it is natural to do all of it. If you want to do it, naturally you can't do just one. Only elementary school students make the choice, and Shiyu naturally wants all of them. F chapter 427. When I met him a year ago, the latter was already a shinobi. Kakashi also praised Shiyu's words, as expected to be the granddaughter of 3 generations of toying. Oh, right. Shiyu, you just said that you learned how to escape from dust because of the inspiration from the black soil. Shiyu also nodded in response to Kakashi's question. During we chatting, she mentioned that her grandfather would dust escape, and I also knew blood succession elimination because of this. After returning from that mission, I tried to combine the 3 attributes of wind, earth, and fire. What I didn't expect was to practice. Everyone was dumbfounded as soon as Shiyu said this. This is what human words are talking about, so you can practice it. If you are not born with blood succession boundary, or blood succession elimination, you can only comprehend it on your own. Therefore, the premise of merging 2 or more chakra attributes is to have sufficient control over their property changes. Advertisement not to mention allowing you to master their nature changes to the extreme, but you also have to be proficient in them. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible for you to create blood succession boundary. Of course, this is just a must-have in advance, and everything in the end is due to your talent and luck. Some people can create a blood succession boundary. That does have a trace of luck, that is, he reaches that balance point by chance or because of something. Therefore, the perfect blend of the 2 attributes of chakras, S*X, was created to create my own blood succession boundary. And this is one of the shocks of Kakashi and others, because the fusion of 2 or multiple attribute chakras created the blood succession limit, is not fixed, but may appear different ninjutsu. Just like the first generation, Wooden Dun, from Naruto Senjuan, and Relding Dun, from 5 dynasties Shui Ying Jiao Mei Ming, both types of blood succession limit have water and earth. The fusion of these 2 chakras, blood succession boundary, so, blood succession elimination, is no exception, but Shiyu can copy the unseen dust escape, with only a brief introduction from Black Earth. This feat is undoubtedly a shocking miracle, such talents, it is hard not to shock people. Naruto,
Kakashi, Yamato 3 are okay, because they know Shiyu's abnormality. No matter what incredible things Shiyu did, they would gladly accept it after a shock. Advertisement: the three of them are fine, but Shikamaru, Asuma and others are not. Even the horns who stood opposite them, it was the same. Obviously at this time Yu's talent was beyond his expectation. I have spent decades, and a kind of blood succession boundary has not been explored. But Shiyu used 3 blood succession boundaries, all at once, not to mention, there was even a blood succession elimination that had the upper hand. This is not the key. The key is that Shiyu's learning of such a strong ninjutsu seemed to Shiyu's eyes, and he wanted to learn it. What other people could not do in their entire life, but he did it casually. At this moment, he finally understood the sentence. People are better than people, and it is really maddening. There is no comparison, there is no harm. At this time, he deeply understood this sentence, and his inner arrogance suddenly wilted. Indeed, Kakashi had similar thoughts. They have seen too many geniuses, even if they are better than them, they are still within an acceptable range. But Shiyu in front of them is completely beyond this category. It seems that standing in front of them chapter 428. As if standing in front of them is not a person, but a fairy. This is why Kakashi will increasingly think that Shiyu may really be the reincarnation of 6 Tao immortals. The generation of an idea is based on his reason. The whole will not come, and the rumors will not come true. At this moment, Shiba and Asuma and others looked at Shiyu with their gazes as if they were looking at a monster. Through the previous battles, they knew that Shiyu's talent was abnormal. But I didn't expect to be so perverted, even the legendary blood succession elimination, that only a few people can master. These things alone made them so shocked. If they were to know that Shiyu had created a fairy mode, unique to humans in 7 days, I don't know what kind of expression they would show. Moreover, Shiyu only showed the ninjutsu-type blood succession boundary in front of them. Both the pupillary skill type and the phantom skill type are still used. Even Kakashi, Naruto, and Yamato 3, they only know that Toki has Shoringan. They don't know about illusory skill type blood succession boundary mirror Washuei and white eyes for the time being. At the same time, you have a variety of ninjutsu-type blood succession limits that everyone can accept. But pupil surgery-type blood succession limit, that is, blood inheritance. If it is not born with the opening of the pupillary blood vessel in the body, it will only be transplanted the day after tomorrow. Advertisement: for example, Kakashi and Danzo. Although there are 2 types, they are easy to distinguish. The eyes of the former can be normal and pupil state. Switch between each other, but the latter is not working. There are also saying that the samsara eye cannot be closed, which is a saying. Reincarnation eye is big tube wood, a power which was born out of reincarnation blood wheel eye. In other words, if you want to awaken this power, you must have the blood of the Dadongmu clan. Therefore, if you want to keep the reincarnation eye normal, you must master the power of the Dadongmu clan. Uzumaki Nagato. Why can't I close reincarnation eyes? Because his eyes were transplanted. Therefore, it is impossible to return to the normal state, and cannot use its power to the extreme. Even the body cannot bear the load of samsara eye. If he wasn't a member of the Vortex clan, and had a thin, Asura bloodline, he couldn't control this pupil technique at all. Secondly, Uchiha Madara was transformed into samsara eyes, step by step after being reincarnated by dirty soil. Advertisement: if it is said that reincarnation eyes cannot be switched, then Uchiha Madara should be in the form of reincarnation eyes after being reincarnated by unclean earth, rather than ordinary eyes. In the end, it was Sasuke. Logically, he has Asura bloodline, and has gained half the power of 6 Tao immortals, so he should be able to switch reincarnation eyes freely. But he couldn't do it. Why is that? The answer is actually very simple. 6-way immortals gave Sasuke only power of yin, which is half of his own power. But this is only chakra after all, not bloodline power. Reincarnation eyes can be forcibly awakened through power, and then use its own chakra to release ninjutsu, but without bloodline power, you can't be free. Switch. Ban can do it because he transplanted interpillar cells into his body. After years of precipitation, the pure bloodline power of Dadongmu clan was finally born in the body. This is also the reason why Madara only awakens to the reincarnation eye when he is old. Although Sasuke has also been implanted with some interpillar cells by Pocket, the time is still short, and it is naturally not enough for him to give birth to blood power that can switch the power of reincarnation eye. After all, he was forcibly awakened by the power of 6 Tao immortals. Otherwise, I don't know when I will wake up. F chapter 429. A person has a kind of pupil technique. It is already rare. As for the 2, everyone has never heard of it. Even the horns who have lived for more than 90 years. They are all the same, and whether there is a long history, they don't know. Shiyu now has only 2 kinds of pupil surgery. It is estimated that there will be 3 kinds in the near future, or it will become 1 kind. Since Zuyanian and reincarnation eye can be fused, is there any connection between white eyes and the 2? Will these 3 come from the same ultimate pupil art? For all the answers, only Dang Shiyu possesses the reincarnation eyes and masters the bloodline power of the pure Dadongmu clan. Will be known later after some consternation. The Gangsiti on the side suddenly thought of something and hurriedly asked, Shiyu, will you, the nature change of thunder attribute? Gang Ziti's voice just fell, and Shiyu didn't wait for Shiyu to answer, but Shenyue Izumo beside him was puzzled. Zitai, why do you suddenly ask this? Senior Izumo, Senior ZT should be wondering if Shiyu has mastered all attributes of chakra. Shikamaru spoke first. Advertisement, Gang ZT nodded, and then said, Shiyu has 3 types of bloodstain limits, and 1 type of blood succession elimination. Magnetic escape is wind, and earth, ice shield is wind and water. Jiao Dun is wind, and fire, dust escape is wind, fire, earth. Plus the shadow imitation, belonging to Yin Dun, and medical ninjutsu, belonging to Yang Dun. If you do this, Shiyu has 6 kinds of character changes of chakra. If Shi Julian has all the thunder attributes, it will be our Konoha, 5th ninja with all attributes after Kakashi Senpai. That's the point of Gong's iron words, everyone is also clear. Because Kakashi, Naruto, and people already know that Shiyu is a thing with all attributes and proficient, so they are not interested in it. They are not big, but Gang ZT, Asma and others are all curious. Even the opposite horn. The same is true, because he has only mastered the 5 basic attributes chakra. Moreover, he did it by relying on the secret skills of resentment, but Shiyu, who is not only extremely talented, may also be a ninja with all attributes. Advertisement. It is not that there are people with 7 chakra attributes at the same time, but this kind of existence is absolutely unique. And even if they are ninjas with 7 chakra attributes, they will only choose a few good attributes for refinement. Not good at being a miner, generally not very proficient, but Shiyu, he can display 3 kinds of blood succession boundary, and 1 kind of blood succession elimination, which is enough to show that he has firmly mastered the 4 basic attributes, chakra. As for the extent of Yin Dun and Yang Dun, he still doesn't know. Because Shiyu had not used these 2 powerful ninjutsu in front of his eyes, and the shadow imitation technique could not see anything. And healing ninjutsu, Shiyu has never used it, in everyone's expectation, the answer was soon revealed. But this time it's not the impatient Naruto, because he is still thinking about what is Yin Dun, and what is Yang Dun. He mentioned 5 basic chakras. Therefore, Naruto doesn't know about Yin Dun and Yang Dun, and it is no one else who answered Gongzatetsu's question, it was Kakashi who was surprised at the time. As you think, Shiyu does have all the attributes. Furthermore, he is still proficient in all attributes. When Kakashi said this, except for the ignorant Naruto and the already shocked Yamato, everyone else was shocked. Even if it is a horn, it is no exception, there is no one in a million ninjas with all attributes, but all attributes are proficient in another concept. Chapter 430. After learning that Shiyu was fully proficient in all attributes, Shikamaru, Asma and others were all in deep shock. Obviously, they still underestimated Shiyu's metamorphosis. At the time when they were so shocked, the opposite horn had already begun to retreat. At this moment, he no longer planned to fight Shiyu and the others. Originally, the number of people on his side was not dominant, and the death of Fei Duan made him almost injured the possibility of victory. Now that he knew about Shiyu's evildoers, he knew that he had no chance of winning. If the battle continues, the result must be his defeat. This kind of unsuspecting battle, Coke, is obviously stupid enough to continue. Therefore, the aura on his body has begun to be restrained, and he intends to slip away directly when Shiyu and others are not paying attention. Kakashi and others may not notice his small movements. After all, the latter is not completely out of combat. Moreover, Kakashi and others have not entered the fairy mode, cultivation state at this moment, and naturally cannot detect this detail. And Shiyu had his body in contact with nature all the time because of the Baihao Dragon Seal, which is why his God-forbidden eyes was further improved. Just when they were preparing to evacuate, Shiyu's voice also slowly sounded. Zhao. Don't even think about running away, Advertisement. Hearing the angle of Yan Yan, he was taken aback for a moment, and he never thought that his mind would be seen through by Shiyu. Obviously he hadn't moved yet, but Shiyu was the first to notice it. It was also because of this that made him feel a little bit more afraid of Shiyu. There is no doubt that Shiyu is the opponent who has made him feel creepy so far. It seems to be, in the eyes of the latter, his own is seen through. There is no secret at all. He doesn't know how Shiyu's strength compares to Naruto, but the aura exuded by the latter is something he has never felt before. This feeling, even if he faced the world's respected ninja god, the Senjuzuzuma, never had it before. From this, it can be seen that his evaluation of Shiyu has reached an unspeakable height. Boy, I admit that I am not your opponent, but you want to keep me, but it's impossible. The voice fell, horns, the 2 puppet masks, behind both. It is directly integrated into his body. Next second, I saw his body began to melt into the ground. Obviously this was his own ninjutsu. Advertisement. To be precise, it is a kind of escape ninjutsu. Seeing this, Naruto exclaimed immediately. No, he wants to run away. Kakashi, Asma and others who heard the words condensed, because it was too late to stop this distance. The previous horn Du's attack made them impossible to guard against. If it were not for Wei Yu, even the elites of the forbearance would not be able to avoid a loss. Otherwise, Asma would not have almost been in the hands of Fei Duan the last time. After all, they still don't know whether there will be any backhands. Therefore, they always guard against the attack. Du's sneak attack. But what I didn't expect was that the latter chose to retreat at this moment, and he was so decisive. Damn it. For this scene, Shikamaru also spit out 2 unwilling words. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Du's figure disappeared into the surface and disappeared into everyone's field of vision. Upon seeing this, everyone thought that the corner all escaped. But at this moment, a weird scene appeared. I saw the corner. The position where all disappeared suddenly burst into a bright light, and this scene immediately attracted everyone's attention. But this is not the point. The point is that the horns that should have disappeared, they have appeared in their vision again. This scene undoubtedly made everyone dumbfounded, except for one person. He is Toki, nothing else, because this scene is his handwriting. Fate chapter 431. Looking at the corner, Du's figure slowly rises from the ground, and everyone's astonishment is also extremely depressed. What is going on in this scene in front of me? Not only Kakashi and Shikamaru and others, but also Kakashi, too himself. He obviously used too done to escape, but why did he return to his original position? But it was not this that shocked him most, but the unidentified thing that radiated fierce heat under his feet. It is a huge 4-color lotus platform. The angle, the hotness that I feel is from the lotus platform. Those small holes on the top exude. Undoubtedly, it is this 4-color lotus too. The horns. They were all lifted out of the ground. In other words, this 4-color lotus terrace, it was planted in advance before he ran away. If not, how could it be such a coincidence? And it is indeed the case. This 4-color lotus stand, it was Shiyu who was in the horns. They buried them before they all ran away. The purpose is to prevent the horns. All ran away. Shadow level. If the ninja wants to escape, it is difficult to keep him if he doesn't arm himself in advance. 2 years ago, the reason Oshimaru was able to escape was because Shiyu did not possess this kind of strength against the sky at the time. But now they can't talk at the same time. Let's not say it is a corner. 2. Even if you have mastered the time and space ninjutsu, even the banned soil can never escape from Toki's hands. All things have mutual restraint. Advertisement. In order to deal with those ninjas who have mastered the space ninjutsu, Shiyu has long developed a kind of enchantment ninjutsu that can seal space. In the enchantment he made, the space is forbidden. However, this ninjutsu, at the moment, obviously not. Kakuno 2's ability Shiba is aware of, and the latter does not master any space ninjutsu. Look at the 4-color lotus platform under your feet. Zhao. Suddenly there's a kind of feeling in Du's heart, a premonition of anxiety. Just as his premonition had just risen, Shiyu's voice also sounded along with it. I said, you can't escape today. When Shiyu said this, everyone was there. Originally, Kakashi and others didn't know what was going on. It seemed that this scene must have nothing to do with Shiyu. At this moment, they seemed to understand the sentence that Yu put down. It turned out that Shiyu had long left behind, instead of brainlessly ranting. Here's Shiyu's words, Zhao, and Z in the heart of the city is getting stronger and stronger. If these words were spit out from someone else's mouth, he might still not believe it, but if it was Shiyu, he had a reason to believe it. The 4-color lotus terrace, in front of you, although it has been exuding endless enthusiasm, there is no next step. Obviously, this thing is obviously controlled by someone. If he inadvertently touched the prohibition left by a certain sage, it would have broken out at this moment, and it is impossible to have no outbreak as it is now. Sign. At this point, Zhao, they changed their minds immediately. Since you can't escape from the ground, use the shattering technique to escape from the ground. After having an idea in his mind, Zhao, it is also immediately. Advertisement acted. Shoo, with a sound of breaking through the air, Zhao Du's figure immediately disappeared in place, leaping towards the deep forest behind. Upon seeing this, Kakashi gave a soft drink. Can't let. He ran, chase. If it is a horn, they all use the earth escape technique to escape, they have a high probability of losing the direction of hunting. Unless you have a tracking technique that is very against the sky, for example, Gana is different from ordinary people's sense of smell. Hinata clan white eyes, and has a super perceptive ability like aroma phosphorus. As Kakashi's voice fell, Asma and others were also preparing to hunt down. However, just when they were about to leave, they were stopped by a voice. No need to chase, he can't run. With the sound of this voice, everyone's running chakra also stopped in an instant. Immediately afterwards, those eyes fell on Shiyu's body. Undoubtedly, it was Shiyu who stopped them. Originally, they were full of curiosity about how Shiyu stopped and used the corner of the done escape. They were full of curiosity about everything, but the situation was urgent, and they didn't have time to ask more. But what they never expected was that at this moment, Shiyu also stopped them and wanted to go hunting down. If it weren't for seeing Shiyu's endless methods, they would all doubt if the former was bragging. Just when Kakashi and others were preparing to inquire, countless divine lights suddenly appeared between the surrounding sky and the earth. The brilliant 4-color brilliance circulates in the sacred light, which is extremely gorgeous. At this moment, the sky and the earth seem to be illuminated a little bit, but this is not the point. The point is that everyone was shocked to find the bright, 4-color god. It's actually a piece of lotus petals. This scene undoubtedly surpassed everyone's expectations. Chapter 432. At this moment, all the world is covered by the 4-color fascination. Shrouded. Observing the surroundings carefully, Kakashi and others found that the countless sacred lotus petals formed a 4-color lotus. At this time, this four-color lotus flower is in a blooming state, and with the sacred lotus petals. Contraction, this four-color lotus flower, it is slowly closing. This battle seems to include this world, but this is not the point is this four-color lotus. The abilities he possessed are too shocking, that four-color lotus. It seems to be an eye-catching beauty, but in fact it is an invisible lotus of death that kills people. The sacred lotus petals, anything touched while closing will be reduced to ashes in the next second. Whether it's flowers, plants or trees, it doesn't matter if birds, beasts and insects sing. Can't escape this fate. It can be seen that this four-color lotus. What kind of power does this contain? This suffocating power is more terrifying than any bloodstain boundary that Shiyu previously used, and even the dust dun, which can turn anything into molecules, is slightly worse. One chip. This ninjutsu completely surpassed the existence of level. At this moment, a scream sounded in everyone's ears. Oh ah! This voice is not unfamiliar, everyone has heard it not long ago. And the master who made this sound is not, but is possessed by the horn. The mask puppet monster in Du's body. At this moment, everyone looked at the source of the sound. There, they found horns. The figure of Du. Not only that, there is a mask puppet in front of the ladder at this time. It turned to ashes at a speed visible to the naked eye. Advertisement obviously, it is a substitute for the horns. They're all dead, looking at the sacred lotus petals that are still shrinking. At this moment, everyone finally believed Shiyu's previous words. Zhao. Du. I guess I really can't run today. Just when everyone was holding such thoughts as the person's horn, Du's heart trembled extremely. Looking at the wind mask puppet turned to ashes. His throat is not only rolled. Gollum. Just now because he noticed a danger approaching, he put the mask puppet separate from your body. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible for him to escape, once his body completely touches the sacred lotus petals. If it is not as simple as a life, it is also because of this corner at this time. All look, it's still there, the shrinking, four-color lotus. His eyes were full of fear, because this world has been exhausted by four-color lotus. Covered, he seems to have no retreat. Wait for the sacred lotus petals. It is estimated that it will be his corner when it is completely gathered up, when it is all gone. The next second, Zhao. Du's eyes condensed. His eyes fixed on the shrinking, sacred lotus petals in front of him. The chakra in the body condenses crazily. Obviously, he wanted to try to see if he could break through this barrier. If not, only death would be waiting for him. Boom. Under a single blow, sacred lotus petal. There was only a ripple and the following was gone. At this moment, Zhao. Du's complexion is extremely solemn. Boom. Boom. He tried his best to continue trying, but the result remained unchanged. Advertisement obviously, with his strength, he couldn't break through this sacred lotus petal. The current situation is already a mortal situation for him. After realizing this, Zhao. Both let out a long sigh. Immediately after, his eyes became firm again, and he swept away the previous fear. After living for more than 90 years, he does not know how many life and death battles he has experienced. In fact, he was not afraid of death long ago, the reason why he wanted to escape before. It's not because he is greedy and afraid of life, but because he wants to see with his own eyes that the organization achieves its final goal. After betraying his ninja village, he lived alone in this cold and cruel world for decades. Zhao. Du, there has been no pursuit for a long time, only the money. It can fill the emptiness in his heart, after all, that is his only preference. If it weren't for heavenly way pain, to find him, I am afraid he is still hunting ninjas who have been offered high rewards for money. Zhao. Both looked back at Shiyu, and then returned to the previous, four-color lotus terrace. Above, after a long silence, Zhao, he finally spoke. Can you tell me what ninjutsu this is? See the corner. Du's attitude is not bad, and the ladder will soon be here in the four-color green lotus. Zhanghua was ashes. Shiyu did not conceal anything about this. Anyway, Naruto will ask later. While everyone was waiting, Shiyu's mouth moved, and then slowly uttered 4 words. Chapter 433, Blood Succession Banned. Hearing these 4 words, everyone was stunned. They know blood succession limits, and blood succession elimination, but this is the first time they have heard of this blood succession banning. This is not only the case of Kakashi and others, but also the horns. It is the same. But everyone is not stupid. This blood succession banning should have any connection with blood succession limits and blood succession elimination. At this point, Shikamaru also asked, Shiyu, is this blood succession banning a ninjutsu beyond blood succession elimination? When Shikamaru said this, everyone pricked their ears. Obviously, they think so too. No way, who calls the 4-color lotus flower in front of you? Too abnormal. Next second, in the eyes of everyone's expectation, Shiyu also nodded. Good. This ninjutsu is a brand new ninjutsu created by combining the 4 attributes of wind, water, fire, and earth, the art of burning away and extinguishing the embers. Advertisement. As for the power of this technique, you must have seen it. As for the name, blood succession banning, it is normal that you have never heard of it, because I named it myself. As Shiyu's voice fell, the needle fell on the entire battlefield, only the sacred lotus petals that were still shrinking Although they guessed the result, after getting Shiyu's confirmation, there was still an unconcealable shock on his face. Combining the 4 attributes of chakra, this is something that I can't even think of, let alone 4, they are not the same as the combination of 2. But Shiyu, blood succession boundary, came here at his fingertips, and blood succession elimination, talked and studied. Now even the blood succession banning that they have never heard of has appeared. Shiyu named a ninjutsu that combines the 4 attributes of chakra, and everyone thinks it is reasonable. After all, the former was the first person to do it, of course, maybe the 6 Tao immortals did it thousands of years ago, but the matter about the latter is nothing more than a legend in the eyes of the world. Therefore, there was no such saying at that time. For example, blood succession limits and blood succession elimination were also named afterwards, so Shiyu is absolutely qualified to name them. Just as everyone was shocked, Zhao Du's voice also slowly sounded. Unexpectedly, advertisement, I have been able to witness a miracle in my lifetime, without regrets when I die, and without regrets when I die. After murmured to himself, Zhao Du looked at Shiyu again, and the corners of his pale lips moved again. Originally, I thought it was Chiyo, from Sagan Village, who killed Scorpion, but now it seems that you should be the one who really contributed. Deidara, let us be careful of one, Naruto Uzumaki, I didn't expect both of us to fall into your hands. It seems that last time, Itachi, did not lie, you are indeed a strong opponent. The last time when I sealed Ichiyo Moru Crane, it was Itachi and Ghost to resist Shiba and others who came to rescue. At that time, it was Itachi who met Shiyu, but the latter obviously did not hold Shiyu for too long. After the Itachi of Shang turning body was defeated, he said to be careful of a boy named Takikawa Tokiba. Original corner. Everyone thought that Itachi deliberately released water because the latter was a Konoha ninja, but now it seems that is not the case. It was not Itachi to release water, but Shiyu, chapter 434. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, Zhao, I wouldn't believe it, a 16-year-old boy would be so enchanting, and he has done an unprecedented act against the sky. Blood succession banning, Zai Zhao. After some words from Du, the sacred lotus petals, that gradually shrink from all directions. The limit has been reached. Next second, the original, 4-color lotus, as big as 100 feet. It has become the size of Jiangshu, even the lotus platform, on the ground. It also shrinks accordingly. Perceiving that death is approaching, Zhao both spit out the last words of this life. Takikawa Tokiha, I am convinced that I lost, as the voice of the call fell, the 4-color lotus flower, the size of 10,000ths. It is the speed that the naked eye can see that the speed is shrinking rapidly, and the horns are also incinerated into nothingness by the energy in it at that moment. So far, the undead duo all fall in the 4-color lotus. When it was shrunk into a small spot to disappear, the space seemed to be distorted. Immediately after, that incomparably powerful energy was also annihilated, and the world finally calmed down. Everyone looked at the 4-color lotus. I stared at the disappearing position for a long time. Advertisement obviously, they haven't recovered from the death of Coke, too. One move was to kill the horns. All 3 lives, which directly cut off the latter's way of life. It can be seen how strong this Fen Dun is, and when everyone was immersed in the shock, the long-lost voice of the system finally rang. Ding, the task of killing undead duo has been completed. With the prompt of the system, Shiyu knew that the characters of the 6 rewards had already completed half of it. So the next thing is the first job. This task is also related to the Shao organization. This time the goal is the last time the fish slipped through the net. Bursting Kid, Deidara. But this time the mission is not to kill Deidara, but to convince the latter in art. Task 2, art. Defeated, Daedala. Seeing this mission, Shiyu couldn't help but feel a little grateful. Fortunately, I rescued Gaara last time. At that time, he did not easily move. Deidara. Killed. If not, this task may not appear, but if it still appears, it is not impossible. After all, there are ninjutsu in this world that can bring the dead back to life again. Advertisement. If he really got to that point, Shiyu would only use open black lens bracket reincarnation in dirty soil close black lens bracket. As for reincarnation born, he will never use it in Deidara. Body. First of all, he has not yet opened the reincarnation eye. Secondly, this is undoubtedly asking for trouble. As for the so-called art in the task, Shiyu already knew it well in his heart. Scorpion's art is puppet, and Daedala's art is explosion. Last time he convinced Scorpion with golden secret skills. This time he obviously wanted to use the same method to make Daedala crawl. Deidara, although he is called the booming goblin, but he doesn't know the so-called blasting escape, this blood succession boundary. The reason why his ninjutsu can produce an explosion is entirely because he uses special clay. Chewing in the mouth of both hands, she has incorporated the earth property chakra to turn it into a kind of clay that can explode. This clay, he called detonating clay. This is what he can make. Clay, chapter 435. After knowing the content of the task, Shiyu's heart at this moment is praying for Deidara. Don't touch Sasuke for now. If not, he really wants to use unclean reincarnation, because with Sasuke's current strength, Deidara is definitely not the latter's opponent. Not to mention one of the advantages of soil. Just kaleidoscope riding round eye, Daedala cannot bear it. His left eye, because of the long-term concentrated chakra practice and the shrinkage of the pupils, it can be immune to the illusion of the riding round eyes. But if it is the illusion, after kaleidoscope riding round eyes, strengthened, that may not be able to stop it. This is the original, Deidara. B. Ferret. The ability to practice desperately after being unwilling to kill at a glance is used to restrain the Shulanyan. As for using art, defeated, Daedala, Shiyu had already figured out how to do it. The latter will not, Bakuden, but he will. Speaking of Bakuden, such a figure has indeed appeared in the ninja world. The name, Shooting, the latter, like Deidara, is a ninja from the Earth Country Iwakura village. Advertisement besides. He also has another identity, that is, the captain of the Rockian village demolition team. But it's a pity that he is already dead. As Shiyu thought about it, Asma and others finally came back to their senses in shock. Shiyu, you are better than I thought. In the words, Asma's eyes were full of admiration, without a trace of adulteration. When he learned that Toba Tsunade's medical ninjutsu was doing mathematics, he guessed that Toba was not easy. And when he learned that the spell scroll was created by Shiyu himself, it was enough to prove the enchantment. But what he didn't expect was that Shiyu had mastered a variety of blood succession limits, and even a stronger blood succession elimination. Now, I still understand the open black lens bracket blood succession seal close black lens bracket and so on. Such an enchanting talent is undoubtedly the first person I have seen. This is not only Asma. People's thoughts, everyone present has the same thoughts. The only difference is that Kakashi, Naruto, Yamato, and the three of them have long thought this way. It is also because of this. Regarding Asma's words, everyone nodded one after another. As for why Shiyu was able to perform Shikamaru's shadow imitation technique before, they also had the answer. Although it is said that this technique is the secret technique of the Nara clan, in the final analysis it is just a kind of yin escape. Shiyu was able to learn the powerful blood succession elimination, such as Dust Dune, based on the words of Black Earth, and even created a stronger blood succession seal Fen Dun. Then learning his shadow imitation technique is obviously not a difficult task. After all, Shiyu has seen him perform it more than once. He can still learn the ninjutsu he has never seen before, let alone see it with his own eyes. Advertisement. I saw everyone staring at me all the time. Rao Shiyu enjoys this feeling of being admired, but he will feel awkward after watching it for a long time. After all, the 7 people 7 in front of me are all big masters, not beautiful women. At this point, Shiyu also hurriedly said. Now this undead duo has all been killed, and we should go back to our lives. Hearing that, everyone nodded one after another. Although their gaze shifted from Shiyu's body at this moment, the shock in their hearts lingered. No way. The strength that Shiyu showed was too abnormal, and it can be said that it left an indelible mark on their hearts. Azumo. Send a message to tell the other teams, undead duo, that they have come down and let them all return to Konoha. Shenue Azumo nodded, and immediately started to act. After a while, everyone was surrounded by Shiyu, but Shikamaru, Asma and others could see a trace of tension. To be more precise, it is an expectation. The reason is very simple. At this moment, Yu wants to use the Flying Thunder God technique to take them back to Konoha.